Today is the day of the class awakening ceremony at the High School of the Dragon Kingdom. This is an incredibly important event for the students, but it's even more crucial for Lu Fan. It's been 3 years since he was isekai'd from Blue Star to this world, and Lu Fan was determined to awaken a combat class. However, the result was that Lu Fan ended up with the hidden class, Dragon Tamer. Although it's said to be one of the rarest and most powerful classes, that's only in theory. In reality, throughout the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom, it's not that dragons have never appeared, but a dragon tamer who could actually tame a dragon has never existed. No matter how strong a human is, they are nothing more than insects before a dragon. Taming a great dragon is truly harder than ascending to the heavens. Not to mention, a dragon tamer without a dragon can't develop at all. As soon as they learned of Lu Fan's class, the students were shocked, and then most of them showed pity. It's all right. At least it's still a hidden class with limitless potential. If you try hard, you might be able to tame some lesser dragons and become a powerful expert. The principal patted Lu Fan's shoulder to console him, but that sounded like a total joke. That night, as Lu Fan was tossing and turning over his awakening, the system panel suddenly appeared again. Congratulations, you have received the first day's treasure map. The first day's treasure map? The first day's? Oh, that's right. When I activated it, I remember it was called the Super Treasure Map system. Actually, just before the class awakening ceremony, Lu Fan had unexpectedly activated the Super Treasure Map system, and at the same time, received the skill Appraisal Eye. It's a skill that allows him to see basic information like the class, level, and skills of a target just by looking at them. I only tried out the appraisal function today. I haven't even explored its core function yet. With that thought, Lu Fan tapped on the chest displayed on the screen. The treasure maps have the following tiers: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and divine. By using the system, I can combine 3 lower tier maps into a higher tier one. Every day, you will receive a random tier treasure map. You just have to go to the location to obtain treasures related to your class. Related to my class? The Dragon Tamer class is admittedly the weakest, because taming a member of the dragon race is nearly impossible. But if I make good use of this system, can I overcome the boundary between the weakest and the strongest? In other words, this divine tier treasure map is my last chance to turn things around. I have to go. Having made up his mind, Lu Fan immediately tapped to open the map, and the coordinates of the treasure appeared clearly before his eyes. The Highlands? This place isn't far from Jianghai City. Lu Fan quickly set off, but unfortunately, trouble found him very soon. Just as he got off the bus, he was intercepted by a group of 3 people, 2 men and a woman. "Hey little brother, want to party up?" the one-eyed man asked with a grin, patting Lu Fan's shoulder. "I'm a summoner, so I don't need any companions. If I run into danger, I can just summon some elemental creatures to handle it." Hearing that Lu Fan was a summoner, the robbers were initially a bit surprised, and then they stopped, following him and left on their own. What a bunch of scumbags. No matter how dangerous this wilderness is, it's still safer than being with a bunch of backstabbing hunters like you. As expected, without any strength, this is how you get treated. I need to get moving quickly. The system announced that he had arrived at the location marked on the treasure map. I finally found the spot marked on the map. Lu Fan exclaimed excitedly and headed straight for a strange light emanating from a short distance away. Black dragon egg, level unknown. Just as the dragon egg was about to crack and a hatchling was about to be born, Lu Fan heard a rustling sound from the bushes behind him. Although the journey had been relatively smooth, it seems he couldn't escape the notice of wild beasts. Lu Fan secretly drew his weapon, a starter blade of common quality, basically like a trash item from a gacha game. Sure enough, less than a second later, a monster leaped out from the bushes and attacked Lu Fan. Having been prepared, Lu Fan managed to block the monster's bite with his blade, but it still took a lot of effort to shove the ravenous beast aside. The appraisal eye activated automatically. Bloodthirsty Grey Tiger, level 10. Skill, triple slash, a rapid 3-hit combo. Skill, Bloodthirst Recovery. Out of the dragon egg. Did they see me when I found the dragon egg? While Lu Fan was still speculating, the bandits started to make their move. The rock stepped forward and gave Lu Fan a loving punch, knocking him to the ground. Pink Hair took the opportunity to hold him at knife point. Heh, little brother. It seems you've underestimated the noses of treasure hunters like us, the one-eyed man said smugly. The rock then went behind the boulder, retrieved the dragon egg, and showed it off to his crew. "We've got the treasure. Finish him," the one-eyed man ordered, then eagerly approached to admire the dragon egg in the rock's hands. Just as Pink Hair was about to finish Lu Fan, the dragon egg cracked open. A dragon hatchling spread its wings from inside the egg and flew into the sky. What kind of monster is that? While the bandits were still stunned, the dragon hatchling shot down toward them like an arrow from the sky. The one-eyed man immediately threw poison at the dragon hatchling, but it easily dodged. The rock tried to solve the problem with his fists, but a single bite from the hatchling was enough to wipe him out and saw the dragon hatchling casually picking its teeth. As for her companion, he had vanished, without a trace. Seeing this, Pink Hair no longer paid any mind to Lu Fan, her trembling arm pointing the knife at the dragon hatchling. That treasure hunter's nose of yours is pretty terrible, trying to steal what was supposed to be mine. This is the consequence. Lu Fan pushed Pink Hair aside, then used his dragon taming art to successfully subdue the dragon hatchling. Contract with the black dragon complete. Skill: Dragon Claw, unlocked. Skill: Dragon Fang, strike, unlocked. Skill: Dragon's Encouragement, unlocked. You, who on earth are you? Haha, now you want to know who I am? I'm not a summoner, I'm a dragon tamer. Looking at the hatchling, baring its teeth at her, Pink Hair panicked and begged Lu Fan, please spare my life. I really didn't know that was a dragon egg. You petty treasure hunters have harmed so many people over the years. No, I haven't. Pink Hair tried to make excuses. Go join your companions down below. As soon as Lu Fan finished speaking, Pink Hair became the dragon hatchling's meal. Phew, finally dealt with. Everything. Lu Fan let out a sigh of relief. After bandaging his wound, he walked over and picked up the dragon hatchling, which was curiously rummaging through his backpack. I can't believe I've actually crossed that line between the weak and the strong. It's already like this just after being born. I can't imagine how much more powerful it will become when it levels up. The more he thought about it, the more excited he got. Lu Fan happily hugged the dragon hatchling tightly. Haha, this is great. With you by my side, the dragon tamer class is about to rise from rock bottom. But what should I call you? Little Charcoal? Black Diamond? No. Lu Fan was seriously thinking when he noticed the dragon hatchling was licking the blood oozing from the wound on his arm. Immediately after, the dragon hatchling's entire body radiated a powerful aura, and then it transformed into a girl. Seeing the dragon had transformed into a girl, Lu Fan exclaimed in surprise. So, you can turn into a human form? The dragon nodded eagerly with an innocent expression. Lu Fan smiled, letting the dragon play by herself while he opened his personal status window. Class: Dragon Tamer, level 10. Strength: 55, Agility: 53, Intelligence: 60, Durability: 60. Dragon Taming Art: Can tame, Draconic. Creatures: Dragon Claw. Transforms arm into a dragon's claw. Power depends on the current dragon pet. Dragon Fang Strike. Mobilizes a quantity of dragon energy to unleash a powerful strike. Dragon's Encouragement. Buffs self and dragon pet, increasing all stats and attack power by 30%. Black Dragon Contract Level 1. Stored value: 239. Lu Fan thought happily to himself, it's just as I thought. As long as I can tame a dragon, all the skills will be unlocked. Dragon's Encouragement can boost me and my dragon pet's stats and attack by 30%. The effect of this skill far surpasses even a priest's buff. Dragon Fang Strike is a high damage attack, and Dragon Claw lets me manifest a claw on my arm to strike with power similar to my dragon pets, not to mention the Black Dragon itself. Just looking at my stats, which are 5 to 6 times higher than a normal person's, I could probably crush any combat class of the same level even on my own. Next, Lu Fan opened the Black Dragon's information. Black Dragon Contract Level 1. Strength: 342, Agility: 267, Spirit: 359, Durability: 373. Giant Maw charges forward to bite and tear at the opponent, causing damage and a bleeding effect to the target. Scorching Lava Flame continuously breathes fire forward, dealing damage while also healing itself. Black Dragon Bloodline reduces incoming damage by 50%, immune to all types of debuffs, Abil. Self-regeneration is increased by 500%. And Bloodline Connection provides the Dragon Tamer with 10% of all stats. After reading the Black Dragon's info panel, Lu Fan was secretly amazed. It was only a level 1 hatchling, and yet, it had various skills and nearly 400 points in different stats. This was something humans could never hope to achieve. Even a human master 20 levels higher wouldn't be its opponent. The Bloodline Connection had also multiplied all of my own stats. No wonder I felt so powerful after successfully taming it. The 3 great hidden classes? Pfft, no matter how strong a hidden class is, it's a complete joke compared to the dragon race. Without a doubt, the Dragon Tamer is now at the top of the food chain. He glanced over at the black dragon who was happily gnawing on its eggshell. Lu Fan rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Even though it can take human form, its habits haven't changed. What should I call you now? A little black dragon who was also born before dawn. Suddenly, a name flashed in Lu Fan's mind. He happily asked the black dragon, Xiao Ye. How about I call you Xiao Ye? The black dragon chirped happily. Seeing this, Lu Fan smiled and said, looks like you like this name, huh? He felt that although this treasure hunt was dangerous, it was all worth it. Lu Fan walked over to the black dragon, patting its head, and asked, are you hungry? The black dragon stopped gnawing its eggshell. Its eyes lit up as it looked at Lu Fan and chirped in agreement. Lu Fan stood up, looked into the distance, and said, "We should hunt some wild beasts to fill our stomachs." Xiao Ye, he thought to himself. That's right. I can't just go back like this. The qualifying exam that decides if I can get into university is coming soon. Many other candidates will now be focusing on going out to level up. The dream of winning the top scorer of the Southern Province Award and getting direct admission to a top university in the Dragon Country. I'm finally qualified to reach for it now, but I can't get careless. Right now, leveling up and getting used to my new skills are the top priorities. So, an excited Lu Fan picked up his backpack and said, "Xiao Ye, let's get going, let's go." Deeper into this place, there are monsters in there much tastier than eggshells. Xiao Ye happily followed after Lu Fan, but the man and dragon had only taken a few steps when they heard from a distance the roars of many monsters. They both stopped and turned to look in the direction of the sound, only to see a pack of monsters running towards them. They were plains hyenas, and compared to the bloodthirsty gray foxes, they were much tougher to deal with. Muttering to himself, Lu Fan quickly used his appraisal eye on a plains hyena. Level 12, Vicious Bite. Bites the target to deal damage and inflict a bleeding. Intimidate. Infect with a debuff that causes rabies. Experience points, 380. Dropped item. Hyena Fang. Value 95 dragon coins. For me, even though I defeated the level 10 bloodthirsty gray fox, I still took a lot of damage. While Lu Fan was pondering, he suddenly noticed Xiao Ye had already taken the initiative and flown towards the pack of plains hyenas. "If you want some, then come get it," Lu Fan said with a laugh, and chased after Xiao Ye. He thought to himself, on this treacherous plateau right now, the strongest creatures are the dragon tamer and his dragon pet. There's absolutely no danger that can threaten us anymore. Very quickly, Xiao Ye flew above the pack of monsters. It took a deep breath, opened its mouth wide, and unleashed a powerful stream of fire on the monsters below. Molten, flames continuously spewed fire forward, dealing damage while also healing itself. By the time Lu Fan caught up, the pack of monsters was already engulfed in a sea of flames. Before his eyes appeared a series of notification windows. Lu Fan gained 380 experience points. Black Dragon gained 380 experience points. Lu Fan gained 380 experience points. Black Dragon gained 380 experience points. Lu Fan said to himself, "Not bad. But if I want to level up quickly, I really need to hunt some elite monsters." Suddenly, Lu Fan seemed to notice something. He glanced in a certain direction and said, "Xiao Ye, stop playing with these minions. There's a big guy that's been waiting for us for a while now." In that direction, a huge three-headed monster was slowly approaching with a growl. Lu Fan immediately used his appraisal eye. Three-headed bloodlion, level 25, increases its own attack and defense. Shred deals a certain amount of damage. Triple Blaze creates 3 blazes to attack. Experience points, 23,790. Items, Fang, value 1,300 dragon coins. Hide, value 2,570 dragon coins. Normally, a level 25 elite monster would require an entire squad of monster hunters to even dare to approach. But Lu Fan was a dragon tamer with a black dragon. Therefore, he wasn't worried at all and gave the command, "Xiao Ye, let's go." Xiao Ye let out a cry and immediately charged towards the three-headed bloodlion. Seeing its opponent charge, the three-headed bloodlion's 3 heads simultaneously tilted back and let out a roar, using Mighty Roar to increase its own defense and damage. It didn't stop there. The monster's 3 heads opened their mouths wide again. Streams of fire element flew out, condensing into a fireball that grew larger and larger. It was using Triple Blaze, gathering its fiery breath into a fireball to deal 3 instances of damage, and it has a cooldown. Seeing this, Lu Fan decisively commanded, "Xiao Ye, coordinate with me and interrupt its skill." Xiao Ye cried out, and its entire body was immediately enveloped in flames, reappearing in its giant dragon form. It dove swiftly towards the 3-headed bloodlion, using its giant jaw attack skill, and the triple blaze was interrupted. Lu Fan exclaimed happily, "Nice!" He didn't give the 3-headed bloodlion any time to recover, following up with the finishing blow, Dragon Fang Strike. Lu Fan gained 23,790 experience points. Lu Fan has leveled up to 14. Black Dragon gained 23,790 experience points. The Black Dragon has reached level 9. Seeing this notification panel, Lu Fan laughed out loud. "Is it over already?" As expected of an elite monster, I got so much experience from just one. Just then, another system window appeared. "The system has been triggered. You have received the daily treasure map." Another map? I wonder what it has in store for a dragon master this time. With a heart full of anticipation, Lu Fan exclaimed excitedly, "Xiao Ye, let's go treasure hunting." Xiao Ye also happily followed behind him. Deep within the rocky mountains of the plains, a group of people were talking. "Chin," Thu asked, Uncle Jay, are we really going to pass up this rare opportunity? Sun Gay replied with a forced smile. Young miss, there's nothing we can do about this. This fated dun. Jian requires at least 5 people to open. It's impossible without enough members. I suggested that Tai Ni return to Jianghai to get more people, but he cut in, saying, it's impossible. Even with my speed, a round trip would take at least 1 full day. Chin Thu sighed and said, fated dungeons appear randomly, and the rewards you get are also better than those from normal dungeons, but they only last for 1 day. 1 day is definitely not enough time. Seeing Chin Thu's unhappiness, Sun Ge tried to console her. Young miss, you're not the type to fuss over gains and losses. With your strength, once you get into the 10 great academies, you'll definitely be provided with dungeons. Chin Thu still sighed. Uncle G, I know that, but it's still a real shame. Just then, Sun Ge's expression became vigilant as he faced one direction and shouted, Ha! Tai Ni also drew his weapon, looking ahead defensively. Behind the rock in front of the 3 of them, Lu Fan slowly walked out, saying, Yo, I'm just passing by. Look at your filthy appearance, kid. This isn't a place for a treasure hunter to be. As Sun Ge was speaking, Chin Thu gestured for him to stop and stepped forward, extending her hand towards Lu Fan and greeting him with a smile. Hello, we are from the Qin family of Jianghai. I am Chin Thursday. This might be a bit sudden, but would you be willing to temporarily join our party? You don't have to do anything, just enter the fated dungeon with us. After it's done, I'll pay you 100,000 dragon coins as compensation. What do you think? Lu Fan smiled and asked, 100,000 dragon coins? He mused to himself, a fated dungeon that can make the richest family in Jiang. Hi, the Qin family entered the dungeon instance. A panel appeared before them. Fated dungeon, Morning Village, dungeon level, 20, dungeon difficulty, restricted to parties of 5 or more. Everyone cautiously observed their surroundings as they cautiously moved forward. Chin Thu spoke first. This village is too quiet. You can even hear your own echo. Tai Ni added, the atmosphere is very heavy. It seems like there are no signs of life coming from the fog. Sun Ge noticed Lu Fan was empty-handed and asked, Kid, why are your hands empty like that? Don't tell me you don't have any equipment? No. Equipment, huh? He thought to himself. Lu Fan smiled and held out his hand. A burst of fire immediately appeared, swirling around it. When the flames disappeared, a blade had appeared in his hand. Black Dragon. Scale Blade, Epic, Level Requirement, 10 Class Requirement, Dragon Master, Dragon Blood Warrior. Dragon Blood Armament allows the user to dragonify a body part, increasing its power. Attack plus 65, Durability plus 30. After Lu Fan defeated the 3-headed Blood Lion, the system triggered, and the weapon he now holds was obtained from the location marked on the system's map. It was just in time to replace his original novice dagger. Briefly sizing up the weapon in Lu Fan's hand, Sun Ge said, Kid, that weapon of yours doesn't look half bad. A moment ago, I thought you were just some treasure hunter, but it seems you're a student who just awakened his class, huh? Tai Ni spoke up. Why bother with him, uncle? We're cooperating for now. But if he tries anything funny, I'll immediately subdue him. Suddenly, the ground right under Sunji's feet shattered, and a pale white hand emerged from the soil. Walking Corpse, Level 15. Experience, 620 decayed materials. Poison Wolf, worth 256 dragon coins. It entangles, bites, and tears its target. Corpse Poison. Any attack will infect the target with poison. Life Drain. Those hit by corpse poison will be turned into zombies. More and more zombies began to crawl out from the ground. Sun Ge, watch out! Xiao Jia shouted a warning. He quickly used his charge skill, rushing forward from the group and using his shield to knock away several zombies near Sun Jie. Xiao Jia, good job! Sun Jie praised him before joining the fight with Tai Ni, continuously slashing at a few monsters. Lu Fan still hadn't joined the battle. He was observing the group, silently assessing the warrior, the rogue, and the knight. The team composition was very logical, and that uncle named Sun Ge was already level 28, about to reach his second awakening. At this moment, Qinqiu had also finished casting her spell. She raised her staff high and shouted, Holy Light Starfall! Gathering energy and unleashing a rain of starlight, dealing a certain amount of damage to enemies within a specific range and healing her allies. A shower of starlight rained down on Sunji's group as they fought, helping to restore their health while also eliminating a large swath of monsters. Qinqiu turned to Lu Fan and explained, This is my class's special trait. The hidden class, Holy Light Mage, can combine both offense and healing. However, its attack power is currently weaker than a mage's, and its healing is weaker than a priest's. Lu Fan said softly, Is that so? Mentally reevaluating another hidden class. But the damage from her class was very effective against those zombies. Just then, the ground suddenly shook violently, causing everyone to lose their balance slightly. Then another wave of monsters emerged from the ground. Seeing these monsters, Lu Fan thought to himself, It seems we've alerted the elite monsters. This sound? This number? There must be quite a few. Fresh Blood Zombie, level 20. 1,340 experience points. Blood Corpse material worth 915 coins, similar to a normal monster but a stronger version. As the horde of Fresh Blood zombies approached, Sunga immediately gave an order. It's an elite monster, Tiny. Protect the young miss and that kid. Xiao Jia, let's go. Don't let these minions break our front line. Roger, Xiao Jia replied. Sunga gripped his weapon with both hands, using his full moon slash skill to strike the shoulder of a Fresh Blood zombie. As for Xiao Jia, he used his thrust skill, successfully piercing his sword through a Fresh Blood zombie. The problem was, the Fresh Blood zombie was completely fine. Its wound was closing rapidly, causing Xiao Jia's sword to get stuck in its body, unable to be pulled out. He cried out in panic, How? How is this possible? It didn't stop there. The Fresh Blood zombies all opened their mouths at once to use their corpse poison skill. Lu Fan muttered to himself, It's corpse poison. You definitely need a priest to dispel that. Qin Qiu is a holy light mage. She fundamentally can't help them. By now, part of Xiao Jia's arm was also stuck in the Fresh Blood zombie's body. He shouted for help. Brother Sun, give me a hand. Over on Sun Jia's side, things weren't much better. His weapon was also stuck in the shoulder of a Fresh Blood zombie. He decisively let go of his weapon. Let go of your weapon. Tai Ni, get to the front line and take my place. To hold back the zombies! After speaking, Sun Ge ran to Xiao Jia's side, successfully helping him escape. There's no need to trouble her. Just leave it to me. As he spoke, Lu Fan smiled, grabbing his weapon and walking to the front line. Seeing the monster charge at Lu Fan, Sun Ge yelled worriedly, Kid, are you crazy? Get back here now. Lu Fan didn't listen. His gaze was cold as he glanced at the monster and swung his blade horizontally. To everyone's astonishment, the monster they had struggled to deal with was effortlessly sliced in half by Lu Fan's single strike. Lu Fan turned back and said with a smile, Don't be scared, and don't forget we still have to keep moving forward. The group stared blankly at Lu Fan, only snapping out of it when Xiao Jia cried out in pain. Qin Qiu reacted, rushing over to support him and saying, Hang in there for a moment, I'll heal you. And Sunga? He looked at Lu Fan in shock, his voice trembling as he asked, Kid, you, what level are you exactly? A student who just awakened can't possibly have such a high attack. Lu Fan replied calmly, I'm just a level 14 student, that's all. Don't worry, I have no reason to lie to you. I only came here to prepare for the upcoming exam. Hearing this, Qin Qiu, who was healing Xiao Jia, frowned slightly, in thought. The exam. So his purpose here is the same as mine? But how can a level 14 have higher attack power than Uncle Sun, who's level 28? Suddenly, a monster unexpectedly burst out from the ground. It roared, lunging straight at the nearest person, Qin Qiu. Young miss, be careful, Tai Ni shouted, quickly stepping in front of Qin Qiu. She had just raised her crossbow to attack when she suddenly realized Lu Fan had passed her like a gust of wind, thrusting his blade towards the monster. After dealing with the monster, Lu Fan turned back and said, The deeper we go into the village, the higher the zombies' levels will be. I'll fill the gap in the front line. Does anyone have a problem with that? Everyone remained silent. Qin Qiu had a suspicion. Could he be the person rumored about in Jianghai City recently? So she smiled and replied, Then we'll be counting on you, fellow student. You and Uncle Sun will lead the team on the front line. I'll take care of Xiao Jia's wounds, and Tai Ni will be in charge of covering the rear. The secret dungeon's guardian must be deep inside the village. Just call me Lu Fan. Let's go, let's head deeper in. With that, Lu Fan took the lead and went further inside. Qin Qiu stared intently, staring at Luke Pham up ahead, silently wondering. Luke Pham, the guy who's been rumored to have the hidden class, Dragon Master. It can't be. If it's really him, isn't the Dragon Master supposed to be the weakest class? As time passed, Luke Pham's group ventured deeper into the village. Tan Thu was responsible for taking care of Tiojia, while the other three cleared out monsters ahead. After finishing off another group of monsters, Luke Pham glanced at Tiojia, worrying inwardly. Tan Thu's class couldn't cure the corpse poison, and to teleport out of here, the only way was to defeat the instance boss, and they had to hurry. If they delayed any longer, the corpse poison would spread throughout his body, possibly even killing him and turning him into a zombie. Tai Ni spoke up. There's no sign of the instance boss in the village. Something's not right. Suddenly, the large pile of scrap metal behind the group trembled slightly. No one noticed this detail except for Tiojia, Uncle Tan, everyone, behind you. Tiojia used the last of his strength to warn everyone before collapsing and passing out. Tan Thu cried out worriedly, Tiojia, hang in there. Tan Cash also turned and shouted, Tiojia. Before the two of them could check on Tiojia's condition, they suddenly sensed something and looked toward the pile of scrap Tiojia had warned them about. In just a few short seconds, A massive monster appeared before their eyes. Tai Ni stared at the monster in shock and exclaimed, "The instance boss has appeared!" Luke Pham immediately used his appraisal eye skill. Iron Skin Zombie, level 20, worth 3,720 experience points. Scrap metal item, value, 45 coins. Corpse poison. All attacks inflict corpse poison, causing the opponent to bleed continuously while healing the user. Fusion, absorbs the target into itself, increasing its max HP. Iron Body, enters a state granting its owner a 40% defense boost. The poison in Tujia's body was severe enough to awaken the iron-skinned zombie, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at the iron-skinned zombie's skill panel, Luke Pham seemed to figure something out. He quickly shouted to everyone, "We have to defeat it right away. It's most likely trying to absorb Tujia." Hearing this, Tonkach didn't hesitate and unleashed a full moon slash at the iron-skinned zombie. But immediately after, he realized in disbelief that his attack couldn't harm the monster at all. Seeing this, Luke Pham also grew anxious. He reasoned that if the corpse poison could lure the zombie out, then they wouldn't have time for a slow and steady assault. So, Luke Pham rushed toward the iron-skinned zombie and stabbed it hard in the head. The result wasn't promising, as the monster was currently in its iron body state, with its defense boosted by 40%. 2 more strikes, and I need to be faster, Luke Pham thought to himself and decided to use the skill Dragon Blood Armor Transformation, a skill from his Black Dragon Scale Blade weapon, which allowed the user to dragonify a part of their body to increase attack power. At the same time, the iron-skinned zombie, drawn by the corpse poison on Tojia, charged toward him, and Tan Thursday Fusion Absorption absorbs and fuses with the target to increase its own HP. Tan Thu, use your holy magic to coordinate with me. Tun Cash, you and Tai Ni, protect Tujia. As he finished speaking, Luke Pham, one of his arms now a dragon's claw, charged at the iron-skinned zombie. "Okay, got it." Responding, Tan Thu temporarily let go of Tujia and stood up, raising her staff to use the Holy Light Star Rain skill on the iron-skinned zombie again. This time, the combined attack from Luke Pham and Tan Thu was effective, and the monster's outer iron skin began to crumble and fall to the ground. Tai Ni voiced her doubt. "Its body is falling apart." Tuncash speculated, "It seems this zombie relied on fusion absorption to get this big." Luke Pham concluded, "Then its true form must be encased inside." Tonkach looked intently at Luke Pham, thinking to himself, "In all my years with the Tan family, I've met all kinds of experts. This kid definitely possesses a hidden class." Very quickly, the iron-skinned zombie's iron skin vanished. Revealing its true form within, Luke Pham leaped forward without hesitation and threw a punch. "Kneel for me." Without its protective iron skin, the monster was shattered to pieces by Luke Pham's single punch. Tai Ni exclaimed in amazement, "The instance boss has been defeated." Tan Thu frowned slightly, thinking to herself, "A skill I've never seen before, and it's strong enough to take down a level 20 boss so easily." "Luke Pham, who exactly are you?" Just then, a chest appeared in front of everyone. A treasure chest dropped from the level 20 iron-skinned zombie. Tan Thu looked at Luke Pham and said, "Fellow student, we'll follow our agreement and divide the loot according to the rules. Before, we didn't know you and we underestimated you. That was our mistake. I hope you can forgive us." Tun Catch patted Luke Pham's shoulder and praised him with a laugh. "Kid, with your strength, you could have definitely cleared this instance by yourself. Instead, it feels like we were just here to fill out the party. Haha." Luke Pham laughed humbly. "Uncle Tan Catch, you're too kind. I'll let Student Tan handle the distribution." Tan Thu didn't refuse. She walked over and opened the chest, and everyone immediately saw 3 types of items inside. A strength potion, a consumable item, effect, grants 2 strength points upon use. An antidote, a consumable item, effect, cures corpse poison upon use. Blood mulberry bracers, level 20 requirement, no class requirement. Tai Ini pouted, "Is this all the reward for a serendipity instance?" Tuncatch was also confused. "The rewards are a bit meager." Luke Pham rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "There's no way a level 20 serendipity instance would only give rewards like this, right?" To the side, Tan Thursday. Taking out a vial of antidote and handing it to Sunga, she urged, "Uncle Jay, quickly give the antidote to Xiao Jia." Then, Chin Chu gave most of the remaining items in the chest to Lu Fan and said, "Classmate, this is what you deserve. Take this item, the antidote, and the strength potion." Lu Fan happily accepted the pile of items, thinking to himself, the people of the Qin family are indeed very principled. A system notification appeared. Item equipped, attack plus 16, durability plus 17. Acquired 3 strength potions. Acquired 1 antidote, Chin Chiu. Looked around suspiciously and wondered aloud, "We defeated the boss, so why hasn't the portal appeared?" Chai Er suggested, "Let's search the area." Sun Ge also thought it made sense, so he and Kai Er split up to search. But they had only taken a few steps when Lu Fan shouted to stop them. Wait, don't move around just yet. That thing just now wasn't the boss. Lu Fan's eyes were still glued to the system panel in front of him. On it, he saw a progress meter divided into 4 parts, and their group had only cleared 3, with one final part marked with a skull icon that was still unresolved. Clearly, the iron-skinned zombie from before wasn't the final boss of this secret realm. Sun Ge turned back to look at Lu Fan and asked, "Why do you think that? Did you find something new?" Before Lu Fan could answer, Chin-Chu spoke up with a serious expression. "Uncle Ji, as a holy light mage, I can truly sense that there is another dark presence." Not long after, in the abandoned village by the lake, the group, led by Chin-Chu, arrived. Chin-Chu pointed her hand towards the lake and said, "It's right there, not far." Kai Er said, "If the young miss says so, the boss must be somewhere nearby." Sunga also spoke up, "This secret realm isn't that big. We probably missed this place when we first entered the village." At the same time, at the bottom of the lake, a monster with long tentacles was sound asleep. As Lu Fan's group approached the lake, every eye on the monster's tentacles suddenly opened in unison. On the shore, Lu Fan shouted, "It's coming!" A second later, from the lake's surface, a mass of tentacles covered in eyes broke through the water. Lu Fan used his appraisal eye skill, but got no results. Lu Fan said, "I knew it. This must be the final boss. Everyone be careful. Find cover behind me." As he finished speaking, Sun Ge took the initiative to step forward, blocking several tentacles that were striking at the group. But because the force of the tentacles was too great, he couldn't hold on and was knocked back. Chin-Chu cried out worriedly, "Uncle Ge!" Suddenly, Chin-Chu felt something staring at her, and when she turned around, she discovered several tentacles were aiming straight for her, causing her to shut her eyes in fear. "Young miss!" Sun Ge's group cried out helplessly, able to do nothing but watch. Fortunately, Lu Fan rushed over in time, scooping up Chin-Chu and leaping aside, saving her life. Chin-Chu opened her eyes, surprised to see that Lu Fan was the one who saved her, her face blushing slightly. Kai Er's group ran over to check on her. "Young miss, are you all right?" Suddenly, the group seemed to sense something terrifying emerging from the water. They quickly turned back and saw a monster much larger than the iron-skinned zombie appear. The tentacles from before were merely a part of its body. Lu Fan used his appraisal eye again. Isekai Ishi, level 25, boss difficulty, with 271 strength, 183 agility, 150 spirit, 266 endurance. Corpse Chi Entanglement fills the surroundings with resentful energy. All creatures in the secret realm receive a negative 20% debuff to all stats. Light Shackles whips chains to entangle a target, causing the opponent great damage. Resentment Eruption erupts with resentment to push back nearby enemies, accompanied by corpse poison. Unyielding Grudge, when receiving fire and holy attribute attacks, reduces incoming damage and effects by 30%. Kai Er said softly, "This is the real boss." Sun Ge stepped forward with a serious expression and commanded, "Xiao Jia, get behind me. I'll hold it off." Xiao Jia stubbornly replied, "I can still." "Keep fighting. I'll help hold it back too." Sun Ge angrily scolded, "Your body has only recovered a little. Don't be reckless." Then, Sun Ge raised his sword to block a tentacle's attack and shouted, "I'm leaving the attack to you, Lu Fan." Lu Fan decisively rushed towards the boss monster, his eyes locked onto its human-like torso. He calculated in his head, "Both Uncle Ji and Xiao Jia are just barely holding on. I can only rely on myself to take it down. But as long as this boss is still a zombie, there's a way to deal with its main body." Just then, the boss suddenly opened its mouth and roared, casting the Corpse Chi Entanglement skill. A debuff that reduced all stats by 20% immediately appeared above everyone's heads, making their situation even more critical. A tentacle slammed down directly at Lu Fan. Lu Fan jumped onto a chain to dodge it, then continued running towards the boss's main body. The boss was also very alert. It had noticed Lu Fan's intention to approach it, so it reacted immediately. "Classmate, watch out for the chains." Just as Chin-Chu's warning ended, the boss used its light shackles skill, and Lu Fan, who was moving on the chain, was thrown off, and he thought to himself, "This is bad." The boss roared, once again controlling the iron chains to attack Sun Ge's group. Sun Ge stood in front of Chin-Chu, blocking with his sword and shouting, "Young miss, be careful." The injured Xiao Jia also had to raise his shield, joining everyone in blocking this wave of attacks. Chai noticed that Lu Fan, in midair, was about to be hit by a tentacle, and raised her crossbow to fire an arrow, aiming straight for an eye on that tentacle. The arrow hit its mark, causing the tentacle to falter and neutralizing the danger to Lu Fan. Lu Fan turned his head and looked down. Seeing Sun Ge's group in a difficult situation, Lu Fan knew they would be in danger if they kept fighting like this. With that thought, he temporarily abandoned his plan to attack the boss's main body. He stepped on a chain and leaped down towards Sungay's group, shouting, "Everyone, get back!" As soon as he landed, Lu Fan immediately used his Dragon Fang strike skill to knock away the iron chains. Dragon Fang strike channels Dragon Chi into his current weapon, unleashing a powerful blow. Above them, the enraged boss once again used its chain-throwing skill. Seeing this, Lu Fan immediately used two consecutive skills, Dragon Blood Armor and Dragon Claw. Dragon Blood Armor is a special effect of the Black Dragon Scale Blade that can dragonize a part of his body to increase its power. Dragon Claw transforms his arm into a dragon's claw, with its current power depending on the Black Dragon. This time, Lu Fan confronted the iron chains head-on. He leaped up, swinging his dragon claw and slicing the iron chains to pieces. However, this only neutralized the boss's attack and didn't inflict any actual damage on it. Realizing this, a disheartened Sungay suggested, "Little brother, this boss is beyond our capabilities right now. We should retreat for the time being." Chinchu also said, "Classmate, we're no match for it. If we stay, we'll just hold you back and endanger everyone." Lu Fan calmly replied, "All of you, retreat deeper into the village, to the area where the zombies have been cleared out." Chinchu asked worriedly, "But what about you?" Lu Fan replied, "I'll provide cover from the rear. Now everyone retreat." Kair urged, "Miss, let's go, in the end. We have to rely on him anyway. We're fundamentally no help at all." After a moment of thought, Chinchu gave Lu Fan a hard look, then turned back towards the village with Kair and the others. Freed from that concern, Lu Fan began to step forward. He extended an arm to his side, creating a large vortex and thinking to himself, even without that negative 20% debuff, they still couldn't have helped. Since they've realized that, I'll let my partner come and handle you. It's time to come out and have some fun, Xiaoye. The moment Lu Fan finished speaking, Xiaoye shot out of the vortex and chomped down on one of the boss's tentacles. In the distance, Sungay's group heard the commotion and looked back curiously. "Boss, what's going on?" Upon seeing Xiaoye, they shouted in utter astonishment, That's a dragon. That kid just summoned a dragon." At that moment, Xiaoye used its skill, Giant Maw Assault, continuing to target the boss's tentacles. Giant Maw Assault is a high-speed lunge that tears into the target, inflicting a large amount of damage and a bleeding effect. The boss, in agony from having several tentacles severed, threw its head back and roared loudly. Seeing its chance, Xiaoye raised its claws and aimed directly for the boss's main body to attack. The boss let out one last agonized cry, its enormous body going limp as it crashed into the lake. In the distance, Sungay's group stared, completely dumbfounded. Kair asked in an uncertain voice, Did we win?" Sungay marveled. "The boss was torn to pieces in just a few attacks. That power is terrifying." The young subordinate also spoke up, "I can't believe I got to see a giant dragon with my own eyes." Only Chinchu remained silent. Her gaze was fixed on Lu Fan, who was happily stroking Xiaoye's head, as she thought, "So you're the one they've been talking about in Jianghai City, the Dragon Tamer, Lu Fan." From a different perspective, behind every villain lies a tragic story, and the evil corpse of woe was no exception. 300 years ago, she was born and raised right here, under the protection of the church, sheltered from danger. That was until a plague ravaged the land, destroying everything. Bodies piled up along the lakeshore, with more people dying before the last could even be buried. She desperately wanted to save everyone, but tragically, her class was Dark Witch. She couldn't cure the dying. All she could do was summon their spirits so they could say a final farewell to their loved ones. But the same church that had once sheltered her condemned her, accusing her of bringing this plague upon them. They ordered soldiers to bind her with chains and cast her into the lake, leaving her to be swallowed by the freezing water. I only wanted to save everyone. Even if all I could do was help them say goodbye, I didn't do anything wrong. Back in the present, while the others celebrated, believing they could now leave the secret realm, Lu Fan thought differently. He gazed down at the bubbling surface of the lake and said cautiously, "The portal hasn't appeared, so the boss definitely isn't dead yet. It's a bit too soon to be thinking about leaving." Just as Lu Fan finished speaking, the evil corpse of woe made a comeback, emerging from the water's surface and entering a new phase. All of its stats, strength, agility, spirit, and stamina surged, doubling or even tripling, and the difficulty level switched from hard to nightmare. Furthermore, the evil corpse of woe now possessed a completely new skill set, Sorrowful Strike, which unleashes a curse of resentment with a low probability of causing instant death to the target. If the instant death fails to activate, the skill inflicts massive damage and applies zombie toxin, bleed, and stun effects. Deep Water Prison, which uses lake water to form a cage to imprison a target. Corpse's Resentment, granting immunity to all physical damage. Will of Hatred, which spreads its grudge and awakens all the dead within the secret realm. None of you will ever leave this place. The evil corpse of woe shrieked, then unleashed its deep water prison skill, using the lake's water to create cages to attack Lu Fan and his group. Thanks to Xiao Ye's protection, Lu Fan was able to easily evade the boss's attack. Kai on the other hand, wasn't as fortunate. After being trapped, she and Sun Ge tried everything they could, but they were unable to free her from the cage. At that moment, Kai could only say guiltily to Chin Chiu, "It's over, miss. I'm so sorry." Chin Chiu quickly responded, "You shouldn't be the one apologizing. I should be. I was the stubborn one who wanted to come to this secret realm. It's my fault everyone is trapped here." Hearing Chin Chiu's self-blaming words, Lu Fan suddenly asked, "Now that it's come to this, are you guys planning to give up?" Chin Chiu replied helplessly, "I'm the only one who knows any attack magic, but with my meager damage." Sun Ge seemed to guess the meaning behind Lu Fan's words and ventured a guess. The boss is immune to all physical attacks, and given the current situation, we can barely even protect ourselves. Lu Fan, don't tell me you know attack magic? Before they had time to think, the vengeful evil corpse continued to use its resentful whale attack skill, unleashing a curse of hatred with a low probability of causing instant death to the target. If the instant death effect doesn't trigger, it will inflict massive damage and apply zombie toxin, bleeding, and stun effects. Following that, a gigantic ethereal hand appeared, reaching for Lu Fan. "I don't, but my pet dragon does." Lu Fan replied to Sun Ge, then stood still and watched as Xiao Ye activated her Black Dragon Bloodline skill, reducing all incoming damage by 50%, becoming immune to all debuffs and increasing her self-healing ability by 500%, severing the vengeful evil corpse's ethereal arm. "The one who deserves to die isn't me. It's not me." The vengeful evil corpse shrieked, then proceeded to use its skill to create another ethereal hand to attack Lu Fan. Seeing this, Tamer said worriedly, "Dragon Tamer, but the level difference is so huge." "Don't worry. A dragon's stats are not something a human can compare to," Lu Fan said, then used the dragon's excitement skill, encouraging himself and his pet dragon, increasing all stats and attack power by 30%. He then commanded Xiao Ye to use Molten Flame, continuously spewing fire forward, dealing damage to the enemy and healing herself, causing the vengeful evil corpse to be engulfed in a sea of flames. The Black Dragon leveled up to 10, and Lu Fan leveled up to 15. A series of notifications popped up, confirming the boss had been eliminated, making Lu Fan praise happily. "Great job, Xiao Ye. It's over. I'll go check the teleportation gate," Sun Ge volunteered. Standing to the side, Xiao Ye coughed violently and said, "Up in smoke," just like that. Just then, strange noises came from behind them. They all turned around at once, only to find that the zombies had somehow revived and were slowly advancing towards them. It turned out that before turning to ash, the vengeful evil corpse had used its last bit of strength to cast the skill Will of Resentment, spreading its hatred and awakening all the dead bodies in the secret realm. While Chin Chiu's group was in a state of confusion, a red-haired girl flew over, then spewed fire from her mouth, incinerating the entire horde of zombies. Seeing that move, Sun Ge finally recognized a familiar face. "She's that dragon. The zombies we struggled so hard to kill before, yet she can deal with them so easily," Chin Chiu said with admiration. "That kid is the Black Dragon, Xiao Ye," Lu Fan introduced proudly. It seems Xiao Ye really enjoys playing with these minions. Seeing that Chin Chiu didn't respond and was just staring at Xiao Ye, who was still happily using her fire to interact with the zombies. "Chin, the boss is dealt with. You don't need to be so tense. After we divide the loot, we can get ready to leave." With that, Lu Fan walked over to the treasure chest that dropped from the boss. "According to the rules, I get to pick first. Any objections?" "Ah, no. How could we have any objections?" Chin Chiu quickly replied. "Holy Light Scepter. Level requirement 10. Spirit. Plus 32. Endurance plus 19. Seal of Holy Light. Allows the user to bind a target with light. The binding effect depends on the spirit stat. Silver Veil. Level requirement 10. Spirit. Plus 35. Endurance plus 15. Flowing Light allows the user to create a barrier to protect themselves. The amount of damage it can absorb depends on the spirit stat. Ring of Resentment, rare, level. Requirement 15, Spirit plus 57, Endurance plus 21, Attack plus 12. Aura of Grief can be designated on any target to harvest resentment energy. When the accumulated resentment value reaches a certain bronc level, attacks on the target will be accompanied by bleeding, stun, and corpse poison effects. Class Change Scroll, rare consumable, allows the user to change their class to a higher tier hidden class, with a low probability. After looking over the items, Lu Fan decided to choose the Class Change Scroll, leaving the rest for Chin Chiu's group. "Student Lu, you don't have to try and find a way to share with us. According to our prior agreement, all of this belongs to you." Lu Fan smiled and explained, "I'm not trying to be a righteous gentleman. Besides, these things are more suitable. For you anyway. but I really need this class change scroll. If we hadn't met you, all of us would have died in this place. At the very least, please accept this. With that, Chu picked up the ring of resentment from the treasure chest and handed it to Lu Fan. All right, then I won't be polite. Lu Fan happily accepted it and quickly left. Chu watched his departing figure, her heart filled with a bit of anticipation. Lu Fan, what else are you hiding? You're truly an enigma. That evening, after a 4-hour car ride, Lu Fan finally returned home. After she heard him recount the events that had just transpired, Han Kei emotionally hugged him tightly, sobbing. That was too dangerous. Just hearing you talk about it terrifies me. You must have faced so much danger these past few days. You left without saying a word to your auntie. I couldn't sleep a wink these past few nights. I was afraid this was all a dream, and if I woke up and you still weren't back, Lu Fan smiled comfortingly. It's my fault. I left without telling you anything. Don't worry, auntie. From now on, I won't make you worry anymore. Han Kei stopped crying, then turned to pat Xiao Ye's head, causing the little girl to happily wag her tail. Non-stop. And Xiao Ye, too. The first time I saw her, you gave your auntie quite a scare. Such a cute girl is actually an incredibly powerful great dragon. At this, Han Kei looked down at Xiao Ye affectionately, asked, Traveling like this for the past few days? You two must not have been eating properly, right? Xiao Ye heard this and nodded for dear life. Just then, Lu Fan pulled out a class change scroll and gave it to Han Kei. Auntie, I cleared a special dungeon and got this for you. If you change to a hidden class, you won't have to just look after this dumpling shop anymore. Han Kei quickly refused. No, Xiao Fan, this is too valuable. I can't use it. It would be better to just sell it. Besides, you said you were leaving your equipment and weapons for the young lady of the Qin family. Sell this to buy more gear for yourself. That way your results in the upcoming exam might be better. Lu Fan laughed and took out his phone to show her the amount in his bank account. Auntie, I'm not short on money or gear anymore. Seeing the number displayed on the phone screen, Han Kei couldn't help but be astonished. Xiao Fan, with this much money, did you sell the items you got from this trip? Plus, you got a reward of over 100,000 for accompanying your classmate Qin Qiu. Auntie, just trust me, we won't have to worry about money anymore. So please, will you take it? It's best if you use it right away. This time, Han Kei no longer hesitated and took the scroll, opening it immediately, successfully upgrading to the hidden class for chefs, the Mystic Chef. Is there anything special about this new class? Lu Fan asked eagerly. It has an enchanted cooking skill that can make many different kinds of food. My skills were already very good, and now I have an additional skill, to supplement them. Anyway, where did Xiao Ye go? Wasn't he just here a moment ago? Actually, at that moment, after devouring almost all the dumplings Han Kei had left in the kitchen, Xiao Ye was passed out, sound asleep on the floor. Elsewhere, after returning home, Qin Qiu recounted everything that happened in the dungeon, including Lu Fan's part in it, to her father, Qin Shanhai. That Lu Fan summoned a great black dragon and saved everyone? Qin Shanhai asked calmly. Yes, it was all because of my stubbornness. Lu Fan, he's just too strong. Even though we are both hidden class users, comparing me to him is like a firefly to the moon. The gap is too wide. Qin Shanhai swirled the wine in his glass, then asked a question with a hidden meaning. This matter, you haven't told anyone else? Have you? No. We made an agreement before coming back that the Qin family wouldn't reveal this. Qin Qiu replied, startled. Well done. If this gets out, other powerful figures from other cities regarding the power of a dragon will not sit idly by, Qin Qiu said with some unease. Father, he saved everyone's lives. You don't have any designs on his dragon, do you? His precious daughter's agitated reaction made Qin Shanhai laugh. Do you think I'm that kind of person? On the contrary, what have you prepared to repay him for saving your life? When I invited him to the party, I promised him 100,000. As a reward, Qin Qiu replied hesitantly, Sigh, fine, tomorrow I'll personally bring a redbud card to his door and express my gratitude. That will do. Father, you're also very curious about him, so why don't you come with me? Qin Shanhai sighed. If I could, I would really love to meet this dragon master, but I already have plans for tomorrow morning. The next morning, a certain special guest arrived early. Guest came to the shop to see Lu Fan, none other than the young princess of the Taiki Kingdom, currently studying abroad in Jianghai of the Dragon Country. As soon as she heard the bell, Han Kei left the freshly steamed dumplings, went to crack open the door, and said with a smile, Are you two here for dumplings? Sorry, our shop is closed today. The young princess scrutinized Han Kei, then doubtfully asked the young man in black armor standing behind her, Is this really the place? You didn't bring me to this dump on purpose, did you? This subordinate wouldn't dare. According to the investigation, this is definitely the place. The two didn't wait for Han Kei to finish speaking. The man in black armor shoved the door open, causing her to stumble backward and spill the tray of fresh dumplings. The little princess saw this but couldn't care less, instead, asking in a haughty tone, Humph, this princess is here to find someone. Do you know a dragon master named Lu Fan? Hearing that someone was looking for him, Lu Fan curiously came downstairs. As soon as he reached the stairs, he saw dumplings scattered on the floor, and Han-Kei had an expression of pain on her face as she rubbed her arm. Not only that, he saw an unfamiliar brat pinching her nose, saying with a disgusted expression, "This place is filled with a nauseating smell. Auntie, are you okay? What in the world happened?" Lu Fan hurried over to check on Han-Kei. Han-Kei just smiled and replied, "It's nothing." "So, you are Lu Fan? This princess came here personally today." Lu Fan shifted his gaze towards the little princess and asked coldly, "Princess, you were looking for me. Who exactly are you?" The armored man stepped forward, gesturing to the princess, and introduced, "This is the princess of the Taichi kingdom, Jinju, and I am Kui Heng Tai, the princess's attendant," Jinju said with her usual insolent demeanor. "This princess is here to give you a chance to distinguish yourself." "Distinguish myself?" "That's right. Being a dragon master, you must be quite frustrated deep down, right? As long as you agree to my demand, this will be yours," the princess said while signaling to Kui Heng Tai. He immediately opened a case, which contained an egg. "That's a dragon egg," Lu Fan thought to himself. Seeing Lu Fan's surprised expression, Jinju said smugly, "So? Are you surprised? Do you want it? The condition is simple. Become my servant and do whatever I tell you to do. No defiance allowed." "Become a servant?" Han-Kei looked at the princess in surprise. "That I found in a special lair. You could say it's a one-of-a-kind egg in this world." Seeing Lu Fan's silence, Jinju turned to look at him. "Cat got your tongue? Such commoners. He was scared stiff by the might of the dragon race, huh?" Actually, Lu Fan was silent not because he was afraid, but simply because he was reading the information gathered by his appraisal eye. Armored dragon egg. Low-grade quality. Sturdy armor. The armored dragon hatches with a large suit of armor, reducing all types of attribute damage taken, and its tail whip uses its tail to swing in a fan shape, dealing damage in a specific area. So it's a lesser dragon egg, and a low-grade earth dragon at that. This armored dragon is basically just a walking lump of dirt, and you people call this a dragon? Lu Fan sneered inwardly, then sighed, and said, "The stats aren't bad." Seeing Lu Fan's completely uninterested expression, Jinzhou couldn't help but be confused. Doesn't this guy know how important a dragon egg is to a dragon tamer? How could that girl say such a thing? Lu Fan quickly reassured his aunt. "Don't worry, auntie. I'll get rid of them right away." Jinzhou put her hands on her hips and said condescendingly, "A dragon tamer without a dragon is just trash, right? As long as you become my servant, you can be the first to change to the strongest class in history, something no one has ever done before, with an opportunity like this. Aren't you excited?" Lu Fan smirked and replied, "Yes, I'm very excited, but I refuse." Hearing his answer, Jinzhou was initially shocked, then became furious, and shouted, "Do you have any idea what you're saying? You dare refuse to be my servant, refuse the chance to rewrite the history of dragon tamers." Lu Fan's face turned serious as he bluntly replied, "You'd all better. Stop coming to me. Take back your dragon egg. I'm not interested. And a servant? That's ridiculous." Hearing these words, veins popped on Kui Heng Tai's forehead as he said, "The princess personally gave you a chance to advance, yet you dare to be so arrogant and insolent to her. You ungrateful brat. A chance to advance. Don't make me laugh. I will never become anyone's servant. For anyone." Jinzhou was a pampered princess who had never been humiliated like this before. She immediately ordered Kui Heng Tai to teach Lu Fan a lesson. Seeing this, Han-Kei rushed forward to intervene but was pushed aside by Kui Heng Tai. "The princess has given an order. Get out of the way. Just a mere commoner daring to be rude to the princess. If you won't do it the easy way, then so be it," Kui Heng Tai said as he prepared to attack Lu Fan. But before he could do anything, a flash of light zipped past, leaving a bloody gash on his cheek. Lu Fan pointed his weapon straight at his face and said coldly, "You dare lay a hand on my family, I will definitely destroy you." "Xiao Fan, don't be rash," Han-Kei pleaded fearfully. "You." Kui Heng Tai was terrified and instinctively stepped back, thinking to himself, "There's something wrong with this guy." Jin. Zhou saw this and yelled, "What are you doing? I told you to teach him a lesson." Lu Fan walked step by step towards Jin Zhou and slapped her across the face. "I don't care what kind of princess you are. Shut your mouth! Take that piece of trash and get out of here! You lowly scum! How dare you lay a hand on the princess!" Kui Heng Tai shouted, then charged at Lu Fan with his weapon. But Lu Fan casually swung his sword and sent his weapon flying. Embarrassed, Kui Heng Tai turned to check on Jinzhou. "Princess, are you all right?" But unexpectedly, this princess was not moved at all and was trembling with rage. She slapped Kui Heng Tai right across the face. "You useless trash! Do I look all right to you? Get him for me! Even if I can't find another dragon tamer, I still want him dead." While things were tense downstairs, it was strangely quiet upstairs, until Lu Fan's phone started ringing nonstop, waking up Xiao Ye. On the other end of the line, Chin Chu was confused when she couldn't reach Lu Fan. That's strange. He's not picking up. I'm sure we exchanged contact info before I left. Did I remember it wrong? At Lu Fan's house, Chin Chu was deep in thought when a loud explosion from a nearby house startled her. Hearing the noise, curious neighbors gathered around Lu Fan's house where the explosion had just occurred and started whispering among themselves. Is there a fight going on? Is it those foreigners? Jinzhou, furious from the humiliation, brandished her scepter threateningly. What are you looking at, you lowly commoners? Get lost. At this moment, Kui Hengtai knelt down to admit his fault. Princess, this guy's stats are not low. Your subordinate is incompetent. Useless. You can't even handle a low-class commoner from the Long Kingdom. Then I, the princess, will lend you a hand. Jinzhou gave a sinister smile, then began to cast a spell with her scepter. Lu Fan watched this with some caution. This magic looks similar to Chin Chu's, but, being so unique, it seems to be a hidden class. Seeing Lu Fan, Chin Chu immediately ran over to ask, "What's going on? Classmate Chin, why are you here?" At that very moment, streams of dark aura from Jinzhou's scepter flowed into Kui Hengtai, causing his body to grow abnormally large, while his eyes gradually lost their humanity. He's turning into a monster, Lu Fan thought, immediately activating his appraisal skill. Kui Hengtai, Combat Class, Guardian Knight level 30. Jinzhou, Hidden Class, level 15, Spirit Master. Lu Fan, let me help you! Chin Chu bravely stepped forward to protect Lu Fan, but was immediately pushed aside by him. Stay back. Help me take care of my aunt. She's inside the shop. At the same time, Sui Hengtai, after receiving the corrupted buff, charged at Lu Fan. Lu Fan quickly jumped back to dodge, while mentally assessing his opponent. His attack power has increased significantly. Looks like I'll need to use Dragon's Encouragement. Seeing Kui Hengtai gain the upper hand, Jinzhou was immediately delighted. Yes, that's it. Destroying him is the only way to appease my anger. With the princess's blessing. Kui Hengtai hadn't finished speaking. Just then, Ziye burst through the wall of the house, and her body began to transform, while Jinzhou was still in shock from the increasingly violent aura radiating from Xiaoye. She heard Lu Fan say coolly, "If that's the case, then it's my turn to vent." As soon as Lu Fan finished speaking, Xiaoye revealed her true form, a giant dragon. Both Jinzhou and Kui Hengtai were still stunned by the sight when Xiaoye roared and charged at Kui Hengtai, slamming him deep into the ground with a powerful swipe of her claws. Jinzhou was blown back by the shockwave, stumbling backwards, her mind reeling in disbelief. How could this be? It's impossible. He defeated Hengtai in a single blow. A pained cry escaped from Kui Hengtai's mouth. Next, he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and reached toward Jinzhou behind him, pleading in a weak, intermittent voice for help. Cough, cough, princess. Save me. Tsk. Just bear with it, you useless trash. After cursing Hengtai, Jinzhou pointed her scepter at Xiaoye and began to chant a spell. Xiaoye roared at Jinzhou, causing her spellcasting process to be instantly interrupted. Hengtai, pinned under Xiaoye's claw, cried out helplessly, "Ugh, let me go!" Hearing this, Xiaoye tossed Hengtai towards Jinzhou like a sack of trash. Hengtai's entire body was trembling as he tried to reach for Jinzhou, softly calling, Princess. Jinzhou stood frozen to the spot, looking at Kui Hengtai's miserable state, thinking to herself, this power, it really is a giant dragon. Besides my Jin family, do other dragon eggs actually exist? Lu Fan slowly walked towards Jinzhou and questioned her. Princess Jinzhou, what were you barking about earlier? Something about dealing with me to vent your anger. Seeing Lu Fan approach her, Jinzhou was so scared she started to cry. Her legs trembled, and she collapsed to the ground, screaming, "Don't you come over here, stay away from me! You attacked my subordinate and made him severely injured, and now you're trying to humiliate and threaten me. Do you have any idea what the consequences will be? You'll become an enemy of my Tai Chi kingdom." Lu Fan took out his weapon and asked with a laugh, "Haha, so you're still trying to threaten me? After you ordered your subordinate to attack my family." Sensing the killing intent in Lu Fan's eyes, Jinzhou flinched and stammered, What are you planning to do?" Xiaoye answered Jinzhou by opening her mouth and starting to condense a fireball. At the same time, Lu Fan raised his weapon and said, "Don't you dare bark about being some princess anymore. Even if you were a god, I would still pay you back 100-fold. Just then, Qin Shanhai flew in from a distance on his mount, shouting urgently, "Lu Fan, stop!" Qin Qiu cried out in alarm. "Dad, be careful!" Before she could finish her warning, Xiaoye turned towards Qin Shanhai, preparing to shoot the fireball at him. "Xiaoye, stop!" As he spoke, Lu Fan swung his weapon, cutting the scepter in Jinzhou's hand in two, then sheathed his weapon. Seeing Xiaoye retract her attack, Qin Shanhai steered his mount past her. As soon as he landed, Qin Shanhai reminded Lu Fan, "There are quite a few civilians around. This giant dragon, Lu Fan, You should have her revert. Then he looked at Xiao Ye and thought to himself, a real giant dragon is truly on another level. Just getting close is enough to feel its terrifying pressure. Qin Qiu also tried to persuade him. Lu Fan, please listen to my father. Please, trust me this once. Lu Fan glanced at Qin Qiu, thought for a moment, then softly called out, Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye understood. She threw her head back, let out a roar, and transformed back into a girl. Qin Qiu sighed in relief. She went to Lu Fan and pulled his arm, gently telling him to come with her. As for Qin Shanhai, he walked over to Jin Zhou, who was trembling on the ground, and said with a smile, Princess Jin Zhou, are you all right? I just went to the airport to pick you up. I didn't think that you would come here. The Qin family's driver is on his way. Let's get you to the hospital first. Meanwhile, as Qin Qiu pulled Lu Fan inside the house, Han Kei came over and hugged his arm, saying with a worried expression. Qin Qiu explained that her father might know this princess and could probably resolve the conflict peacefully, which is why she called him. Lu Fan frowned and said, but I have a feeling that brat won't let this go so easily. A moment later, Qin Shanhai walked over with a smile. I've taken care of things. To think our first meeting would be in such a messy situation, it's a good thing you were here, Lu Fan. Lu Fan apologized. I'm sorry for causing you trouble, Mr. Qin, but I had no other choice in this matter. Han Kei, who was standing beside him, couldn't help but interject. Mr. Qin, about today, Lu Fan won't be. Qin Shanhai lit a cigarette for himself and said, I've sent Princess Jin Zhou and her subordinate to the hospital, but ultimately, we still need to give the Jin family an explanation. The Jin family isn't just involved in business, they also have considerable influence among the upper echelons of the Taichi kingdom. Han Ki said worriedly, the other party has such a powerful background, and Lu Fan defeated them. I'm afraid they'll retaliate against him, Lu Fan said angrily. So what if she has a powerful family? I won't sell my dignity for a single egg. Or anything else. Qin Shanhai smiled, patted Lu Fan's shoulder, and praised him. Very spirited. Good. I appreciate that about you. Then, his smile faded as he continued. Everyone, there's no need to worry. I have a way to help Lu Fan get out of this unscathed, but I can't do it alone, so there's a condition. Lu Fan pressed. What condition? Qin Shanhai pointed his cigarette towards Lu Fan and said seriously, in the upcoming great examination, you must win the title of provincial champion. I will do everything in my power to hold off Princess Jin Zhou until you complete the trial. Qin Qiu spoke up, reminding him, Lu Fan, this won't be easy. The entire southern province is filled with countless outstanding individuals. Qin Shanhai continued. Only if you can surpass them all and take first place will I be able to help you. Seeing Lu Fan close his eyes without a worried Han Kei called out softly, Xiao Fan. A moment later, Lu Fan opened his eyes, his gaze filled with determination as he spoke. Understood. I accept this condition. A few hours later, at the hospital, Jin Zhou had recovered from her state of fear. When she found out Lu Fan was still unharmed, she became furious and took out her phone to call Qin Shanhai. As soon as the call connected, Jin Zhou immediately screamed, why hasn't that Lu Fan been arrested yet? Qin Shanhai, you're clearly showing favoritism to that guy. Qin Shanhai explained, please calm down, princess. We've already reported this to the higher-ups. We need them to resolve this matter. Jin Zhou snorted angrily and said, you'd better hope so. Put pressure on him. I don't care about that, Lu Fan. He must disappear. The next day, at the high school, a large crowd of students had gathered since it was the day of the grand examination. You're level 11 too? Awesome. You've mastered 7 mage skills. Want to party up later? The students were excitedly chatting among themselves when their attention was drawn by the appearance of Lu Fan. Hey look, isn't that Lu Fan? I thought he'd gone home to sell steamed buns. Once a top student, but he got stuck with a trash class. Did he have nothing better to do than come here and be a free laughingstock? Hearing the students around him, Lu Fan felt a bit angry and cursed inwardly. Ah, I'm already being looked down on. Just then, the principal walked up to the podium and announced, everyone settle down. The Southern Province's grand examination is about to begin. Ever since I reached level 15, I still have some daily maps I haven't used. It's a shame they're all just intermediate grade, but if I combine 3 of them, they can become a high-grade map that should be useful for the grand examination. As Lu Fan was pondering, a voice called from behind, Lu Fan, you came to participate. In the grand examination too? Lu Fan turned to see it was his homeroom teacher and said with a smile, yes, sir, of course I had to participate. I've improved my strength quite a bit these past few days. Teacher Li also smiled and handed something to Lu Fan. That's good. You must do your best. This is your teleportation stone. Lu Fan happily accepted the teleportation stone from Teacher Li's hand. A system notification announced that he had received a teleportation stone. The teleportation stone can be used in a trial setting to teleport to a specific floor of the secret realm and can be used to return. Teacher Lee didn't stay long, but before leaving, he didn't forget to advise Lu Fan. Lu Fan, I believe that with your willpower, you're not necessarily weaker than other classes. But you can't deny the importance of one's class. Even though this is an exam, any mistake can still lead to injury, or even death. Try to form a party with your classmates. If anything goes wrong, use it to escape immediately. Yes, sir, Lu Fan replied cheerfully, but he thought to himself, but if I form a party, the points will be split evenly among the members. My goal isn't just to pass the exam, it's to take first place. Just then, Chin Chiu ran over, pulling a girl along with her, and called out happily to Lu Fan. Lu Fan looked at the two of them and asked with a smile, "What a coincidence is this? Your teammate?" Chin Chiu enthusiastically introduced her. "That's right, let me introduce you. This is my best friend. You can call her Xiao Tao. Her skills are also very good." Tao Xiao Man spoke flatly. "Hello," Chin Chiu blushed slightly and suggested, Lu Fan, do you want to form a party with us?" Tao Xiao Man's jaw dropped as she let out a soft, "Huh?" Lu Fan smiled and waved his hand, turning away as he spoke. "Sorry, I plan on going solo. I know you want to help me, but this is a condition I agreed to earlier. I'll head to the assembly point first. Later, you two do your best." Chin Chiu replied, "Okay, you too." She felt a little sad, thinking to herself, with Lu Fan's strength, anyone here who partied with him would just be a hindrance. After Lu Fan was completely gone, Tao Xiao Man looked at Chin Chiu suspiciously and asked, "Xiao Chiu, why did you invite the weakest guy to our party?" Chin Chiu smiled and replied, "No, he's very strong. Do you? Believe it or not, this year's top scorer for the Southern Province will definitely be him." Tao Xiao Man didn't believe Chin Chiu at all. She looked at Chin Chiu with a scrutinizing gaze and asked in a probing tone, "Xiao Chiu, what are you talking about? Don't tell me you've fallen for that Dragon Master, have you?" Chin Chiu's face immediately flushed red as she denied it. "Don't jump to crazy conclusions." Tao Xiaoman laughed and said, "Heh, your face is all red." A while later, Lu Fan went through the teleportation gate to the Grand Examination's secret realm and saw that a large number of examinees were already there. Of the principal appeared on a large screen in the sky, explaining the rules of the secret realm. Attention, examinees. The teleportation gate in the sky is divided into 4 difficulty levels: normal, hard, extreme, and nightmare. The difficulty level opened each time is determined by the candidate's choice. On normal difficulty, most enemies will just be projections, and you won't receive fatal wounds. The point multiplier for normal difficulty is 0.9, and from hard difficulty onwards, the monsters will be real. If you use the teleportation stone to escape, you can keep your points, and the point multiplier for hard difficulty is 1. Some examinees discussed amongst themselves, it seems everyone is defaulting to hard difficulty. Higher difficulties have a high probability of being life-threatening. Perhaps only those with hidden classes can handle it. On the large screen, the principal continued, "The monsters on extreme difficulty. Difficulty will be stronger and more ferocious, so please go in a party. Your life is more important than your score. Extreme difficulty, a 3-time score multiplier." At this moment, a candidate named Hong Wu, a level 14 combat class, a Qigong master, suddenly pointed at the large screen and declared with a loud laugh, "Haha, headmaster, you're watching, aren't you? I will be the one with the highest score this time." Hong Wu's actions immediately drew the attention of many other candidates. Tao Xiaoman whispered to Chin Chiu, "Hong Wu, he's one of the top masters among the younger generation of the Southern Province." Chin Chiu replied, "A Qigong master? Such a well-rounded class for both offense and defense, and he's still challenging it alone. We should get going too." A disheartened student said, "It's over. With Hong Wu here, how can anyone possibly surpass him?" Very quickly, the candidates had chosen their difficulty levels and entered. At the same time, in the headmaster's office, a group of principals and important figures were sitting in front of monitoring screens, evaluating the candidates' performances. The principal of number 1 high school laughed loudly and said, "Haha, that kid Hong Wu is my most formidable student. The top scorer position is as good as his. I see Mr. Chin's daughter isn't bad either. It's not impossible for her to make it into the top 3. In contrast to the smug expression of number 1 high school's principal, the principal of Lu Fan's school sighed regretfully to himself. What a pity. If only Lu Fan had awakened a different hidden class, perhaps. Qin Shanhai suddenly spoke up with a mysterious smile. "Gentlemen, I'm actually quite confident about who will be the top scorer," someone asked curiously. "Oh, Mr. Qin, are you alluding to someone?" Qin Shanhai replied, "Lu Fan from number 3 high school." The principal of number 3 high school was astonished and exclaimed, "Lu Fan?" At Qin Shanhai's words, everyone simultaneously turned their gaze to Lu Fan's monitoring screen. Then, the principal of number 1 high school laughed and said, "Everyone has already teleported in. Only he is left. Is he planning to forfeit?" Haha, Mr. Chin, please don't joke around. What can you possibly expect from a Dragon Master? Our Hongwu has already climbed to the 4th floor, securing first place. Suddenly, the expression on the face of number 3 high school's principal changed, and he exclaimed, "He's not planning to forfeit. That kid is waiting for the final difficulties teleportation gate." The others were also startled. That kid wants to choose nightmare difficulty, a level that's a one-way trip. Is this overconfidence? Is this guy insane? That Dragon Master will get himself killed. Someone stop him now. So, someone spoke through the large screen in the secret realm to advise Lu Fan, "Young man, no one who has chosen nightmare difficulty has ever returned intact." Before the person could even finish speaking, Lu Fan just smiled and teleported into the nightmare difficulty. Seeing this, the principal of number 3 high school stood there stunned and said, "The last person to choose nightmare difficulty was 8 months ago, and that person was devoured by monsters and died a gruesome death." The principal of number 1 high school's smile vanished as well. He glanced at the principal of number 3 high school and started to criticize. "What? Nonsense! Didn't your school go over the rules of the grand examination? This Dragon Master kid." He then turned to Qin Shanhai and said, "Mr. Qin, you should really reevaluate your judgment. This foolish choice makes him completely incomparable to our Hongwu." Someone else chimed in. "That's right. We should just look forward to the performance of that genius Qigong master instead." Qin Shanhai laughed nonchalantly and said, "Aren't you two jumping to conclusions a bit too early? Why don't we watch a little longer before deciding?" The principal of number 3 high school asked suspiciously, "Mr. Qin, why do you have so much faith in him?" Right after, his expression changed as he thought of a possibility. Could it be that Lu Fan, inside the secret realm of the nightmare difficulty trial, a red vortex appeared, teleporting Lu Fan to this location? The moment his feet touched the ground, Lu Fan discovered he was surrounded by a horde of monsters hidden within a black mist. Lu Fan immediately drew his weapon, thinking to himself, "The first floor of the Nightmare Tower should have at least 10 of them." As the monsters emerged from the black mist, Lu Fan saw what they were. 10 black dire wolves, whose bites and tear at their targets, inflicting a bleed effect. Their Night Howl boosts all stats for allied units and also resets cooldowns. At that moment, the pack of black dire wolves opened their sharp-fanged maws and lunged at Lu Fan. "Well then, shall we begin?" Lu Fan thought with a smirk, dashing towards the wolves and unleashing his Dragon Fang strike skill. A few seconds later, the system announced, "Nightmare Trial. Realm's first floor cleared. Score plus 990. In the observation room, the principal of number 1 high school leaped to his feet, shouting in disbelief, "In a single blow? How can that Lu Fan kid be so abnormally powerful?" The man sitting beside him judged, "His attributes are clearly far higher than his level." The principal of number 3 high school, utterly astonished, voiced his earlier suspicion with a trembling voice. "Lu Fan, could he have found the legendary Great Dragon?" The scoreboard updated. Number 1, Hongwu, extreme difficulty, 3,000 points. Number 2, Lu Fan, nightmare, difficulty, 990 points. Number 3, Qin Chu, extreme difficulty, 900 points. Also number 3, Tao Xiaoman, extreme difficulty, 900 points. While the group in the monitoring room was still stunned by Lu Fan's performance, the door behind them was pushed open by a man, who announced, "Pardon the intrusion. I am a special envoy from the Dragon Capital. I regret to interrupt, but we need to escort an individual back to the Dragon Capital for an investigation." "Where is the Dragon Master named Lu Fan?" Qin Shanhai looked at the door and immediately recognized the man as Qian Xiong, a combat professional, a level 57 swordsman, from in the Nightmare Difficulty dungeon. After dealing with the monsters, Lu Fan didn't rush to the 2nd floor but stayed behind to search for the location provided by the advanced map he had assembled before entering the dungeon. It didn't take long before Lu Fan smiled and said softly, "Finally found it." The system announced that he had reached the location on the treasure map. He had assembled an advanced map right before entering, not expecting it to be right on the 1st floor of the dungeon. Muttering to himself, Lu Fan reached out and took a book. The system announced that he had obtained a Growth Acceleration Skill Book. The Growth Acceleration Skill Book increases the amount of XP that both he and his pet receive from killing monsters. Lu Fan used it immediately without hesitation. The system announced that he had acquired the Growth Acceleration skill. Lu Fan was happy and thought to himself, "An experience boost? This is perfect for Xiao Ye." After leaving Tang Village, Xiao Ye's leveling speed had slowed down quite a bit. This is truly a godsend. In the monitoring room, Qian Xiong watched Lu Fan on the monitor and made a demand to the principal of number 3 high school. "Principal Bai, Lu Fan is your student. You must stop his assessment and bring him here." Principal Bai refused. "Special envoy, no matter what the situation is, we should wait for his assessment to be completed. As the principal, I can take responsibility for him." Qian Xiong pushed up his glasses and said, "On his behalf, yes, but you cannot accept his punishment for him." Principal Bai asked doubtfully. Punishment? The others were also confused, not knowing what trouble Lu Fan had caused. Just then, Qin Shanhai walked over, grabbed Qian Xiong's arm, and said, "Old Qian, for the sake of our old friendship, can you let me have a word?" Qian Xiong showed no courtesy, shaking off Qin Shanhai's hand and warning, "Mr. Qin, I'd advise you to stop. Do not interfere with my duties. I don't know why you're protecting him. But let me give you a piece of advice. Stay out of this. Neither the Jin family nor the upper echelons of Dragon City will let this go. If you understand, then please leave this place." Then, Qian Xiong once again demanded of the principal, "Principal Bai, hand the boy over now." Before Principal Bai could react, Qin Shanhai lit a cigarette and spoke again. "Old Qian, the upper echelons of Dragon City, the Jin family, and even the Taichi Kingdom, this matter is indeed complicated. But once Lu Fan's secret is revealed, neither the upper echelons nor the Jin family will pursue this any further. Today, no one, no matter who they are, is taking Lu Fan away." Qian Xiong frowned, pointing at Qin Shanhai and demanding, "What secret? Do you know what crime it is to defy a special envoy?" Qin Shanhai suddenly grabbed Qian Xiong's hand, his expression resolute as he spoke. "If that's how it has to be, then so be it." Provoked, Qian Xiong threatened angrily, "Your actions will definitely be reported to the upper echelons." Seeing the tense atmosphere between the two, the principal, Bai stepped in to mediate. "Special Envoy, Mr. Qin, please, both of you calm down." Qian Xiong also cooled down a bit. He pulled his hand back, glanced at Qin Shanhai, and asked him, "What could possibly make you go this far?" Qin Shanhai looked towards Lu Fan's monitor and said, "Aren't you curious what secret Lu Fan has that could sway the entire upper echelon? And the Jin family?" Qian Xiong also looked towards Lu Fan's monitor. Then he was suddenly startled to realize that Lu Fan had chosen the Nightmare Difficulty Dungeon. Inside the Nightmare Difficulty Dungeon, Lu Fan was standing before the gate leading to the second floor. "I originally planned to see how many floors I could climb on my own, but it looks like I'll have to summon Xiao Ye early after all." Muttering to himself, Lu Fan then reached his hand to the side and began the spell to summon Xiao Ye. Outside the dungeon, when Qian Xiong learned that Lu Fan had chosen the Nightmare Difficulty, he turned around bewildered and asked, "He dared to choose Nightmare Difficulty? What on earth is this kid capable of? Didn't you see earlier? With just a single strike Before the principal of number 1 high school could finish, everyone gasped and simultaneously looked towards Lu Fan's monitor. Upon seeing the scene of Lu Fan summoning Xiao Ye, the entire group was dumbfounded. Qian Xiong pointed at the screen, his voice trembling as he spoke. That's a great dragon." Qin Shanhai saw Xiao Ye appear and shatter the gate to the second floor with a single blow and said with a wry smile, "Even though I've seen it once before, it's still." Then, after letting the group watch Xiao Ye effortlessly wipe out all the monsters on the second floor with a single move, Qin Shanhai spoke again. "As you have all seen, that is the secret I was referring to." In the time that followed, under the watchful eyes of the group, in a short amount of time, Lu Fan and Xiao Ye reached the 13th floor and cleared it with ease. His score was now ranked first, far surpassing the person in second place. Scoreboard number 1. Lu Fan, Nightmare Difficulty, 58,500 points. Number 2, Hong Yu, Extreme Difficulty, 27,550 points. Number 3, Qin Qiu, Extreme Difficulty, 12,570 points. Number 3, Xiao Tao, Extreme Difficulty, 12,570 points. After observing for a while, Principal Bai seriously judged, "It's not just the great dragon. Lu Fan, this kid's own strength, all of his stats must be over 100 by now. Even without the great dragon summon, he could still surely secure the top spot in Jianghai." Qin Shanhai smiled at Qian Xiong and asked, "Old Qian, do you still want to escort him to the upper echelons now?" Qian Xiong replied, "Today, I finally understand why you would confront the Jin family for his sake." Qin Shanhai then said, "In that case, I will send a video clip of Lu Fan from this assessment to my master. From now on, the matter between Lu Fan and the Jin family will no longer need to trouble you, Special Envoy." Qian Xiong exclaimed in shock. "Master, you mean?" Qin Shanhai looked at Qian Xiong, smiled, and said, "The Marquis of the North, Tu Jing." Inside the Nightmare Difficulty Dungeon, Lu Fan had now reached the 20th floor. The monsters on this floor were Dark Priests, level 15. Their Dark Encirclement skill reduced a target's stats by 50%, while increasing their own by 25%. Shadow Fusion pulled both themselves and their opponent into the shadows. During this time, they were immune to all attacks and could control dark minions, commanding Dark Knights and Cavaliers. With the effect of the recent equipment, Xiao Ye's level would also level up soon. Thinking this, Lu Fan ordered Xiao Ye to use the Scorching Lava Flame skill. At Lu Fan's command, Xiao Ye immediately opened its mouth and spewed flames, engulfing the entire area in front of them, wiping out the horde of monsters in a sea of fire. The system announced that floor 20 was complete. Xiao Ye had gained 1 level, and Lu Fan had reached level 16. Lu Fan spoke cheerfully. Let's go, Xiao Ye. Let's flatten this tower together. On the scoreboard, number 1, Lu Fan. Nightmare difficulty, 90,000 points. Number 2, Hong Yu. Extremely hard difficulty, 31,500 points. Number 3, Qin Qiu. Extremely hard difficulty, 16,900 points. Tied for third, Xiao Tao. Extremely hard difficulty, 16,900 points. An hour later, after much effort, Hong Yu finally cleared the 50th floor on extremely hard difficulty. He never expected this exam would be so brutal. Shouldn't this type of monster be for level 70? Well, since everyone is struggling, the only person who can compete with me for number 1 is Qin Qiu, and she's still in a party. Her score will be split in half. The title of top scorer for the Southern Province this year is definitely mine. At this thought, Hong Yu couldn't help but laugh loudly, looking up and shouting, "Principal, are you watching my performance? Hey, you recruiters from the 10 great universities, hurry up and send me my acceptance letter." The proctors glanced at Hong Yu, then immediately went back to intently watching Lu Fan's progress. Floor 50. Previous top scorers all maxed out at this level. This floor is the real turning point. Lu Fan, you can't afford to be careless. His pace of climbing the tower is bound to slow down. Inside the trial tower, Lu Fan eagerly opened the system window to check the new skills Xiao Ye gained after leveling up. He had acquired the form shift skill, with various forms available. Wormling form. All stats and mana consumption are reduced by 50%. Dragon Maiden form. Unlocked via blood contract. Giant Dragon form. Strength is reduced by 50%, Spirit is increased by 100%, and it gains the skills Myriad Scorch and Lava. Burst. World Ender form. Spirit is reduced by 50% while Strength is increased tenfold, and it gains the new skills Earth Annihilation and Dragon Roar. There were 4 transformation forms, including Giant Dragon and World Ender. While Lu Fan was deep in thought, rocks suddenly began to fall from a nearby mountain as a monster revealed itself, an amethyst mountain giant, level 20. Its skill, Mountain Sweep, used a stone arm to swipe at all targets in front of it, dealing massive damage. With Mountain Collapse, it leaps high and smashes into the ground, causing 5 aftershocks that deal 10 to 35% damage. Its Amethyst Rock passive reduces magic damage by 50% and resists all armor-piercing attacks. Principal Bai couldn't help but worry when he saw this. A Tier 3 boss on Nightmare difficulty, how could he possibly defeat it? I said it before, this is the turning point. For the next few floors, his tower climbing speed will certainly slow down for Lu Fan. The principal of number 1 high school sighed and said this, looking at the scoreboard with a hint of envy. With this performance, Lu Fan's top spot in Jianghai is secured, and his position as the top scorer in the Southern Province is practically guaranteed. Why couldn't a student with such potential have come from my number 1 high school? Back inside the trial tower, the mountain giant made its move, with its mountain sweep attack. Accordingly, its colossal fist shot straight toward Lu Fan. Unfazed, Lu Fan stood his ground, casually studying the information. On the boss, a 50% damage reduction? Well, I'm already halfway up the tower, so it's only natural for the difficulty to spike. Thinking this, Lu Fan grinned in excitement. If that's the case, Xiao Ye, let's try out that World Ender form, shall we? Xiao Ye blocked the mountain giant's attack meant for Lu Fan with a single hand, then let out a roar as it soared into the sky and began transforming into its World Ender form. Although its spirit stat decreased by 50%, its strength stat increased exponentially, and it also gained 2 new skills, Earth Annihilation and Dragon Roar. The proctors watching on the monitor were shocked by this sight, exclaiming in shock, "What the heck? It has a combat form too? These forms are truly terrifying." As Lu Fan was watching Xiao Ye transform, he suddenly sensed danger from behind, causing him to immediately leap aside, successfully dodging a punch from the mountain giant. Lu Fan decided to return the favor, using the dragon's Warcry skill to buff himself and his dragon pet, increasing all their stats and attack power by 30%. He then ordered Xiao Ye to use Giant Maw, lunging forward to viciously bite the opponent, inflicting damage and a bleed effect as it started chewing on the mountain giant's head. Literally. Just like that, the level 20 boss crumbled. The principal of number 1 high school exclaimed in shock, while Principal Bai broke out in a cold sweat, silently speculating. To shatter this boss's defenses in a single blow, the attack power of that last hit must have exceeded 2,000. Back inside the tower, just when Lu Fan thought the mountain giant was finished, it reached out its hand toward him again. Lu Fan dodged to the side once more, then activated his Dragon Blood armor skill, forming a dragon claw around his fist. He then threw a powerful punch straight into the mountain giant's face, creating a heaven and earth shaking explosion. At this point, Qin Shanhai turned to Qianzhong's completely baffled face and said, "Old Qian, seeing Lu Fan's power now, aren't you glad I stopped you?" Qianzhong was silent. Back with Lu Fan, after the dust settled, the mountain giant prepared to fight again, but was immediately hit by Xiao Ye's World Ender Dragon Roar combo. Roaring, dealing massive damage and a weakening effect to all targets in range, and Annihilation Thunder, creating a shockwave on the ground that deals huge damage to the target, with a chance of causing the enemy to fall into the abyss of a fissure, which officially obliterated the boss. The 50th floor was cleared, and with that, Xiao Ye leveled up to 12, while Lu Fan also leveled up to 17. It was definitely the right choice to pick Nightmare difficulty. Now the challenge was no longer an obstacle. As long as they swept through each floor, their experience would increase significantly. Lu Fan thought to himself and continued his journey to conquer the tower. In the observation room, Qin Shanhai stubbed out the cigarette in his hand, a smug look on his face as he said to the principal of the #1 high school, "It seems that 50 floors of Nightmare difficulty still haven't given Lu Fan any trouble. The giant dragon, as expected, is beyond our comprehension." Principal Bai, slightly bewildered, asked Qianxiong, "Special envoy, you're from the dragon capital and are very knowledgeable. Can you tell how much the giant dragon's power increased when it changed forms?" Qianxiong replied with a contemplative expression, "I've seen some major figures from the dragon capital in action before, and if I use that as a benchmark, after changing forms, its stats must be at least over 2,500, right?" The principal of the #1 high school exclaimed, just as he had predicted, afraid that the number was likely even higher, not lower. Principal Bai thought to himself. After composing himself, the principal of the #1 high school said, "Since he's already past the 50th floor, why don't we use the X+1 mode? We'll know for sure then." X? Qin Shanhai asked with a confused look. Principal Bai explained, "That's right, the XID plus 1 mode was created by the very first scholar who designed the trial tower. After clearing the 50th floor, through the X variable, which determines the number of monsters, all challengers are guaranteed to encounter the tower's boss. This makes the trial almost identical to real secret realms, where one's life can be lost at any moment. It's just that on Nightmare difficulty, even with an X of 21, all monsters are replaced by Nightmare-level bosses. In the X+1 mode on Nightmare difficulty, there won't be just one boss, and its stats will also be increased." Qin Shanhai lit a cigarette, took a drag, and then gestured with his chin towards the screen with a smug look. "That may be so, but look at Lu Fan. To him, he doesn't even seem to care about this X+1 mode." Inside the training tower, Lu Fan also sensed that the tower's difficulty had completely changed after the 50th floor. But, even so, with Xiao Ye's world-annihilating form, he basically didn't need to think too much. And so, Lu Fan and Xiao Ye continued to sweep through the floors, and in just 10 minutes, they had already reached the 70th floor. His level also skyrocketed, leaving the old-timer speechless once again. It's only been another 10 minutes and Lu Fan has already reached the 70th floor. Honestly, the design of this trial tower is arguably the most difficult one ever. With a setup like this, I initially wondered if anyone could even reach the 80th floor. But given the current situation, it seems the principal of the #1 high school was at a loss for words seeing Lu Fan had climbed to the 83rd floor. Over the years, countless geniuses have pushed themselves to the absolute limit to level up, only to end up exhausted and losing their lives inside the trial tower. Qin Shanhai nodded in agreement. After all, once you've climbed 70 or 80 floors, you're so close to the final reward of the trial. Who could possibly give up easily? The principal pointed at the leaderboard, his face full of anticipation, and said, "But Lu Fan, that kid could very well be the first person to complete all 100 floors of the trial tower." The principal of the #1 high school, let's just call him the Bald Principal, replied out of jealousy, "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Although those bosses are weaker than their original versions in the secret realms, don't forget how difficult the 99th floor is." He hadn't even finished his sentence when someone cut him off. "Look, Lu Fan, he's already at the 99th floor." All eyes were once again fixed on Lu Fan. Lu Fan strode into a ruined palace where 4 headless suits of armor stood imposingly, in 2 rows around the throne. Just then, the candles on the walls flared to life, and the suits of armor began to emit a strange blue glow and started to move, chanting incessantly, "Annihilate, annihilate the world! Headless Knight, level 55. Annihilation, pierce. When the Knight's attack hits a target, it applies a piercing effect, causing the opponent to take an additional 400% damage. Annihilation, counter. When a Knight is injured, the Knight's sword will trigger a counterattack. Annihilation, thunder. The Knight's dual swords will be imbued with a lightning effect, increasing attack speed and adding lightning damage. Annihilation, slash. When the target's HP drops below 15%, the knight will lock on and instantly eliminate the target. Annihilation, Pact. The four knights share HP and defense with each other, with a 400% increase effect. The Headless Knights are from the Fallen Kingdom, a very famous secret realm. All secret realms originate from real historical events. Just like Zheng Village, the Fallen Kingdom was the result of a nation being invaded by the Undead Legion. Lu Fan thought to himself while facing the four knights. "Intruder! Be slain!" A knight shouted, then used the skill Annihilation, slash, locking onto Lu Fan, and swung its axe down. Lu Fan quickly dodged, but was still pushed back a great distance by the aftershock of the attack. Shared HP? If so, then a concentrated attack is probably the best option. In this situation, since I don't have any crowd control skills, I can only deal with all four of them at once. Having formulated a plan, Lu Fan immediately took action. He leaped high into the air, preparing for his first counterattack. One of the knights used the skill Annihilation, Pierce, to counter him, but Lu Fan gracefully dodged it and unleashed a powerful slash. What made Lu Fan surprised was that his slash couldn't even penetrate the knight's armor. While he was focused on thinking of a new strategy, another knight suddenly appeared behind him, swinging a sword toward him. Lu Fan quickly spun around to block the knight's attack. Just as the knight was activating a counter skill to respond, Lu Fan shouted, "Now, Xiao Ye!" Xiao Ye appeared like a god and blew away the entire castle and the four knights. Just when they thought it was over, the knights revived and charged at Lu Fan like moths to a flame. Lu Fan once again leaped into the air to dodge. "I can't waste any more time. I have to get to the 100th floor as soon as possible." With that thought, Lu Fan ordered Xiao Ye to use the Molten Flame skill to incinerate the knights in an instant. Lu Fan reached level 20, the Black Dragon reached level 15, and it learned a new skill, Great Cataclysm. As expected of Xiao Ye, it learned a new skill again. "There's only one floor left now," Lu Fan said excitedly, as the gate to the next floor of the tower opened. "The door to the final floor of the trial tower has opened." Qin Shanhai saw the bald principal standing there dumbfounded and chuckled. "Looks like we're going to witness history in the making today. The 100th floor. Could it be?" Principal Bai looked at the screen with fear. That place was fundamentally designed to be unbeatable for any contestant. Lu Fan continued his journey to conquer the trial tower. As soon as he stepped through the gate, he and Xiao Ye were enveloped by a dark aura. Watching the sword in his hand slowly disintegrate, Lu Fan looked ahead cautiously. So this is the 100th floor, a complete secret realm of a fallen kingdom, an undead legion of over 500, the level 60 world-ending emperor, a boss, nightmare difficulty. Lu Fan immediately began preparing for the battle, starting by checking the information on Xiao Ye's new skill. Great Cataclysm. It deals damage in 3 stages, causing the area the Black Dragon flies over to explode, dealing massive damage with a burn effect, and finally charging at the target to inflict a huge amount of damage and exploding once more. Xiao Ye has always maintained its world-ending form. I should also test its destruction form and the new skills. With that thought, Lu Fan said to Xiao Ye, "This is the last floor. Let's go get our reward together." Xiao Ye let out a roar in agreement. Lu Fan materialized a sword, pointed it at the boss, and shouted, "Xiao Ye, switch to Destruction Dragon form." At that moment, Xiao Ye's entire body erupted in scorching flames, and its strength and spirit stats skyrocketed to unimaginable levels. Witnessing this scene, the judges were utterly stunned. There's a third form? Those flames. Lu Fan still had a hidden card. "Protect the king, all troops, charge!" At the Headless Knight's command, the Undead Legion let out a battle cry and charged forward in unison. Lu Fan and Xiao Ye didn't hesitate to meet them head-on. As the two sides clashed directly, Lu Fan signaled for Xiao Ye to use the Great Cataclysm skill, continuously breathing fire upon the Undead Legion, causing their numbers to plummet. The terrifying sight left the judges horrified. Is this really something a student can master? The Undead Legion was nearly wiped out. While Xiao Ye was giving the Undead Legion a beatdown, Lu Fan charged towards the boss. "You arrogant fool! In the presence of the king, you should be kneeling!" With those words, the Headless Knights leaped forward to ambush Lu Fan. Lu Fan dashed to the side to dodge and shouted, "Xiao Ye, get over here!" Xiao Ye used the 3rd stage of Great Cataclysm, causing an explosion with a burn effect at its destination. It successfully wiped out the 4 Headless Knights, leaving those watching on the screen in awe. The 4 horsemen were instantly one-shot. This showed that even the hardest floor of the trial was not enough to gauge Lu Fan's true strength. 9,800,000 points. For the past 30 years, no one had even broken 1 million. Just one more step, and Lu Fan could actually claim the exam's prize. Moreover, this year's exam was the most difficult, so the reward would surely not be stingy. At the very least, there would be 3 rare items. Inside the trial tower, the entire Undead Legion had been annihilated by Lu Fan and Xiao Ye. Now, Lu Fan, sword in hand, slowly approached the boss. I've already cleaned up all the minions. Aren't you going to show yourself, you wimpy final boss? You foolish brute, the world-ending emperor said angrily, before furiously charging straight at Lu Fan. Lu Fan used Dragon Claw combined with Dragon Blood armor to block a strike from the world-ending emperor, while simultaneously ordering Xiao Ye to use the Scorch All Creation skill, creating a fire vortex to damage the boss. The world-ending emperor temporarily retreated to dodge. At that moment, he realized his hand was bleeding uncontrollably and he couldn't use his power. It turned out that besides the physical attack, Lu Fan had also used the skill of the Ring of Grievance. It can be used on any target to harvest grievance energy. When the accumulated grievance value reaches a certain level, attacks on the target will also apply bleeding, stun, and poison effects to deal with the boss. Despicable. With those words, the world-ending emperor prepared for a second attack, but was once again intercepted by Xiao Ye, this time with the second stage of Scorch All Creation, which had far greater destructive power than the first stage. While the world-ending emperor was distracted, Lu Fan moved as fast as lightning and delivered a fatal stab to his chest, officially finishing off the boss. Xiao Ye then leveled up to level 17, and Lu Fan leveled up to 22, with the entire Undead Legion wiped out. In the observation room, the judges were horrified by what they saw. 1,000,000 points, the 100th floor, a stage that no one has passed in 30 years, yet Lu Fan cleared it so quickly. The exam is over. Let's go home. Are you already thinking about what I'm going to cook? Lu Fan said cheerfully. He said to Xiao Ye. The system then began to announce continuously that he had passed the 100th floor. Congratulations to contestant Lu Fan for successfully clearing the Southern Province's Nightmare level trial. Reward. Skill book. Rage of the Ice Dragon King. Of the Ice Dragon King, rare grade. Class requirement, Dragon Tamer, Dragon Language Mage. Level requirement, 20. Upon use, you will learn the magic skill, Rage of the Ice Dragon King. The Rage of the Ice. Dragon King unleashes a blast of cold air within a target area, dealing damage accompanied by slow and freeze effects. The duration, damage amount, and range of the effect vary depending on the continuous casting time. Spirit Wind Ring, rare grade. Level requirement, 20. Agility plus 77, Stamina plus 35, Spirit plus 32. The wearer receives the blessing of the Spirit Wind, increasing agility by 35%. Flame Bone Cloak, grade. Legendary. Stamina plus 20, Spirit plus 79, Strength plus 56, Agility plus 54. The heroic Flame Bone reduces incoming fire and ice type damage by 30% and debuff effects by 50%, while increasing the ice and fire type damage dealt by the user and their pet. I thought I wouldn't get a crowd control skill until level 30 during my second class advancement. This means I can now coordinate with Xiao Ye's skills. An agility ring. It's a shame Xiao Ye doesn't get the bonus effect, but it's still a huge help for me. And a legendary grade cloak with Xiao Ye's Destroyer Dragon form, which has an ice attribute for damage reduction, and now a fire attribute for a damage boost. Amazing. After collecting his rewards, Lu Fan recalled Xiao Ye and then confidently strode out of the secret realm. The moment he stepped outside, Lu Fan was greeted by a warm welcome from the examiners, especially Principal Bai. He rushed over with an excited expression and exclaimed, "How is this kid so damn good? Top scorer, you are the pride of our school. From now on, your picture will be hung forever on our school's wall of fame." Hearing this, the principal of number 1 high school retorted sarcastically, "Oh, really? The wall of fame is filled with heroes who sacrificed their lives while fighting against invading beasts. Are you trying to jinx the kid? Get out of here. If you're going to curse someone, curse yourself." Lu Fan broke the competition's record. His future is bound to be unimaginable. Qin Shanhai stepped forward and said, "In any case, this competition has truly allowed Lu Fan to showcase his full potential. Lu Fan, even though I had mentally prepared myself for this competition, you still managed to astound me completely. Uncle Qin, I've met the condition. I assume that Princess from the Tai Chi Kingdom won't be coming to cause a scene anymore, right?" Qin Shanhai smiled and replied, "Of course, I will honor our agreement. Your reward will be arriving soon." Lu Fan looked puzzled and asked, "Don't worry about that. The important thing now is for you to think about which university you're going to choose." The two principals chimed in. "That's right. All 10 universities will be fighting tooth and nail for you, and all the business tycoons in the southern province will definitely be looking for a chance to build connections with you, so be careful around them. Where's the dragon? Hurry up and summon it so we can have a look. Are you insane? You'd destroy the whole school. Congratulations, Lu Fan. With this amazing score, for at least the next 50 years, no one will be able to break your record." Qian Xiong watched the lively discussion before quietly slipping away. Meanwhile, in an unexplored region on the border of the Northern Dragon Nation, a level 60 zone, the Marquis of Zhenbei, Tu Jing, was drinking wine while watching Lu Fan's trial when a subordinate entered to report. Did you find the evidence? It's all in here, sir. We can confirm that Qin Shanhai's suspicions, your disciple's suspicions, were correct. Through his conversation with Special Envoy Qian Xiong, Qin Shanhai deduced that Lord Ruan Changfeng, a high-ranking leader in Dragon Capital, is colluding with the Jin family of the Taichi Kingdom. Our investigation revealed that Princess Jinju's study abroad program, along with her bringing a dragon tamer, was all approved by Lord Ruan. Tu Jing angrily slammed the wine bottle down on the table. Ruan Changfeng, so it really was him. On the surface, the Jin family and Lord Ruan maintain diplomatic relations between our two nations, but secretly, Lord Ruan has been granting the Jin family numerous special privileges, and the Jin family in return has given him many benefits in return. No wonder he sent a special envoy to capture the dragon tamer. The wine bottle shattered from the force of the slam. Ruan Changfeng, that traitorous bastard, daring to help the princess of the Taichi Kingdom run rampant in our dragon nation. Go and deliver this message to Ruan Changfeng. I am stripping him of all his titles and authority. From this moment on, there is no longer a place for him in the leadership of Dragon Capital. Go at once. If he has any objections, tell him to come and see me personally. And as for the Jin family, if they still try to contact Ruan Changfeng, send a diplomatic delegation to pay them a visit. Yes, sir, there is one. More thing. Pay attention to which university this dragon tamer chooses, and contact the principal in advance to ensure he is provided with the best possible resources. Tu Jing ordered, thinking to himself, for the dragon nation to have such a young legend is truly exhilarating. Excellent. Truly excellent. Once my mission is complete, I must go and meet this young man. The only question is, when will my mission ever be over? A few minutes later, when Princess Jinzu heard that Ruan Changfeng had been stripped of his position by the Marquis of Zhenbei, she flew into a rage, forcing her subordinate to try and calm her down. Your Highness, please calm your anger. We also have some good news. What good news could you possibly have? Without him, how are we supposed to capture that dragon tamer? Your Highness, there's no need to waste your precious time on him any longer. The day the trial results are announced is approaching. We discovered that among the participants, besides Lu Fan from Jianghai City, there is another dragon tamer from Qingzhou City. Jinzu was surprised at first, but then a sinister smile spread across her face. Now that is good news. Let's hope this one is a bit more cooperative. Congratulations to contestant Hong Yu. Completed the Nam Tin Province's Nightmare Level Trial, Floor 72, with 89,250 points. Hong Vu excitedly stepped out of the secret realm, imagining he would become this year's top scorer and be welcomed by the examiners, including his own principal, with a warm reception. As soon as he saw the principal, Hong Vu proactively went over to greet him. Oh, Hong Vu, you've finished the exam? Hong Vu replied humbly, yes, but I only managed to get 89,000 points. I'm not sure if that's enough to be the top scorer. Haha, don't worry, a score like that is very good. You can get into any university you want. Although achievements are important, you should always know your limits. You're quite injured, go get treated. The calm reaction and cryptic words from the principal of number 1 high school left Hongvu confused, wondering, what does the principal mean by my score being good? But that's all? What's that supposed to mean? With such a high score, how can the principal be so unfazed? He's probably just telling me not to get arrogant, so he's trying to keep me grounded. At this thought, Hongvu cheered up and quickly replied, I understand, thank you for your guidance. 3 days after the results were announced, the moment Luke Pham stepped out of his house, a crowd of people from businessmen to university representatives were pushing and shoving to give gifts and connect with Luke Pham. While Luke Pham was still overwhelmed, Tan Sun Hai approached him with a smile and said, Today is the day. The results are announced, so everyone knows you're number 1. Huh. It's too noisy out here. Let's go inside first, Han Ka shyly suggested. Luke Pham tried to check his score online, only to find that his score wasn't published. While he was wondering why, Tan Sun Hai began to present the awards. This is 50 million in cash, the reward from Gyeonghai City for the top scorer of Nam Tin Province. Go on and take it. Besides the cash, there's also a reward from Principal Bak for you. Tan Sun Hai opened the item chest, and information about the items immediately appeared before Luke Pham. A skill book. Roar of the Blue Dragon King, rare class requirement, Dragon Tamer, Dragon Language Mage, level requirement, 20. Upon use, you will learn the magic skill Roar of the Blue Dragon King. Roar of the Blue Dragon King unleashes a bolt of lightning forward, dealing massive damage with a paralysis effect. After attacking, it grants 20 stacks of the lightning attribute. Each attack consumes 1 stack and has a 20% chance to paralyze the target. Lightning Potion, legendary. A consumable item that upon use permanently increases the power of lightning skills by 20% and resistance to the lightning attribute. A Dragon Language Magic Book. and even a lightning potion to make this skill stronger. After ice magic, now I have lightning magic too, which means I won't have to rely solely on little Yi for magic damage anymore. Qingfeng armor, rare, level requirement 20, strength plus 70, stamina plus 46. Qingfeng's touch reduces damage the wearer receives from debuff effects by 30%. Shanling boots, legendary, level requirement 20, strength plus 68, stamina plus 54. Shanling leap. Upon activation, teleport to any location within 50 meters. Cooldown, 30 seconds. A mobility and damage reduction ability. None of the other students who just took the exam could possibly have equipment like this. If I equip all of it, my stats will be almost on par with little Ye's right after she hatched. Principal Bach chose these items very carefully, especially these Shanling boots with their flash ability. Tansun Hai explained, that's a skill mages only get after their second job advancement. Then I'll gladly accept. Luke Pham accepted the items. Just then, Tanthu rushed in with news. Luke Pham, Sister Han, the representatives from the 10 top universities have arrived in Jianghai, and my father invited them to our house, so I've come to pick you up for the interviews. So soon? The results were just announced, Tan Son Hai explained. For a talent like you, they have to be quick. They came right after watching the video of your trial. Performance. I've already arranged to have your video and test score classified. Other than the 10 universities and the higher-ups in Longdo, no one else can see them. You're too special, and if another princess like the last one shows up, it would be a huge problem. Regarding the Kim Chow affair, I've handled it, and that person is very eager to meet you. Luke Pham replied excitedly, that's great. I also want to meet and thank him. Tan Son Hai smiled and patted Luke Pham's shoulder. Not just yet. He's currently on a mission, but don't worry, you two will meet eventually. At that moment, Tanthu handed a card to Luke Pham. I originally came to thank you last time, but unfortunately, we ran into Kim Chow. I can't take this. We only agreed on 100,000. You know, this card is for 10 million. Tan Son Hai chimed in. This is a token of the Tan family's gratitude for saving Little Thu's squad in Ai Dong village. Just accept it. Seeing Luke Pham still hesitating, Tan Son Hai laughed heartily and said, tonight, someone is planning to take you two to the Gyeongsun Garden. If you can't even accept this card, what will you do when you see the villa that the province is gifting to its top scorer? Dad, stop teasing him. Tanthu stepped in to defend Luke Pham, then quickly pulled his hand to go meet the university representatives waiting at her home. Elsewhere, Thoi Hoan Tai took Princess Kim Shao to a forest on the outskirts of Thonshao City, Dragon Kingdom, to meet the dragon tamer they were targeting. What's his level? Level 19. And his armored dragon is level 14. Kim Chow watched Tran Thien Chi and his armored dragon up ahead with keen interest. Dragon tamers really are on another level. He's already fighting a level 30 boss. The boss, which was absolutely enormous, charged furiously at Tran Thien Chi. Tran Thien Chi commanded his young armored dragon to swing its tail powerfully, dealing damage to all targets in its path. As for him, using the Dragon Spear Strike skill, he channeled his dragon energy into an extremely powerful attack, delivering a fatal blow that sent the boss straight to the underworld. Thanks to that, Tran Thien Chi reached level 20, and Tu Chu leveled up to 15. Excellent, excellent. You didn't waste the dragon egg I gave you. Kim Chow applauded in praise. Tran Thien Chi bowed his head and replied, I'm glad I did not disappoint you, princess. If you were like this useless bum, then I would be disappointed. With that, Kim Chow turned to Thoi Hoan Tai with a displeased expression. From now on, this spear of yours will be his. Any problem with that, Thoi Hoan Tai? Although Thoi Hoan Tai was reluctant, he had no choice but to answer. This subordinate obeys the princess's command. Tran Thien Chi said gratefully, Thank you, princess. With the dragon armor and the dragon spear, plus the princess's enhancement magic, I will surely defeat the top scorer of Nam Province. Kim Chow was secretly pleased. Tran Thien Chi was ranked second with 210,000 points, while Luke Pham's score wasn't announced, but it was estimated to be around 300,000 points, so Tran Thien Chi still had a chance to win. Luke Pham, you must remember this name until you eliminate him and seize his black dragon. I will help you become the strongest dragon master in history. In the Tai Te Kingdom, you will become my servant, second to only one but above all others. So, when it comes to Luke Pham, do not disappoint me. With a determined gaze, Tran Thien Chi replied, Rest assured, princess. It is my honor. I vow to be your knight forever. Kim Chow replied with satisfaction. You are very perceptive, much more so than that, Luke Pham. I gave him a golden opportunity, yet he was ungrateful. Then, she ordered Thoi Hoan Tai, go to Jianghai, and investigate which academy Luke Pham enrolls in for me. If you can't even do that, then get lost. Yes, ma'am. Thinking of Luke Pham, Kim Chow was filled with hatred and thought to herself, soon enough, he will. forever regret what he did to me. In the living room of the Tan family's villa, before meeting the academy representatives, Tan Thu asked Luke Pham, "Have you decided which academy you're going to apply to? Because I want to know." "Ah, no, it's because my father wanted me to ask. He said I should apply to the same academy as you, so we can help each other out later." "That's great. I heard that teams are very important, and we've already worked together before. If we're going into a secret dungeon, you'd definitely be my first choice. But I still don't know which academy to choose yet. I'll let you know later." "Ah, okay," Tanthu replied shyly, wondering to herself just how many points Luke Pham had actually scored. If she couldn't catch up to him again, the gap between them would only grow wider. Thinking this, Tanthu said to Luke Pham, "I'll do my best to get into the same academy as you." "Yeah, okay." Luke Pham smiled and replied, then pushed the door open to meet the academy representatives. "Greetings, teachers. My name is Luke Pham." Before he could even finish his introduction, a man cut him off. "Luke Pham, right? We've all seen the video of your trial. It was incredible. The first dragon master in history to have a dragon. I wonder if the top scorer of Nam province has an academy in mind yet?" a female teacher asked. The man from before said with a displeased look, "There's no need to ask what he likes. Jiang Nam Academy will give you all sorts of benefits. A scholarship worth 10 million dragon coins a year, and all potions, secret dungeons, and other resources will be provided for free." The female teacher then taunted, "Hey, everyone sitting here represents the top academies in the Dragon Kingdom. You dare come here to compete for the top scorer with just that?" In addition to what Gyeongnam Academy can offer, Bakkan Academy will give you an extra 20 million a year and access to 20 secret dungeons that aren't open to the public. The other man, not to be outdone, said, "What Bakkan can offer, you think we can't? We can provide all that, and we'll even throw in access to a dungeon of opportunity." The female teacher was no pushover either, and immediately raised the stakes. "The terms are negotiable. If he's not satisfied, we will offer more." Luke Pham watched this bickering scene, a bit bewildered, not expecting the interview to be like this. Good grief, now I really don't know which academy to choose. Just then, Kohan, the representative from Longdo Academy, spoke up. "This year's participant for the national trial will be selected by Longdo. Luke Pham, we can give you this spot." The man was stunned when he heard this. "Really? Look, he's strong, but he just had his class change. How could he possibly be qualified enough for the national trial? The previous participants all went through rigorous selections. The other nations are already fully prepared, and he's just now finding out about it, making an internal decision to hand something so important to a freshman. Are you treating the national trial like a joke?" Kohan ignored these comments and continued to negotiate with Luke Pham. The national trial is a super-secret dungeon jointly established by 23 nations around the world. Once every 3 years, each nation sends one contestant under the age of 25 to represent their country in the national trial. To ensure the stability of the secret dungeon, the contestants must be newcomers. National-level experts are not allowed to participate. This is a competition that the whole world watches, and the prizes are some of the rarest treasures in existence. The female teacher and the man who had been squabbling earlier now joined forces to criticize Kohan. "Even if you were to give him a spot, it should be for the next one. This year's competition starts in just 6 months. Don't you think what you're doing is incredibly reckless?" Kohan stated firmly. "The one who passes the national trial will earn the right to become a national-level master, an opportunity to go from being number 1 in Nam province to number 1 in the Dragon Kingdom. Dragon Capital can give you this opportunity." The national trial not only offers rich rewards, but also a chance to join the ranks of the powerful. While Lu Fan was pondering this, the system suddenly announced, "Lu Fan, congratulations! Today's treasure map has been sent to you." This was his second God-tier treasure map after a very long time. The treasure map from the first God-tier map led him to the Black Dragon Egg, which meant this time, Lu Fan saw that the map pointed to the Dragon Capital Academy, so he didn't hesitate to accept Gu He's invitation to enroll in the Dragon Capital Academy, but with one condition. "I want an admission application for Han Kei. Her class is Charm Chef, a very rare hidden class." Guhan thought for a moment and replied, "All right, but whether she'll be accepted or not is something we'll have to decide after a meeting." So, 4 days later, Lu Fan and Han Kei packed their bags to head to the Dragon Capital Academy. "I can't believe the day has come for us to leave this place. We've lived here for so long, it makes me a little sad to go. We have a villa and savings now. We can live wherever we want. You don't need to feel regretful," Lu Fan comforted her. Han Kei said nostalgically, "I still remember when we first moved here. You were only this big. Time really flies." Just then, Qin Chu and Tao Xiaoman drove up in a supercar to take Lu Fan and his aunt to the Qin family's private jet for the flight to Dragon Capital Academy. "Did Tao Zi apply to Dragon Capital too?" Lu Fan asked with a smile. Tao Xiaoman answered honestly, "My score was the same as Xiao Qiu's. And since she applied to Dragon Capital because of you, I. Before she could finish, Chin Chu shut her up. I'm really troubling you kids. I never expected Xiao Fan would. Back when I got my class, I dreamed of going to college like everyone else. I really wanted to start over again. Xiao Fan was still very young then. I can't believe he still remembered this. All this time. As she said this, Han Kei's eyes welled up with tears. Lu Fan hugged his aunt to comfort her. His young aunt had always worked so hard for him, and he remembered clearly how disappointed and unwilling she was when she became Shou, a life class professional. That's why he was determined to fulfill his promise to give them both a better life. This was just the beginning. With everything settled, the four of them immediately set off for Dragon Capital. A few hours later, while everyone was admiring the bustling scenery outside Dragon Capital Academy, they happened to run into the spoiled princess, Jin Zhu, who was also here to enroll. As soon as she stepped out of the car, she started complaining as usual. So this is Dragon Country. The capital is just so-so. Lu Fan, a subordinate exclaimed in surprise. So the Dragon Master from Jianghai is him? That saves us the trouble of looking for him. Heh, Chen Tianji said as he was about to rush forward for a bloody duel with Lu Fan, but Jinju stopped him. We don't have Nguyen Trong Fong's support right now. If we fight here, we'll be deported back to our country. Just calm down. I understand. My apologies, princess. On Lu Fan's side, Jinzu's appearance made them all worried. What do we do now? I remember my dad saying she was coming to Dragon Country to study abroad. Could it be at Dragon Capital Academy? Xiao Fan. Just then, Gu Han appeared with a bright smile and said, You two arrived at the same time? Come on, in. Seeing Lu Fan's confused expression, Gu Han seemed surprised and said, Don't you two know each other? You're number 1 and number 2 from Nan Province, and you're both Dragon Masters, so we call you the Twin Stars of Nan Province. Chen Tianji, number 2 of Nan Province, also a Dragon Master. Lu Fan stared at Chen Tianji assessingly, while Chen Tianji looked back at Lu Fan with hostility and said, I've heard so much about you. And now I finally get to meet you, Lu Fan. Miss Gu, I guess I'm acquainted with these two now, but we're all tired from the long journey. Could you show us to our rooms to rest first? Hearing Lu Fan say this, Gu Han replied, Then let me show everyone to their accommodations. If you're not satisfied with anything, you can change it. I'll also take this chance to tell you about the freshman orientation tomorrow that you'll have to attend. We'll go by ourselves, Jinzu replied haughtily, and quickly left with her 2 subordinates. Gu Han led the group to the villa area and introduced it. This is the villa area for the top-ranked freshmen. There are 30 villas in total. Each year, the instructors review the trial exam videos to evaluate and rank the new students. Those who rank in the top 30 get to live in the villa area. Among the top-ranked students, Lu Fan is number 1, so villa number 1 will be his. As for Chen Tianji, the number 2 from Nan Province, he's ranked 18th overall, so his place is villa number 18, Chen Tianji. It seems he accepted Jinzu's conditions. To think that someone who sold his pride is being called one of the twin stars with me, how ridiculous, Chin Chu then asked curiously. Miss Gu, Taozi's and my results probably aren't in the top 30, right? Does that mean we have to go register at the student dorms? That's right, Chin Chu, Tao Xiao. Man, Han Kei, I'll take the 3 of you to the dormitory area later, but in every aspect, the villa area is obviously much better. Then can we live with Lu Fan? The suggestion from Han Kei made the 2 girls' jaws drop in surprise. Gu Han thought for a moment and replied, There are no rules against it, as long as the person living there has no objections. Xiao Fan definitely has no objections, right? Don't you want to eat your little aunt's cooking? Lu Fan, of course, had no objections and agreed instantly. Han Kei then happily linked arms with Qin Chu and Xiao Tao. The boy has no objections, so we'll all live together. It's a good chance to bond and strengthen our ties, which will make it more convenient when we team up for dungeons later. A lot. While Xiao Tao was feeling awkward about this, Lu Fan said, You guys should stay here with my little aunt. The dorms are pretty far away anyway, and if I need to find you later, I won't have to cross half the campus. Xiao Tao shrugged and replied, All right, if Xiao Chu stays, I'll stay too. The conditions here are much better anyway. Okay, Jin Chu shyly agreed. Awesome. Then from now on, Xiao Chu can try my cooking too. While Qin Chu was being smothered by Han Ka, Xiao Tao walked over and whispered to Lu Fan, We can live together, but don't you get any ideas about Xiao Chu. I'll be watching you. Just then, a notification suddenly popped up in Lu Fan's system. You have approached the location on the map. Huh? The treasure is in the villa behind me. After reading the notification, Lu Fan immediately asked Gu Han, Miss Gu, who does villa number 2 belong to? I'm only in charge of Nan Province, so I'm not familiar with the candidates from other regions, but it seems there's only a single girl in villa number 2. Lu Fan then told Han Ka, Qin Chu, and Xiao Tao to head to their place first, while he made an excuse to greet the neighbor and investigate villa number 2. Upon hearing this, Han Ka handed Lu Fan a cake, secretly pleased. The moment he heard it was a girl, He wanted to go meet her. Little Fan is finally growing up. Xiao Tao, however, thought with contempt, he's already living with the three of us and he still wants to go flirt with the neighbor. I really underestimated you. Ringing the doorbell of Villa number 2, Lu Fan felt a bit nervous, wondering if his new neighbor would like the cake his little aunt made and hoping she would invite him inside. We all just arrived, so I have to get the treasure before my neighbor discovers it. A moment later, a girl answered the door as expected. Lu Fan smiled and introduced himself. Hi, I'm Lu Fan from number 1. I'm from Jianghai City in Nan Province. This is a small welcome gift. Since we'll be neighbors, I hope we can get along. Exquisite pumpkin cake. Food item. First-time consumption permanently increases agility by 3 points. After inspecting the gift box for anything unusual, the girl finally took it, replying coldly, Yunbei Province, Jianying. Her voice is cute, but she's so hard to talk to. Thinking to himself, Lu Fan made up an excuse. Well, Jianying, could I come in and sit for a moment? I'm a bit thirsty and would love a cup of tea. Despite the incredibly lame excuse, Jianying didn't object and just nodded. As soon as she opened the door, Lu Fan shot inside. At the speed of light, then followed the system's directions to the bedroom, and finally found the treasure in a secret compartment inside the bathroom, a place Jianying had never been. It really is the second egg. Lu Fan quickly hid the treasure and ran back out. On second thought, I'm not thirsty anymore, so I'll be going now. It was nice meeting you. See you at the opening ceremony tomorrow. With that said, Lu Fan disappeared in a flash. Jian Ying stared after him, bewildered, then noticed that her bedroom door was open, where her dress and underwear were on the bed, and couldn't help but wonder, could he be some kind of perv? That night, at Villa number 1, the dragon egg finally hatched. Jade Dragon Contract, Legend Grade, Level 1. Strength 122, Agility 153, Spirit 659, Stamina 216, Fountain of Life. Uses the Fountain of Life on all friendly targets, granting continuous health regeneration. Jade Light creates 3 layers of a Jade Blessing on a target, removing debuffs and increasing all stats by 30%. Each layer of the blessing can block 1 instance of damage. Natural Assimilation can devour equipment and absorb its characteristic skills. Jade Dragon Bloodline doubles all skill effects for the dragon race, and those with a bloodline connection, provides immunity to all debuffs, and increases self-regeneration by 5,000%. Blood Pact connects the bloodline, adding 10% of the dragon pet's stats to the dragon tamer. It turns out the Jade Dragon isn't a combat type. With over 600 spirit, it's obviously a support type. Doubling means all the effects on myself and Xiao Ye will be doubled. During the trial, thanks to the 30% buff from the dragon's encouragement, Xiao Ye's spirit stats surpassed 7,000 when she unleashed the Great Cataclysm. If I now add the doubling effect of Jade Light, that's a 60% increase in stats. That means her stats would be nearly 12,000. The Jade Dragon can even devour equipment effects and make them its own. So if it levels up or devours more equipment in the future, I can't even imagine how strong it will become. But for now, there's one important matter I need to consider carefully. What should I name you? Lu Fan looked away from the screen and saw the Jade Dragon and Xiao Ye trading blows. You two, stop it! Lu Fan rushed over to separate the 2 little rascals and lifted the Jade Dragon. After a moment of thought, he said, I'll call you Xiao Fei. Haha, Xiao Fei is a great name. You'll be Xiao Ye's little sister from now on. Oui, oui? Xiao Fei cried out happily. Xiao Ye, on the other hand, didn't seem happy about it and cried out in protest. The 2 little devils started growling at each other again, making Lu Fan yell, Quiet! You'll wake everybody up! The next day was the school's opening ceremony. Since the lifestyle classes and the combat classes had separate orientations, Han Ka had to part ways with Lu Fan, Qin Chu, and Xiao Tao for a while. Hey, Lu Fan, why was your room so noisy last night? That's because Lu Fan was about to explain but got distracted by the surrounding male students fawning over Qin Chu and Xiao Tao's looks. They're gorgeous, either of them could be the campus queen. If I got to enter a secret realm with beauties like them, I could die in there and it would be worth it. Dream on about being their boyfriend. Can't you see that male specimen walking with her? But there are 2 of them, and they can't both be that guy's girlfriends. Qin Chu became embarrassed by the gossip and quickly hurried into the auditorium. Yesterday I asked Miss Gu, and she said that hidden classes have to sit in the front row. Qin Chu said apologetically to Xiao Tao while walking to the front with Lu Fan. So I can't sit with you, Xiao Chu? Then I'll just sit in the back. As Lu Fan was walking, he saw Hong Yu and found him vaguely familiar. That guy looks so familiar. Oh, I remember now. He's that noisy Qigong master from the trial exam. Seeing Hong Yu was also looking at him, Lu Fan gave a friendly smile and walked past him to sit in the front row. A guy like you actually thought you were the top scorer. Go check the list and see how far apart you and Lu Fan are. Remembering the dean's words and condescending gaze made Hong Yu grit his teeth in anger. Lu Fan, I've finally found you. You're the bastard who made me lose all face. In front of the dean, Lu Fan walked to the front row and saw that Jian Ying was already there, so he took the initiative to greet her. Hearing this, Qin Chu asked in surprise, Lu Fan, do you two know each other? I guess so. She's Jian Ying, our neighbor from Villa number 2. Oh, so that means she's the one with the second highest overall score, right? She's so beautiful and talented. Qin Chu couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. A moment later, Vice Dean Zhao Shengming, a level 78 combat class, Lightning Mage, began his opening speech. I am the Vice Dean of Longdu Academy, a professor at the Magic Academy, Zhao Shengming. First, on behalf of Longdu Academy, I welcome all you freshmen. I'm not one for empty formalities, so next, the instructors will hand out your ID cards while I go over some of the Academy's regulations. The ID card being distributed is your proof of enrollment at Longdu Academy. It is used to store credit points. These points are considered currency within the Academy. To enter secret realms provided by the school or to purchase items like weapons and ammunition, you'll need credit points, and your initial number of credit points is based on your score from the recent trial exam. At this moment, a young man raised his hand to speak. Excuse me, Vice Dean, the difficulty of the exam varies by province. This means that provinces with lower difficulty will get more credit points, which doesn't seem fair. The Academy has already considered what you've mentioned, so credit points will be calculated by taking your exam score and dividing it by a difficulty coefficient calculated based on the differences in each province's exam. The higher the exam's difficulty, the smaller the coefficient. For example, this year's exam in Nan Province was the most difficult, so students from Nan Province will divide their scores by the lowest coefficient, which is 96. Lu Fan looked at his credit points, 13,539, and thought to himself, so this number is all the capital I have at Longdu Academy, but these credit points are only temporary, because your points will be redetermined in the freshman assessment exam 1 month from now. The top 30 students with the highest scores will be eligible to enter the Qingyun class. Those who enter the Qingyun class will receive many special privileges, such as being able to register for closed-off secret realms, exchange for desired skills and equipment, or the right to move into the villa area. The Qingyun class. This is the first I've heard of it. Me too. So, does that mean we'll have a chance to move into the villa area? Hearing the two young men behind him, Lu Fan thought to himself, this means that with my number 1 rank, I'm currently eligible for the Qingyun class, but if I lose this eligibility, I'll have to move out of villa number 1. I understand that all of you want to get into the Qingyun class, but I must warn you first. Just because you get into the Qingyun class doesn't mean you're safe, because any student can challenge a class member for their spot in the Qingyun class through a challenge. Only if that member wins can they keep their spot. If the member loses, the challenger will enter the Qingyun class, and members of the class cannot refuse a challenge. At this point, Zhao Shengming displayed the list of Qingyun class members. Currently, the Qingyun class has 30 members, who are the 30 people with the highest exam scores. The number 1 spot belongs to the top scorer of Nan Province, Dragon Master Lu Fan. Hearing this, Lu Fan immediately stood up and waved to everyone. What? He's number 1. That loser from before. His class is Dragon Master and he's number 1, so he must have a dragon. Keep your voice down, he can hear you. What if he really does have a dragon? We'd be toast. Even just an earth dragon would be terrifying enough. No wonder he became the top scorer of Nan Province. I just searched online, and I can't find any videos or scores for Lu Fan's exam. Could he be some rich kid with connections who got in through his family without any real skill? That's right. I can only find Chen Tianji, the number 2 from Nan Province. Look at this. His dragon is awesome. Chen Tianji, at this moment, quietly asked Jinzhou, Princess, when do you plan to deal with him? We still don't know his true strength. Let's take our time and probe him first. Qin Chu heard the Vice Dean speak and became a little worried. Lu Fan, with the Vice Dean introducing you like that, isn't he just encouraging everyone to challenge you? Lu Fan gave a wry smile and replied, I didn't expect this to be a thing. The assembly ended. Just as Lu Fan was about to head to the secret realm hall to check it out, Hong Yu called out to him and issued a challenge. You want to challenge me? That's right. The Vice Dean already said it. All 30 members of the Qingyun class cannot refuse a challenge. Lu Fan, if you really have the strength to be the top scorer, why wouldn't you dare to face me? Hong Yu scoffed in response, thinking to himself that he couldn't see the video or Lu Fan's exam score. If he was really that capable, it must have been because he summoned a ton of wyverns to pass the exam. In that case, I just need to target him directly to win. Hearing Hong Yu's words, Lu Fan laughed. You're on. I accept your challenge. All right then, I'll bet 200 points. Just 200 points? Oh well, 200 must be a big number for him. Thinking this, Lu Fan smiled slyly and replied, Okay, 200 it is. The friendly match between Lu Fan and Hong Yu immediately became the center of everyone's attention. Jinzhou then reminded Chen Tianji, this is a good opportunity to gauge his strength. You need to pay close attention to Lu Fan's every move. Meanwhile, in another location not too far away, will Lu Fan be able to win? Faced with Xiao Tao's doubt, Qin Chu just smiled and said, you've never seen Lu Fan fight before, have you? You'll find out soon enough. On the makeshift arena, which was the schoolyard, Hong Yu took an offensive stance and said with a confident smile, I'll count down from 3, and then we'll start. 3, 2, 1, begin. As he finished speaking, Hong Yu channeled his internal energy and used the charged Qi strike skill. The strike condensed his Qi, doubling the damage when hitting a weak spot and granting +1 Qi upon a successful hit to attack Lu Fan. But it only hit Lu Fan's afterimage, leaving him stunned. Isn't that the blink skill of a second advancement mage? How does Lu Fan have this move? It turned out Lu Fan had used the boots of the Sly Spirit to blink in an instant, causing Hong Yu's attack to miss. I heard that Qi Masters are good at both offense and defense, capable of fighting at close and long range. Is this really all you've got? Lu Fan's taunt made Hong Yu furious. So he immediately used his ultimate move, Ascending Qi Wave, a skill that fires off Qi waves, increasing damage to weak spots by 5%. Each wave that hits the target grants +1 Qi as he attacked Lu Fan. Ha ha, you're out of options, aren't you? Hong Yu laughed. As long as I keep stopping him from summoning his dragons, the moment he shows an opening, I'll... Just as Hong Yu was gloating to himself, he saw that Lu Fan had dodged all of the Qi waves. He was even preparing to counterattack. So, Hong Yu immediately used his rock-solid skill, consuming all his Qi to create a sturdy defensive barrier. For every point of Qi consumed, the barrier's defense increases by 5% to block attacks. You can't break my rock-solid unless your strength reaches 280 points, Hong Yu thought with certainty, only to meet a bitter end as Lu Fan shattered the barrier and kicked him straight in the stomach, knocking him down. The onlookers were shocked by this scene. He sent him flying with a single kick, without even using a skill. Is the Azure Cloud class that strong? Lu Fan is a dragon tamer, yet he defeated a Qi Master without even summoning his dragons. Is that it? And here I thought we'd get to see some dragons. A young man looked at Hong Yu with concern. He's bleeding. Is he going to be all right? Lu Fan then looked disappointed and said to his opponent, this is just not good enough. I wasn't even using my full strength, and you're already down. In a corner, Jin Zhou asked anxiously, did you see that clearly? What are your chances of defeating him? After hearing Jin Zhou's question, Chen Tianji thought for a moment before answering. Lu Fan still hasn't summoned his dragons. If we're just judging his personal abilities, I'd say I have about a 30% chance, but with the princess's buff, it goes up to 70%. Hearing this, Jin Zhou felt somewhat relieved. That's pretty high. The match ended, and Lu Fan directly took out his ID card to collect the bet. A bet's a bet. Not to mention you were the one who started this, so I'll be taking those 200 points. Longdu Academy ID card, Lu Fan, balance change, plus 200. Current balance, 13,739. Hong Yu stared at the displayed number in horror. 13,739. 1,739 times the Nan province difficulty multiplier of 96. That means his exam score is 1.3 million. Almost 1.3 million points. Even Chen Tianji, who's in second place, only has 21,000 points. Only then did he realize how naive he had been to think he could beat Lu Fan. The fight was over. Qin Chu and Xiao Tao returned to the villa to get Han Ke, while Lu Fan stayed in the Longdu Academy's dungeon lobby to research the secret realms. A short while later, as soon as she arrived, Han Ke rushed over to ask, someone already challenged you? Little Fan, are you all right? Lu Fan smiled and replied, I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry, Auntie. Recalling the earlier scene, Xiao Tao couldn't help but exclaim, Lu Fan sent Hong Yu flying so effortlessly just now. Haha, I told you he was very strong. The first time I met Lu Fan, he was even stronger than Uncle Gigi. If he's already this strong on his own, wouldn't his dragons be even more powerful? I can't even imagine it. Well, dragons were already beyond our imagination to begin with. Everyone's here now. Come take a look at this. I just looked through the dungeons the Academy offers, and this one gives the most experience points, which is perfect for us to level up, Lu Fan said, as he held up a tablet, feeling a bit annoyed. If it weren't for Hong Yu's challenge, Xiao Fei would have already leveled up by now. Poisonous Spider Forest, a dread-level secret realm. Party limit, 5 or more people, entry fee, 45 accumulated points. Han Ke read the dungeon information and couldn't help but feel worried. Even though you kids called me over to make up the numbers, this is a level 45 dungeon, not child's play. If anything goes wrong, we could die. Lu Fan smiled and replied, Don't worry, Auntie. I'm confident I can get everyone through it safely. Even so, including Han Ke, we only have 4 people. But this instance requires at least 5. Lu Fan hadn't considered that yet. Just when he was wondering who to invite, Chin-Chu gestured with her chin towards Sword Shadow, who was sitting not far away. Look, Lufan, the girl from Villa number 2 is here too. Her total score is ranked 2nd, so this level 45 dungeon should be no problem for her at all. You should go and try inviting her. Although Lufan was a bit hesitant, he still followed Chin-Chu's advice and approached Sword Shadow, but before he could even say a word, and merely greeted her, he was met with a disdainful look from Sword Shadow. Crap, this expression clearly shows she's misunderstood me, but I have to admit my actions back when I was looking for the dragon egg were pretty strange. Besides, talking to Sword Shadow is really tough. She'll probably just say yes or get lost. Thinking this, Lu Fan forced his friendliest possible smile and said, I see you're also looking up dungeons. Just like me. So I was wondering if you'd like to join our party? After a moment of silence, Sword Shadow made a disgusted face and said, pervert. Upon hearing that, everyone immediately turned to stare at Lufan with judging eyes. Xiao Fan, my dear Lufan, what on earth did you do to her? A misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding, just from when I greeted her last time. Lu Fan hastily explained, holding up his tablet to show Sword Shadow the dungeon information. I admit, the first time we met was a little weird, but I'm really just a normal guy. I swear, I promise. I saw you were looking for a dungeon too, and I don't really know anyone else. We're just one person short for the poisonous spider forest, so it would be great if we could team up, right? As soon as she heard the name Poisonous Spider Forest, Sword Shadow immediately accepted Lufan's offer. Lufan's party couldn't help but rejoice. Lufan himself let out a sigh of relief and then offered to pay her entrance fee for the dungeon, but Sword Shadow bluntly refused. She then took out her ID card, paid the fee herself, and entered the dungeon. Sword Shadow, Secret Realm, Poisonous Spider Forest, points consumed, 45, remaining balance, 874. Reading Sword Shadow's information, Lufan became thoughtful. She has over 8,000 points. I don't know the difficulty coefficient for Yunbei, but even with the coefficient of 96 from Nan Province, the highest difficulty, Sword Shadow's score would still be over 800,000. She's incredibly strong. One by one, the party members entered the dungeon. The moment they were inside, Hankei couldn't help but cover her nose. Goodness, the air in here smells awful. Lufan looked at the path ahead and said, looks like this is the place. The group followed the path deeper into the forest. Along the way, a curious Xiao Tao asked, Lufan, why did you pick this dungeon? It's level 45 and on dreadful difficulty. I looked through all the options in the dungeon lobby, and none of them had a higher level or offered more experience points than this one. Hearing his answer, Xiao Tao seemed a little flustered. Ah, well, that's not what I meant. Hold on. If we're here to level up, then I definitely have to share these with everyone. Hankei smiled cheerfully and pulled out a huge bag of cookies. Traveler's cookies, perfect quality food. Effect, for 3 hours after eating, increases. Experience points gained by 20%. This is great. With these cookies to help, we'll reach the next level in no time. I found the recipe for these in a blueprint that my life profession instructor gave me. Not many people can craft them. Luckily, my profession gets a buff that provides a very high success rate, so I managed to make them on my first try. Hankei boasted proudly, then walked over to offer Sword Shadow a cookie she had made. Did you also make that cake from before? You mean the pumpkin pie? Yes, I did. If you like it, I can make more for you. Sister Han is an amazing cook, and we live so close to each other, so you're welcome to visit any time, Chin-Chu said with a smile. Sword Shadow was a little surprised at first, but then a smile unconsciously graced her usually ice-cold face. At that very moment, Lufan heard a sound from the nearby bushes and immediately warned his teammates, everyone, be careful, a monster has noticed us. Realizing it had been discovered, the monster stopped hiding and revealed itself. Level 40 Black-Scaled Python, experience, 9,120. Materials, Python's Poison Fang worth 1,745. Poison Fang, a bitten target is afflicted with a stack of poison, and each stack reduces the target's maximum health by 10%. Death Coil, continuously constricts the target, incapacitating them and draining 10% of their health every 5 seconds. The moment she saw the monster, Xiao Tao immediately dashed forward. A panicked Chin-Chu saw this and tried to stop her. Taozi, wait! But Xiao Tao didn't listen and continued her charge, attacking the monster. As a result, her sword strike was like a mosquito trying to bite steel, only serving to enrage the python. The monsters here are all level 40 or higher. They're not something we can defeat easily. I can make some food to boost our resistance, but I'll need to gather the ingredients. No need to go through all that trouble. Lu Fan interjected. You all just focus on the fight. Leave these problems to me. As he spoke, power began to gather in Lu Fan's hand, and Xiao Fei was summoned forth. Xiao Fei's tiny appearance left his teammates bewildered. This was especially true for Xiao Tao, who had never seen Lu Fan's dragon before. This is a great dragon? Stop climbing on my head, you're too playful, Xiao Fei, Lu Fan said dotingly to his pet dragon. That's not Xiao Ye. Does Lu Fan have two dragons? Xiao Fan. Where did this dragon come from? How come I've never seen it before? The python wasn't about to give them time to chat, and seeing Xiao Tao's guard was down, it lunged to attack. Seeing this, Lu Fan immediately commanded Xiao Fei to unleash Jade Light, placing 3 stacks of Jade Blessing on the target, removing all debuffs, and increasing all of their stats by 30%. Each stack of the blessing can block 1 instance of damage. Thanks to the spear, Xiao Tao managed to escape death, but the force of the bite still sent her tumbling backward. Tao Zi, let me heal you. Qin Chu rushed over to Xiao Tao. At that moment, Xiao Tao was startled to realize that the damage had just been nullified. That's right, Lu Fan explained. With Xiao Fei here, everyone can fight without worry. There's absolutely no need to be concerned about debuffs or injuries whatsoever. Xiao Fei removes debuffs, negates damage, and boosts stats, all in one skill. That's even more amazing than a second advancement priest, Xiao Dao chimed in with agreement. The Dragon Clan is truly powerful. A dragon that's small can already negate damage and even boost all of my stats. Suddenly, the python lunged towards Qin Chu and Xiao Tao. Lu Fan was about to charge in to rescue them when a flash of light from behind him shot straight through the monster's head, instantly obliterating it. While everyone was still stunned, the sword shadow behind them recalled his blade and issued a warning. Don't waste any more time. We're being targeted. This was Sword Shadow, a level 21 hidden combat class. A sword master, wielding the blood-breaking sword, an epic grade level 21 weapon, a class. Exclusive to the Swordmaster class, it grants plus 3,947 strength, plus 126 agility, has an armor break effect that ignores 30% of the target's defense, and a swiftness effect that increases sword control speed by 40%. So this is how a Swordmaster attacks. As expected, number 2 is incredibly strong. As Lu Fan was silently admiring Sword Shadow, he noticed his expression suddenly turn grave as he sent his sword flying in another direction. Lu Fan followed the sword's path and spotted a silver-armored spider preparing to attack Han Kei, so he immediately dove and tackled Han Kei out of the way. Unlike the last time, this strike from Sword Shadow only managed to deflect the monster's attack, failing to cause any damage. The system then displayed its information. Silver-armored spider, level 45, experience, 15,750, materials. Silver armor shell, worth 415 gold. Poison fangs, a target hit by the bite contracts 1 stack of poison. Each stack of poison reduces the target's max HP by 10%. Pincer leg pierce, swings its forelimbs to simultaneously pierce through 2 targets. If it fails to hit, the skill reactivates 1 more time. Silver armor, immune to armor-breaking effects. The silver-armored spider let out a shriek, then changed its target to Sword Shadow, attacking with its pincer leg pierce skill, but it kept missing because Sword Shadow was moving too fast. Sword Shadow, watch out! Lu Fan yelled, then charged in and took down the monster with 1 strike. Focus, it's not the only one. What's more, it's not just these spiders. There are black web hunters here too. Sword Shadow simultaneously wielded 2 weapons, the Army Breaker Greatsword and the Frostwater Sword, to deal with the horde of monsters. Army Breaker Greatsword, epic grade, a level 21 weapon exclusive to the Swordmaster class. Its skill, Mountain Shaker, deals 210% physical damage and splashes 21% of that damage to surrounding enemies. Frostwater Sword, exquisite grade, a level 14 weapon exclusive to the Swordmaster class. Its skill, Bone-Chilling Frost, deals ice elemental damage and reduces the target's movement speed by 30%. Black Web Hunter, level 45, experience, points, 39,110. Material, Spider Eye, worth 7,519 dragon coins. Poison Fangs, a target hit by the bite contracts 1 stack of poison. Each stack reduces the target's max HP by 10%. Binding Web, tightly wraps a captured target in a web, and the target will die after 60 seconds. While fighting alongside Sword Shadow, Lu Fan asked curiously, all of your weapons are class-bound. They look really unique. Sword masters can craft their own weapons, and they level up with me right from level 1. But this isn't the time for a sales pitch, Sword Shadow said while dodging an attack from a silver-armored spider, simultaneously using Bone-Chilling Frost to deal ice damage and slow the target's movement speed by 30%. This class is similar to a Dragon Master. One levels up dragons, while the other levels up weapons. As Lu Fan was mulling this over, he spotted a silver-armored spider about to launch a sneak attack on Sword Shadow. So he immediately ordered Xiao Fei to activate Jade Light, while he himself charged forward, with his weapon to block the monster's blow. Having been saved, Sword Shadow immediately used Mountain Shaker, sending the monster straight to Spider Heaven and getting a 30% stat buff. Thanks, Lu Fan replied with a smile, thinking to himself. The Blood-Breaking Sword is for agile armor piercing, the Frostwater Sword is for crowd control, and this last one is for defense and damage buffs. With 3 swords working in harmony, the Swordmaster is truly an all-around class. Just then, Han Kei's scream grabbed the attention of Lu Fan and Sword Shadow. Taozi, protect Sister Han, Qin Qiu shouted to Zhao Tao, as the 3 of them were being surrounded by the spiders. There are still so many. Silver-armored spiders. I'll take care of them. You go find the Black Web Hunter. Lu Fan delegated to Sword Shadow, then ran with Xiao Fei to help Qin Qiu's group. Everyone watch out for the binding web. Skill, if you get caught in it, you could die. Sword Shadow was distracted watching Lu Fan and got hit by a sneak attack, which shattered the 3 layers of armor from Xiao Fei and left her injured. Seeing that Sword Shadow still decided to run off and find the Black Web Hunter, Lu Fan quickly stopped her. Wait, Sword Shadow, you're hurt. Don't charge in there by yourself. Xiao Fei, quick, heal her! Before Lu Fan could even finish, Qin Qiu urged him, Lu Fan, go with Sword Shadow. With the Jade Light, we'll be fine here. All right, I'm counting on you two then. With that, Lu Fan and Xiao Fei took off after Sword Shadow. There you are, let me help. As he spoke, he ordered Xiao Fei to release the Jade Light, creating a phantom shield and buffing Sword Shadow. I can handle this on my own. Sword Shadow had barely finished boasting when she saw the hunter. The Black Web Hunter attacked her with its binding web. Just as Sword Shadow thought she was trapped, Lu Fan dashed in front of her, then activated Dragon Claw, transforming his arm into that of a dragon. With a single slash, it tore right through the net and wounded the monster. Kiem An was stunned by the sight. We're only 1 rank apart, yet his personal attack power is on par with my full-power Mountain Shaker. Let's go together. At Luke Fan's command, the 2 of them synchronized their attacks, while Luke Fan channeled dragon energy through his Dragon Fang halberd, unleashing an incredibly powerful strike boosted by the Ring of the Spirit Wind, which granted its wearer the blessing of the Spirit Wind, increasing agility by 35%. Kiem An used both his Mountain Shaker and Blood-Breaking Sword simultaneously, delivering physical attacks that also shredded armor and increased his sword control speed to finally finish off the monster. The Jade Dragon reached level 3. Awesome, Xiao Fei is already level 3. After clearing this stage, she'll probably even hit level 5. Watching Luke Fan happily petting his beloved dragon, Kiem An felt a strange sensation. Even though there's such a clear difference in our strength, she felt completely at ease. I never thought I'd see the day I'd be treated like the weaker one and be helped like this. Just as Luke Fan was about to say something, Tanthu's group arrived. Luke Fan, Kiem An, we've dealt with the silver-armored spiders. Xiao Fan, did something just level up? Luke Fan didn't rush over to them, instead turning to Kiem An and saying, No, you're very strong, but no matter how strong you are, we would never let a teammate fight alone. Xiao Fan, why don't you use the Jade Light on yourself? I don't need it. Luke Fan, quick, your great dragon can heal, right? Xiao Fei immediately used Spring of Life to restore the entire party's health. Whoa, I feel full of energy. I feel like I could go for another round. Haha, Luke Fan, your head is glowing green. Xiao Fei, maybe you should stop healing this guy next time? Watching Luke Fan's group laughing and joking, Kiem An found herself smiling. It turns out having teammates isn't so bad after all. A few hours later, Xiao Tao stared at the map on her tablet, completely bewildered. The map ends here. Does that mean we've reached the end? But there's still a huge area ahead of us, right, Luke Fan? Luke Fan silently gazed down into the chasm. Tanthu followed Luke Fan's gaze and exclaimed in shock, It looks like this is the boss's lair. At that moment, the system began to display the monster's information. Screaming Spider Matriarch, level 45. 1 net annihilation, spews an extremely sticky spider web, binding all targets within range. Targets die after 60 seconds of continuous binding. Poison Spit, spits a pool of poison. Targets within the area will continuously accumulate poison stacks. Each stack reduces health by 5%. Absorb and regenerate, devours its spider followers. Each one eaten restores 5% of its health. Group Frenzy, causes all of its followers to focus their attacks on a single target, increasing all their stats by 15% for 60 seconds. The Weaver increases its own speed within its web's range. Seeing this, Luke Fan silently assessed the situation. Absorb and Regenerate and Group Frenzy are both skills that affect the other spiders. It seems we'll have to clear out the surrounding mobs first. Meanwhile, seeing Han Ki about to look down into the monster's lair, Tanthu kindly advised her, Sister Han, I don't think you should look down there. Xiao Tao agreed. If you're not a combat class, you probably won't be able to handle it. You can't take it. Then I'll have to learn to take it. You guys are always protecting me. If I can't even stand to look, I'll only be more of a burden during the fight, Han Kei replied resolutely. But as soon as she glanced down at the swarming legion of spiders below, she couldn't hold it in and immediately ran to a nearby tree to be sick. Luke Fan chuckled at the scene. This is what you call a harsh dose of reality, huh? Whether we're approaching or trying to kill the boss, we have to clear out all the surrounding mobs first, Kiem An offered. Xiao Tao tapped on her tablet for a moment, then announced, a previous team left a record of their strategy. Ranged classes pull the small mobs, and once they're all cleared, they approach the boss. It would take at least 4 days to clear them all. Hearing this, Han Kei grew worried. That long? The food I brought is only enough for 1 day. If we cook now, would you guys be willing to eat roasted spider? Tanthu's face turned pale as she replied, no, I don't want to eat spiders. We don't have to. Fight the way others did. As Luke Fan spoke, he summoned Xiao Ye, then ordered it to activate its Destruction Dragon form and use the skill Great Catastrophe 1. The Destruction Dragon causes explosions in the areas it flies over, dealing massive area of effect damage with a burn effect, roasting the little spiders below. Seeing Xiao Ye for the first time, Xiao Tao was terrified. A fire dragon. So this is the Great Dragon you guys were talking about. Even Kiem could feel Xiao Ye's terrifying aura. While everyone was still stunned by Xiao Ye's power, Luke Fan brought out Xiao Fei to the stage. Xiao Fei, let's give Xiao Ye some support, shall we? Xiao Fei let out a cry and simultaneously used 3 skills, Jade Dragon Bloodline, Jade Light, and Dragon's Encouragement to support Xiao Ye, making the dragon even more powerful as it went on a rampage. Luke Fan tasked Tanthu and Xiao Tao with protecting his aunt, then went down with Kiem An to deal with the female spider. Xiao Ye, to my side. Xiao Ye immediately obeyed, using Great Catastrophe 2, diving into the target area to deal massive damage, followed by Great Catastrophe 3, crashing down to cause an explosion that incinerated the area. Around it once more, Kiem An witnessed this and couldn't help but marvel internally. 3 levels of devastating damage. Being this close to the Great Dragon makes me feel like I'm about to be incinerated by the heat wave. The smaller spiders started trying to climb up to escape Xiao Ye's flames. Seeing this, Luke Fan shouted worriedly, Tanthu, are you guys okay? Tanthu and Xiao Tao were already busy dealing with the spiders trying to crawl up. Just replied, you two go fight the boss. Taozi and I will be fine. Only then could Lu Fan approach the boss with Jian Ying, feeling relieved. The boss wasn't about to lie down and wait to die, immediately spitting a toxic fluid toward Lu Fan and Jian Ying. Xiao Fei activated its Jade Light, and while Lu Fan was preoccupied with protecting Jian Ying, the boss shot another spiderweb at him. Fortunately, Lu Fan reacted in time, slashing through the web, but he couldn't avoid getting injured. Taking advantage of this, Lu Fan ordered Xiao Fei to swallow his blood, then had Xiao Ye activate the skill Universal Incineration 1. The destructive dragon flapped its wings, unleashing 4 fiery vortexes that dealt massive damage to the affected targets. He still has other skills. This destructive capability could definitely destroy an entire city, perhaps even a nation. He alone had nearly wiped out the entire spider swarm. Thanks to helping eliminate a massive number of spiderlings, Xiao Fei successfully leveled up, reaching level 5 with its Jade power and acquiring the skill Jade Blessing. Jade Blessing adds 3 layers of Jade Dragon aura to a target, boosting the damage of the next 3 attacks. Just as Lu Fan wanted Xiao Fei to test its new skill, he noticed its body suddenly started to glow, and then the little dragon shifted into a new form. Just like Xiao Ye, Xiao Fei had now obtained a new form and even greater power. The boss lunged forward, attacking with its 2 front legs at Lu Fan and Jian Ying. The moment she received the buff from Xiao Fei's Jade Blessing skill, Jian Ying immediately counterattacked with 3 swords simultaneously. The result was that all 3 swords pierced straight through the boss, much to Jian Ying's surprise. Initially, her blood-breaking sword couldn't even pierce the silver-armored spider's carapace, yet now it went through effortlessly. Jade Blessing didn't just buff her own power. It also added the attributes of the Dragon Clan. Good job, Xiao Fei, already getting a new skill and form at level 5. Lu Fan affectionately patted Xiao Fei's head in praise, silently, thinking that Jian Ying's last attack clearly had Xiao Fei's dragon aura added to it, if he were to use it on Xiao Ye. Just then, the boss attacked again with a spray of venom. Lu Fan dodged, while shouting an order, Xiao Fei, use Jade Blessing on Xiao Ye. After getting the buff, Xiao Ye created a storm of tornadoes that flew straight toward the boss. While the boss was struggling against the scorching flames, Lu Fan, Jian Ying, and Xiao Fei rushed in with a coordinated assault, wiping the boss out. Subsequently, Lu Fan leveled up to 23, Xiao Ye to 18, and Xiao Fei to 7. Jian Ying then couldn't help but ask, Lu Fan, What was your score on the last assessment? Oh, it was around 1,300,000, I believe. Jian Ying was shocked to hear this. With his power, it shouldn't have been just 1,300,000. I couldn't help it. 1,300,000 is the score limit for nightmare difficulty anyway, Lu Fan replied with a smile, then called out loudly, Qin Chu, Tao Zi, bring Auntie down here. At this moment, Jian Ying was a bit pensive, thinking that in terms of score, she was only at half of Lu Fan's, but in terms of strength, the gap between them was enormous and seemed impossible to overcome. In the end, combined with the food buffs from Han Ke, the team was able to clear the dungeon in one run. Not only did everyone level up, but they also obtained materials and rewards. As for Jian Ying, maybe she truly needed a party, or perhaps everyone gave her a feeling she had never experienced before. So, for the first time, the second-ranked Jian Ying agreed to join their party. To celebrate their success, everyone decided to throw a small party at Lu Fan's villa. Hanke cooked many delicious dishes to treat the kids, and the air was filled with joy and laughter. In the days that followed, Lu Fan also gradually settled into Longdu Academy. His days consisted of studying combat theory, and in his free time, he would enter the previous dungeon to level up. In just over half a month, 2 days before the freshman assessment, Lu Fan's party had become much stronger than before. To be specific, Xiaoye reached level 19, Xiaofei level 14, Lu Fan level 25, Taozi level 22, Qin Chu level 22, Hanqi level 18, and Jian Ying and her sword reached level 24. That's a wrap. Taozi, time to unbox. Coming! Taozi excitedly ran over to open the treasure chest and then screamed with excitement. Wow, it finally dropped. After almost a month, they had finally collected the full poison spider set for a swordsman. It was the rare poison spider set, requiring level 20 and the swordsman warrior class. The two-piece set effect gave attacks a chance to shoot a black spider web, which would bind an opponent for 60 seconds. The four-piece effect caused controlled targets to become poisoned, burning 5% of their HP every 5 seconds. Seeing this, Qin Chu shared in the joy. That's awesome. You can definitely improve your rank in the upcoming assessment. Should we stop here for today? It's still early. I'll go prepare dinner, Hanke suggested. Qin Chu cheerfully agreed. Right, there's no need to stay here any longer. The assessment is tomorrow anyway, so we should head back and rest, and prepare for tomorrow. As soon as Lu Fan stepped out of the dungeon, he saw Gu Han waiting for him. Student Lu, please come with me. Vice Principal Zhao has something important he wants to tell you. Something important? And right before the freshman assessment too. Gu Han just smiled and replied, You'll understand when we get there. On the way to the vice principal's office, Lu Fan overheard two students talking. Today, a top student from the Azure Cloud class set a new evaluation score, 73. Hong? Yeah, I already knew. Noticing Lu Fan's confused expression, Gu Han smiled and asked, Are you interested in what they were talking about? Lu Fan replied sheepishly, Lately, I've either been in the classroom or in a dungeon, so it can't be helped that I don't understand what they're saying. It's all because you and that Hong Yu fellow started that score betting challenge. So now everyone is aware that they can earn points through challenges and wagers. We call it the new evaluation method. The freshmen now fight from time to time, and the winner gets more points, while the loser can't even afford to buy food from the school cafeteria. So what's this 73 Hongs they're talking about? It uses the match between you and Hong Vu as a benchmark. Hong Vu's strength is 1 unit, so you're 100 Hongs, and Hong Vu is 1 Hong. Gu Han pointed to Hong Vu, who was mopping the floor not far away. Now he has to do cleaning duties around the school, but at least he can still earn points to get by. A moment later, Gu Han led Lu Fan to the vice principal's office and quickly left. As soon as he saw Lu Fan, Zhao Shengming got straight to the point about the national trial that the academy had mentioned, which has been confirmed to be starting soon. Originally, the national trial was scheduled to be held in Jinyu City of the Tai Chi Kingdom in 5 months, but the host nation shortened the preparation time to just 2 months. The Tai Chi Kingdom also announced they will be sending the eldest son of the Jin family, Jin Chenghan. That guy is expected to reach level 60 in 1 month and complete his 3rd job advancement. Lu Fan speculated that the Tai Chi Kingdom wants to wait until after he completes his 3rd job advancement to start the national trial. Exactly. Most contestants from other nations will have only reached their 2nd job advancement when the trial begins, so the advantage in winning will naturally go to Jin Chenghan. Zhao Shengming slammed his hand on the table in frustration. Lu Fan silently agreed. The gap between the 3rd and 2nd job advancements isn't just about levels, but also the special attributes gained from each job change. The Jin family sure is full of tricks. At that moment, Zhao Shengming continued to speak. For this kind of unfairness to occur despite the Academy's prior promises, I am truly sorry. In 2 months, you will at best only reach level 30 and your second job advancement, yet you'll have to face a group of people over level 50. It could be dangerous to your life. In past national trials, the Dragon Kingdom has always been victorious, so we've always been the most targeted team, and now our preparation time has been shortened even further. Lu Fan, do you still want to participate in the national trial? Contrary to Zhao Shengming's assumption, Lu Fan showed no fear, and even replied with confidence, Vice Principal Zhao, this is my chance to enter the ranks of the Dragon Kingdom's top masters. Of course I want to participate. I don't just want to participate, I want to win. Zhao Shengming stared intently at Lu Fan, as if trying to gauge the credibility of his words. After a moment, he smiled and said, if you've made up your mind, then I will also ensure you have the resources you need. You must do your best in the freshman assessment. The next day, the freshman assessment was held. Zhao Shengming stood on the stage to announce the competition rules. I won't say much, just make sure to follow all the rules. The rules for the assessment will now be announced. Two-person teams will battle on the stage. His words immediately caused a stir among the students. Why is it a team battle? I'm screwed. Haha, I told you, team up with me, I'll carry. You're both support classes, you moron. At this moment, Qin Qiu breathed a sigh of relief. That's great. The requirement isn't more than 5 people, since none of us are combat classes anyway. That's just enough for 2 teams. On the stage, Zhao Shengming continued his speech. I know many of you don't have a concept of teamwork yet, but it's not too late. The preliminary rounds will start this afternoon, and the top 100 teams will be announced tomorrow night. Any team that wants to register now can sign up with the advisor. After the speech ended, the students began to form teams. I'm the number 3 dual swordsman. I've had my eye on you since the freshman assembly. For this assessment, would you team up with me? Well, definitely. A young man trying to act cool made the offer, but before he could finish his sentence, Sword Shadow cut him off. Pass, she said, then walked over to join Lu Fan's group. At that moment, Lu Fan proposed, how about I team up with Qin Qiu and Sword Shadow? Teams up with Tao Zi. The scene then shifts to the next day at the freshman assessment preliminary arena, where Chen Tianji and Jin Zhou have become a powerful duo, winning 28 matches in a row. Our team is now ranked in the top 7. Depending on the next match, do you think we can fight the number 1 team? Jin Zhou smiled and replied, it won't be long. My older brother Jin Chenghan is coming to visit me. When that time comes, I will recommend you to him. But you have to reach rank 1 first. Only then can I put in a good word for you. Rest assured, princess. I will definitely follow your command. Just then, the referee announced, the next match is about to begin. The opponents this time are the 18th ranked team, Chen Tianji and Jin Zhou, versus the number 1 ranked team, Lu Fan and Sword Shadow. The announcement immediately sent the audience into an uproar. A battle of 2 dragons, 2 dragon tamers, the number 1 and number 2 ranked students on the same team. Even Chen Tianji and Jin Zhou were shocked by this overpowered combination. Flashing back to earlier, when Lu Fan had suggested teaming up with Qin Qiu, while Sword Shadow teamed up with Xiao Tao so that everyone could get a good rank, Qin Qiu refused. Don't worry about it, Lu Fan. You and Sword Shadow should team up and go for first place. That's the only way you can both maintain your number 1 and 2 rankings. Xiao Tao also chimed in, saying, I don't want to drag you 2 down either. Seeing Lu Fan still hesitating, Qin Qiu continued to persuade him, don't worry about us, Tao Zi and I will do our best. Returning to the present, Qin Qiu cheered loudly from the stands. Lu Fan, go get first place. Lu Fan cracked his knuckles, then asked with a smirk, Sword Shadow, taking first place won't be a problem, right? Sword Shadow replied without hesitation, of course not. Flashing back a few minutes earlier, while idling in the waiting room, Lu Fan started piecing together some treasure maps. After all, the treasure maps he got from the Dragon Capital Academy were all low quality and for faraway places, so he figured it was better to combine them. Unexpectedly, the result was a high-grade treasure map, Flying Dragon Graveyard, a level 45 to 60 area. I've never heard of this place before. I'll have to check it out some other time. Just then, an announcement came over the loudspeaker. An announcement is made for match number 18, Team Chen Tianji and Jin Zhou versus Team number 1, Lu Fan and Jian Ying. Hearing this, Lu Fan smiled and said to Jian Ying, it's our turn to enter the arena, but since this is just an evaluation test, we can't be careless. Back in the present, the crowd in the stands was buzzing with excitement about the upcoming match. Look, number 1 Lu Fan is teamed up with the number 2 Beauty. They might as well just hand them the trophy now. What's the point of even competing? I wouldn't be so sure. Chen Tianji has won 28 consecutive matches, and besides, the champions in previous years were never the top-ranked individuals. Seeing Chen Tianji for the first time, Jian Ying asked Lu Fan with some concern. I heard our opponent is also a dragon master. Are you confident you can win? Lu Fan replied with a smile. How about we make a little bet? Let's bet on whether or not I can defeat them all by myself. Jian Ying was taken aback. Without me helping, and without you even summoning your dragon? That's quite the proposition. Right, back in the venomous spider forest, I realized our classes are actually very similar. If I win, you have to tell me all the secrets of the Sword Master class deal. The match began. The moment the referee gave the signal, Chen Tianji and his dragon charged forward to attack. I've finally been waiting for this day, Lu Fan. You won't be able to walk all over me anymore. From this day forward, there can only be one Dragon Master, and that will be me. Chen Tianji thrust his spear with lightning speed, but it only passed through Lu Fan's afterimage. While Chen Tianji was still reeling in confusion, he heard Lu Fan say to his teammate, "It's too late to back out of our bet now, Jian Ying." With that, Lu Fan threw a kick, then used Dragon Claw combined with his Dragon Blood armor transformation, morphing his arm into a draconic talon. He delivered a powerful uppercut to Chen Tianji's dragon, sending it stumbling backward in a daze. Chen Tianji looked over at Jian Ying, who was standing nonchalantly with her arms crossed, and frowned in anger, shouting, "Your teammate isn't fighting, and you haven't even summoned your dragon. What is the meaning of this?" Lu Fan smirked and replied, "It's just a small bet, that's all. Why would I need to use my full power against two pieces of trash?" Just then, Jinzhou burst out laughing. "Lu Fan, I finally have my chance today. You arrogant, low-class commoner, how dare you insult me?" As she spoke, her eyes filled with killing intent. "Today, I will make you pay double for everything you've done. Armored Earth Dragon, attack." Receiving Chen Tianji's command, the Earth Dragon roared and charged furiously toward Lu Fan. "Your Earth Dragon is missing a fang on one side. It looks completely unbalanced. Let me just fix that for you." As he spoke, Lu Fan drew his weapon and used the skill Dragon Fang Strike, channeling his dragon energy to unleash an incredibly powerful blow, slamming it right into the Earth Dragon. The impact not only injured the Earth Dragon, but also shattered the very ground where it stood. The students watching this scene were completely horrified. "Holy cow, did you just see that?" He forced a dragon to a halt, using only his own physical strength. "But that's an Earth Dragon we're talking about. An Earth Dragon is still a dragon. Doesn't he realize how vast the power gap between a human and a dragon is? Just how strong is Lu Fan, really? This is completely insane." Even Chen Tianji, who was right in the middle of the fight, was left dumbfounded by the display. "What are you standing there gawking for? Hurry up and take care of him!" Jinzhou's words snapped Chen Tianji back to reality, and he replied, "As you command." He then ordered the Earth Dragon to use its sweep attack, swinging its massive tail to deal damage to targets in a fan-shaped area. Simultaneously, he also used Dragon Spear Strike, channeling his dragon energy to unleash a powerful blow in a coordinated attack with his dragon. Against Lu Fan. We're both Dragon Masters, so he shouldn't have any teleportation skills. Caught between two attacks at once, there's no way he can escape. That's what Chen Tianji thought, anyway. But for someone like Lu Fan, who possessed flicker boots, this was child's play. After blinking away, Lu Fan casually sat on a nearby boulder and said to Chen Tianji with a mocking smile, "When are you and your dragon actually going to make me fight seriously?" Jian Ying watched Lu Fan and thought to herself in amazement, this Earth Dragon's stats are several times higher than other monsters of the same level. And yet, Lu Fan is not only able to suppress it, but he can also fight that other Dragon Master simultaneously. "Get back, you useless trash." Lu Fan hasn't summoned his dragon and isn't even letting his teammate help. And yet, you're still this pathetic in front of everyone. How am I supposed to introduce you to my brother when you're like this? You want to go to the Tai Chi Kingdom in this sorry state. And you even want to become the strongest Dragon Master? In your dreams, Jinzhou shouted in fury and began to cast a spell. "Thanks to you, this princess now has to personally step in and save us from this embarrassment." Watching this unfold, Lu Fan frowned and thought, could this be that skill she used to turn her servant into a monster last time? As the Earth Dragon's body began to grow, Lu Fan got his answer. Just as he suspected, Jinzhou was using that bizarre growth skill again. After Jinzhou's enhancement spell, the armored dragon's abnormal state caused an uproar in the stands. What's going on with that armored dragon? It looks like a demon straight out of hell. It's because of Chen Tianji's teammate. Its power level just shot through the roof. I think she's an international student, but that kind of skill also looks really evil. Why hasn't Lu Fan summoned his dragon yet? I want to see a dragon versus dragon battle. On the arena floor, Jian Ying instantly summoned two swords that floated on either side of her. Army Breaker! Epic Sword. Level 24. Class Requirement Swordmaster. Mountain Breaker deals 240% physical damage, with 24% of the damage splashing to surrounding targets. Epic Blood Breaking Sword. Level 24. Class Requirement Swordmaster. Armor Penetration. Attacks ignore 32% of the opponent's defense. Swiftness. Sword control speed is increased by 42%. Gimun was about to rush forward but was stopped by Luk Fam's raised hand. Gimun, I can handle those two myself. Don't forget our previous agreement. Kim An hesitated, saying, but I've faced this skill before. The price of suffering causes one's form to become twisted. With that said, Luke Pham then stepped forward to face Jiap Long. On the other side, Kim Shao ordered Tren Tianqi, hurry up and crush him for me. Tren Tianqi replied, as you command. He then ordered Jiap Long to charge towards Luke Pham and attack, but Luke Pham stood perfectly still. Behind Jiap Long, Kim Cho gritted her teeth, glaring hatefully at Luke Pham as she spoke. I will take back your Hak Long and turn you into a good-for-nothing once again. If you don't want to be crushed, summon your Hak Long. Aren't your stats high enough to handle Jiap Long, the you of today? Kim Cho's voice suddenly trailed off as she saw Luke Pham make a move. She only saw Luke Pham raise an arm towards Jiap Long and softly chant, Draconic Magic, Rage of the Ice Dragon King. The Rage of the Ice Dragon King unleashes an icy chill on targets within a certain range, dealing damage along with slowing and freezing effects. The duration and effectiveness can vary depending on the casting time. In the next second, a massive phantom of the Ice Dragon King appeared behind Luke Pham. It opened its mouth and roared, creating waves of icy chill that spread outwards. Jiap Long, being closest to Luke Pham, was immediately frozen in place by the icy chill. Kim Shao and Tren Tianqi were further away, and although they weren't frozen, with every breath they took, you could see white vapor escaping their mouths from the cold. Even the audience in the stands was affected by the icy chill and exclaimed, I suddenly feel so cold. The temperature has dropped so low. Is this Luke Pham's dragon pet? It looks way cooler than Tren Tianqi's. No, that's just a phantom. It's not real. It seems to be a magic skill. Holy crap, he knows how to use both physical and magical attacks. The commotion in the stands didn't distract Luke Pham at all. After the magic attack, Luke Pham raised his sword, his sharp gaze fixed on Kim Shao. That dark magic of yours really did make Jiap Long's stats much higher than mine, but who told you that having higher stats means you can crush me, and you still want to take my Hak Long? You're not worthy. With that, Luke Pham shot forward extremely fast, in front of Kim Shao and slashed with his sword, giving her no time to react. Princess, be careful, Tren Tianqi shouted, rushing forward to help Kim Shao block Luke Pham's slash, and then loudly commanded, Jiap Long, attack. Hearing the command, Jiap Long opened its maw and breathed fire towards Luke Pham. Luke Pham vanished on the spot, dodging Jiap Long's fire breath. An instant later, he suddenly appeared behind it. What a good little slave. If that's how it's going to be, Luke Pham thought to himself, once again extending his hand towards Jiap Long and chanting a draconic magic spell. Roar of the Blue Dragon King. The roar of the Blue Dragon King unleashes a lightning shockwave forward, dealing massive damage and a paralysis effect. Subsequent attacks will be imbued with 20 stacks of the lightning attribute, with each attack consuming 1 stack, and has a 20% chance to paralyze the opponent. Once again, the audience saw a massive phantom appear behind Luke Pham, the difference being that this time, it was the phantom of the Blue Dragon King. Then, they saw a bolt of lightning strike Jiap Long, causing it to roar in agony. That's insane. Luke Pham just used another new magic spell. Yeah, and it's not just any ordinary magic, it's that rare draconic magic. First, he faced Jiap Long with his bare hands, and now he's using magic without even summoning his dragon pet, so Tren Tianqi's winning streak is about to end. In contrast to the excited chatter from the stands, on the battlefield, Tren Tianqi's face was filled with disbelief and fear as he thought, How? How is this possible? We're both dragon masters, so why is there such a huge difference? At this moment, Luke Pham returned to his original position, facing Tren Tianqi and Kim Shao, and slowly asked, Since the beginning of this fight, I've been wondering something. Why is it that from start to finish, you've never used any skill other than Dragon Spear Strike? A frightened Kim Shao, hiding behind Tren Tianqi, yelled, Tren Tianqi, what are you doing? Hurry up and make Jiap Long keep fighting. Luke Pham paid no attention to Kim Shao. He ran his hand along the blade of his sword, coating it in a layer of lightning, while staring intently at Tren Tianqi and continuing his question, Dragon Spear Strike and Dragon Fang Strike, although they're a bit different. That's only because our weapons are different. In essence, they're the same skill. But why do you never use Dragon Claw or Dragon Bone Dance? Tren Tianqi was startled, thinking to himself, Dragon, Claw, Dragon Bone Dance. Could those be his original skills? Seeing Tren Tianqi still standing there dumbfounded and not doing anything, Kim Shao angrily cursed, This useless trash is just like, Toi Huan Tai, you swore you'd get revenge for me. Get a move on. As for Luke Pham, seeing the expression on Tren Tianqi's face, he said with a smile, It seems the contract with Jiap Long couldn't unlock all the skills for you. It's not that you don't use them, it's that you don't have them. Give up. You have no chance of winning. We are different kinds of dragon masters. Tren Tianqi lowered his head and said softly, That's enough. Luke Pham frowned and opened his mouth to advise him. You and I have no deep-seated grudge. You don't need to sell your dignity and be her slave, much less be my enemy. Hearing this, Chen Tianqi suddenly raised his head, his bloodshot eyes glaring at Lu Fan as he screamed, Enough! Not only are you blocking my path to becoming the strongest Dragon Master, but you're also arrogant enough to lecture me as if I have no pride. Then, he looked towards Jin Zhou and said, Your Highness, your knight will surely keep his promise. Please grant it to me. I will risk my life to show this peasant the consequences of offending a princess. Hearing this, Jin Zhou was momentarily surprised before a sinister smile appeared as she spoke. You said it yourself. This is your last chance. After speaking, Jin Zhou raised her magic staff and directly cast her magic on Chen Tianji. Chen Tianji screamed in pain. As you command, Lu Fan asked in confusion. Why are you so loyal to someone like Jin Zhou? You clearly know her true nature. What do you know? Without the princess, I'd be nothing but a worthless bum my entire life. To become a master, to repay the princess, I'll do anything. As he spoke, the body of Chen Tianji began to transform, growing larger and more muscular, with 2 extra arms sprouting from his back. When the transformation was complete, Jin Zhou joyfully commanded, Now, go deal with Lu Fan. Upon hearing the command, Chen Tianzi charged towards Lu Fan, his 2 left arms gripping his weapon tightly, raising it and shouting, Die! Dragon Spear Strike! Seeing this, Lu Fan stopped trying to reason with him. His gaze sharpened. He raised his weapon, now crackling with electricity, to head level, the tip of his blade aimed straight at Chen Tianji. More than hateful, I find you pitiful. Thunderclap. As he finished speaking, Lu Fan, aided by the whisper of the spirit wind, dashed towards Chen Tianji at incredible speed. Whisper of the spirit wind. The wearer receives the blessing of the spirit wind, increasing their agility attribute by 35%. Dragon Fang Strike! Lu Fan shouted, unleashing a flurry of thrusts at Chen Tianji. When Lu Fan stopped, behind him, Chen Tianji's body was covered in crackling electricity. His eyes rolled back into his head. I'm sorry, Your Highness, he thought. Chen Tianjia lost consciousness and collapsed before Jin Zhou's terrified eyes. When Jin Zhou saw Lu Fan walking towards her and raising his hand, she collapsed to the ground in terror and shrieked, You! What do you think you're doing? Don't you get too arrogant. My brother is the new leader of the Taiki nation. If you dare to touch me, my brother will make you pay 100-fold. Lu Fan ignored Jin Zhou's threat and slapped her hard across the face. Fine then, consider it a debt I owe your brother. We'll see if he even has what it takes to collect. After saying that, Lu Fan turned and walked away. Lu Fan's slap also stunned the audience. What's with that Lu Fan guy? He already won, and now he's going to humiliate his opponent? Yeah, how could he bring himself to hit a cute girl like that? But what right did that girl have to be so cocky with Chen Tianji? Exactly. She's an international student, acting so brazenly like she owns the place. Just then, the voice of Zhao Shengming boomed over the speakers. Order everyone! I declare the match over. The winners are Lu Fan and Sword Shadow. After that, he looked seriously at Gu Han and said, Tell Lu Fan to come to my office immediately. You can continue preparing for the next match between the other teams. Watching Zhao Shengming leave, Gu Han replied, All right. A while later, Lu Fan arrived at Zhao Shengming's office. Zhao Shengming spoke first. I had thought it was because of the last national trial with the Jin family that you were so angry. But through Mr. Qin, I've come to understand the situation between you and Jin Zhou. However, settling personal grudges in the arena will inevitably lead to complaints from their backers. Lu Fan spoke up. I've also experienced loss just like Chen Tianji, so I understand perfectly well that Jin Zhou is using him. Zhao Shengming handed Lu Fan a tablet. Let's not talk about that anymore. Take a look at this. This is the real reason I called you here. Your performance earlier was witnessed in its entirety by the principal and me. You can drop out of this freshman assessment, Lu Fan asked in surprise. Drop out? Is it because you two weren't satisfied with my performance just now? Zhao Shengming chuckled and explained. Quite the opposite, actually. When you unleashed those 2 dragon tongue magic spells, the principal and I were very confident about sending you to the national trial competition. These are high-level secret realms that Longdu Academy has found for you through the Secret Realm Hunters Guild. Go ahead and pick one. Hearing this, Lu Fan took the tablet and began to look through it. He thought to himself, Secret Realm Hunters must be like material hunters. They're both guilds that control resources. These Secret Realm Hunters rely on finding and discovering entrances to various secret realms in exchange for high rewards. Zhao Shengming continued with a smile. The Secret Realm Hunters all use a system of high-stakes auctions, so no matter which one you choose, the Academy will go to their guilds to bid on it for you, Lu Fan said hesitantly. But the starting prices listed on here are also really high. Zhao Shengming adjusted his glasses and said, Longdu Academy has never been careless when it comes to the national trials. The resources we promised to provide you, we will absolutely secure at auction. Hearing that, Lu Fan didn't hesitate any longer and began to choose seriously. A moment later, Lu Fan's eyes lit up and he exclaimed, This is Zhao Shengming. Saw this and asked curiously, Oh, have you found something you like? Lu Fan smiled and turned the screen towards Zhao Shengming, saying, Vice Principal Zhao, I'm definitely choosing this one. Zhao Shengming looked at the screen and saw the Flying Dragon Mausoleum, dungeon level S+, dungeon difficulty nightmare, party limit 2 or more people, starting price 1,375,000,000 dragon coins. The next day, at the freshman assessment semifinals, the first match of today's semifinals was team number 1, Lu Fan and Sword Shadow, versus team number 3, Jiang Feng and Yun Shuting. As Gu Han was making the announcement, Zhao Shengming suddenly raised a hand to stop him. Then he cleared his throat and spoke into the microphone. I have an announcement to make. Team Lu Fan and Sword Shadow has withdrawn from the competition, and everything will be rescheduled. As soon as the announcement was made, the entire stadium erupted in an uproar. Huh? What? Lu Fan withdrew? I came here specifically to see him today. Could something have happened yesterday? Who knows? This can't be happening, Tao Xiaoma said softly from the crowd, her expression annoyed. Listening to them is so irritating. Qin Qiu, sitting beside her, advised, just ignore them. Lu Fan and Sword Shadow must have already entered the dungeon. At the same time, Lu Fan and Sword Shadow arrived at the forest outside the Flying Dragon Mausoleum dungeon. Walking through the woods, Lu Fan smiled wryly and started to apologize. I'm really sorry, Sword Shadow. Because you were on a team with me, you couldn't continue the competition either. Sword Shadow replied nonchalantly. Didn't the school say we could both keep our spots in the Azure Cloud class? Besides, we also got an extra 10,000 academic credits, so there's no need for you to apologize. After walking a little further, Sword Shadow added, However, we get to come to such a rare dungeon. Thank you for that. So, all the rewards inside are yours. For me, the experience is enough. Lu Fan smiled and said, I understand. You've never liked being indebted to others. Just as he finished speaking, Lu Fan suddenly looked up into a tree and yelled, Who's there? Startled by his shout, Sword Shadow also looked up. Hey, up here. A laugh came from a tree branch. A second later, a red-haired person jumped down, smiling at the two of them and introducing himself. Don't worry, I'm a member of the Dungeon Hunters Guild. Just call me Black Rat. Hearing this, Lu Fan pointed to the insignia on his chest and asked, We are from Dragon Capital Academy. The entrance to the Flying Dragon Mausoleum is... Are you the one guiding us? Black Rat moved closer, carefully inspecting the insignia on Lu Fan's uniform, then turned around and started leading the way while talking. If you're the ones who won the bid for it, then follow me. My job is just to lead you two to the teleportation gate, and then I'm done. I'll tell you what, your Dragon Capital Academy is seriously rich. So, what level are you two? Anyway, to be able to come to such an expensive place? Lu Fan answered. I'm level 25, she's level 24. Black Rat yelped in shock. Only level 25? Are you too crazy? This is a nightmare dungeon, meant for level 55 and up. After that, Black Rat stopped, pulled out his phone, and added, Let me contact Dragon Capital Academy and see if there's been a mistake. Sending 2 people who haven't even had their second-class advancement into this place is just sending you to your deaths. Seeing this, Lu Fan said, Black Rat, you don't need to waste your time on that. Before Lu Fan could explain, a sudden attack slammed into the large tree beside the 3 of them, causing the trunk to topple in their direction. Lu Fan reacted immediately, quickly grabbing Sword Shadow's hand to run. Black Rat also scrambled to follow them. After escaping the range of the falling tree, Lu Fan instantly turned around, condensed magic in his hand, and roared at the sky. Roar of the Blue Dragon King! Immediately after, a piercing shriek was heard, as a monster fell straight from the sky and slammed into the ground. The heavy impact made Black Rat, who was still running, turn back to look, and then his jaw dropped in utter disbelief as he yelled, What? What kind of skill is that? Are you really only level 25? Isn't that a level 55 Azure Winged Dragon Eagle? With lightning still crackling in his hand, Lu Fan smiled and said, Black Rat, level isn't a problem for us. Please hurry and lead us to the entrance. Okay, let's keep moving. Saying that, Black Rat scratched his head and continued, leading the way for them. After following Black Rat through several secret paths concealed by bushes, Lu Fan and Sword Shadow were surprised to see a massive red vortex. Black Rat announced, We've arrived. This is the entrance to the Flying Dragon Mausoleum. Lu Fan curiously examined the large vortex, realizing this was the teleportation gate to the divine Flying Dragon Tree. Just then, Black Rat waved his hand, turned to leave, and said, My job here is done then. See you if fate allows. Seeing this, Lu Fan called out, Wait, Black Rat. Then, He held out his hand and proposed with a smile, "Since we've met by chance, let's add each other as friends. Dungeon hunters travel all over, so I might need you to find out the locations of a few places for me." Black Rat asked in surprise. "Huh? Locations?" Sword Shadow, uninterested in their conversation, entered the dungeon ahead of them. Lufan smiled and added, "There will be a reward, of course." Black Rat hurriedly asked, "Wait, you mean you want to buy location information from me? Not for dungeons, just geographical locations?" The Dungeon Hunters Guild would never allow the personal sale of dungeon information, but if it's just locations, that shouldn't be a violation, right? Black Rat stroked his chin in thought for a moment before extending his hand. 100,000 for one location. That's 100,000 dragon coins, a friendly price. For you, if that doesn't work. Before Black Rat could finish, Lufan quickly shook his hand and said, "Deal, it's settled." Black Rat was a little taken aback by Lufan's decisiveness. It wasn't until Lufan entered the secret realm that Black Rat snapped out of it, muttering to himself, "Are all the students from the Dragon Capital Academy this rich?" Inside the secret realm, just as Lufan stepped out of the teleportation gate, Sword Shadow spoke up impatiently. "You two sure have a lot to talk about. Let's get going." While walking and looking around, Lufan murmured, "So this is the flying dragon divine tree that Black Rat mentioned?" At the same time, he calculated in his mind that the location of the god-level map was at the very top of the divine tree. Suddenly, Sword Shadow sensed something unusual and asked, "Lufan, do you hear that? Is that an earthquake?" Hearing that, Lufan immediately focused his senses to investigate. When he saw a swarm of monsters flying toward them, his expression instantly changed as he yelled, "No, it's a swarm of wyverns!" A level 50 corpse wyvern with 37,120 experience points and drops, wyvern fangs, and 2,772 dragon coins. Skill, Swarm Bite, bites the target to deal physical damage. When it bites a target, it calls nearby allies to join the attack. Skill, Breath of Decay. It spews its breath in a fan-shaped area. All targets within range are afflicted with a decay effect, reducing their attack power by 50%. Sword Shadow prepared to attack, without waiting for Lu Fan to say a word. Sword Shadow had already summoned her Army Breaker Heavy Sword, using Mountain Shaking Strike to annihilate one corpse wyvern. The others nearby also took a certain amount of splash damage. As for Lu Fan, he decided to summon Little Knight. The moment Little Knight appeared, it opened its maw and spewed flames at the swarm of corpse wyverns. Skill, Molten Blaze, continuously spews fire forward, dealing damage while simultaneously healing itself. Back with Sword Shadow, just as she was focusing on controlling the Army Breaker Heavy Sword, she suddenly noticed a corpse wyvern had managed to get behind her, its maw open and ready to unleash its breath of decay. Sword Shadow quickly leaped up to dodge. In midair, she summoned her blood-breaking sword and used armor-piercing strike to pierce the head of the corpse wyvern that had ambushed her. As she was about to land, Sword Shadow realized she was outside the cover of the branches and had begun to freefall. "Army Breaker Heavy Sword, to me!" Sword Shadow shouted, loudly, intending for the flying sword to catch her. However, before the Army Breaker Heavy Sword could arrive, another corpse wyvern charged toward her. Sword Shadow gritted her teeth and thought desperately, "It's over. I'm not gonna make it." A sword master without her blade, Sword Shadow could only watch helplessly, with no way to deal with the current situation. In that critical moment, Lu Fan had already noticed, and dove down. With his weapon in hand, he used a blood-packed, enhanced Dragon Fang strike, obliterating the corpse wyvern in a single slash, then reached out his hand to Sword Shadow, yelling, "Sword Shadow, grab my hand!" Sword Shadow quickly reached out and grabbed Lu Fan's hand. Then, Lu Fan twisted his body and plunged his weapon into the tree trunk, slowing their descent. Once the two of them came to a stop, they both breathed a sigh of relief. Lu Fan looked down at Sword Shadow and joked, "Careful now, our destination isn't down there." Sword Shadow smiled and said, "You've saved me yet again." Then, the two of them began to climb upward, but they hadn't gone far before a strange sound echoed from below. Sword Shadow asked warily, "Are those dragons coming back?" "No, it's below us," Lu Fan said as he glanced down, seeing a massive skeletal dragon head with its maw wide open, speeding up towards them. "Look out!" Lu Fan yelled, decisively pulling Sword Shadow into his arms and pressing them both flat against the tree trunk. In the blink of an eye, Lu Fan could clearly feel the skeletal dragon head graze his back as it continued upward. Seeing this, Lu Fan quickly yelled toward the level above, "Little Knight." On the canopy above, Little Knight had just finished dealing with the swarm of corpse wyverns when it heard Lu Fan's shout. As Little Knight turned its head, it saw a massive, open-mouthed skull rapidly, growing larger in its field of view. A second later, Little Knight's world went dark, as it was swallowed whole by the monster. Sword Shadow, having just been carried back to the original branch by Lu Fan, saw Little Knight get swallowed and cried out in alarm, That's a Berserk Bone Dragon." It was a level 55 Berserk Bone Dragon, a nightmare-level boss. Skill, bone armor. The bones of the Berserk Bone Dragon proliferate and attach as bone plating, increasing its defense. Skill, bone blade assault. Launches bone blades within a target area, dealing area of effect damage. Skill, white bone storm. Controls bones to sweep across the target area, dealing more damage the lower its health. Lufan set Sword Shadow down and said, "Little Knight will be fine. I'm gonna deal with it now. You go on ahead." Sword Shadow replied robotically, "Huh?" For a moment, she couldn't understand what Lufan meant. It was only when she saw him running toward the Berserk Bone Dragon that Sword Shadow reacted, quickly calling out, "Wait, Lufan, a Berserk Bone Dragon is a very dangerous type of lesser dragon." Lufan didn't stop. He continued to run toward the Berserk Bone Dragon and shouted an order, "Little Knight, switch to destroyer form." A second later, from within the Berserk Bone Dragon's mouth, waves of fire began to leak out. Then, following a massive explosion, Little Knight burst out of the Berserk Bone Dragon's mouth in its dragon form, roaring as it flew into the air. Seeing the Berserk Bone Dragon with one horn broken off and its lower jaw shattered, Sword Shadow thought to herself, "So Little Knight has another form. No wonder Lufan was so certain it would be all right." At this time, Lufan summoned Little Jade and gave an order. "Little Jade, unleash Jade Bamboo Blessing." At his command, Little Jade let out a cry and cast a spell on Lufan. Instantly, the image of 3 green jade gems appeared above his head. Jade Bamboo Blessing grants the target 3 stacks of Jade Dragon energy, increasing the damage of the next 3 attacks. Then Lufan leaped up and shouted, "Little Knight, coordinate with me!" Xiao Ye understood, flew over to catch Lufan, and positioned itself above the Berserk Bone Dragon's head before letting out a roar. A terrifying roar erupted, dealing massive damage to all targets in the area. It also applied a weakening effect. Finally, with the added support from the Blood Pact and Jade, Lufan used a single Dragon Fang strike to sever the Berserk Bone Dragon's head. However, the Berserk Bone Dragon wasn't dead yet. The 2 eye sockets in its skull and the energy orb in its chest suddenly flashed intensely. In an instant, all the bones in its body, except for the skull, shattered into multiple pieces. They began to rapidly circle the skull and the energy orb, forming a vortex that enveloped Lufan. White Bone Storm, a skill that controls bones to sweep through a target area, and the lower the health, the higher the damage. Still not dead? If that's the case then, just as Lufan was about to act, he suddenly saw a streak of red light shatter the Berserk Bone Dragon's remaining horn. It simultaneously interrupted the skill it was casting. Lufan looked in a certain direction in surprise and asked, "Why did you come down here, Jian Ying?" That weapon was Jian Ying, standing on a flying sword. She descended to Lufan and replied, "I'm fulfilling our previous agreement. You defeated Chen Tianji on your own, so as promised, I'll tell you about the characteristics of a swordmaster." Lufan smiled and said, "All right, then let's get ready to attack." Jian Ying responded with action. She rode a weapon and flew close to the Berserk Bone Dragon. Every 5 levels, a swordmaster gets a new weapon. And this is my ace, the Scythe of Karma Flames. Scythe of Karma Flames, Epic. Weapon level 20. Dependent class, Swordmaster. Malevolent Karma Eruption. Its attack attribute can be switched between fire and dark properties. Every life taken permanently increases its attack power by 0.1%, and it's currently increased by 8.9%. As she explained, Jian Ying controlled the Scythe of Karma Flames to launch at the Berserk Bone Dragon, then clenched her fist and shouted, "Malevolent Karma Eruption." Watching Jian Ying fight from below, Fan smiled to himself and thought, so swordmasters don't unlock skills, but rather use the special abilities of the weapons they acquire. Then, he shouted loudly, "Xiao Fei, it's our turn." Xiao Fei flew towards Xiao Ye and used the skill Jade Blessing. Xiao Ye would strike the ground. Hearing Lufan's command, the newly buffed Xiao Ye immediately roared and attacked straight down at the Berserk Bone Dragon, turning it into a wave of experience points. The system announced, "Jade Dragon has reached level 15. New skill acquired, Form Transformation. Lufan has reached level 26. Watching Xiao Fei and Xiao Ye affectionately circling Lufan, Jian Ying let out a sigh. Even though she had used her ace, the Scythe of Karma Flames, all the damage was dealt by Xiao Ye. The power of a giant dragon, truly immeasurable. Sighing to himself, Sword Shadow felt a bit dejected and said, "I'm sorry, Lufan. I should have been the one to continue upward. I clearly knew that even. With or without me, you, Xiao Ye, and Xiao Fei would have defeated the boss quickly anyway." And yet, Lufan smiled and said, "It's all right. Thank you for helping me escape the White Bone Storm. Besides, today, I gained a lot. Not only did I learn about the characteristics of a sword master, but Xiao Fei also reached level 15. Jian Ying asked curiously, "Is there something special about level 15? Does it also upgrade its abilities like my weapons do?" Hearing that, Lufan grew curious as well and opened Xiao Fei's status window. Jade Dragon Contract, Legendary, Level 15. Strength 656, Agility 718, Spirit 3459, Stamina 959, Spring of Life, Jade Light, Nature Assimilation, Jade Dragon, Bloodline, Blood Pact. The Blood Connection grants the Dragon Master an additional 10% of the Dragon Pet's stats. Form Transformation, the Jade Dragon has entered its adult stage and can freely switch between 4 forms. Hatchling Form reduces all stats and energy consumption by 50%. Dragon Maiden Form, a form born from the Blood Pact. Eternal Guardian Form transforms into the eternal protective form of the Tree of Life. New skills acquired: Life Pulse, Eternal Protection. Soul Light Form discards the physical body to become a soul light that attaches to an allied target. New skills acquired: Soul Protection, Soul Strike. You could say that. At level 15, Xiao Fei can also transform its form just like Xiao Ye. That's a relief, since Xiao Fei grows quite slowly. I thought it would be a long time before I could see its giant dragon form. But now, Xiao Fei also has 4 forms to switch between, just like Xiao Ye. I really want to try out Xiao Fei's new form. As he spoke, Lu Fan reached out and patted Xiao Fei's head. Then let's continue exploring the divine flying dragon tree. Jian Ying had just finished speaking when she suddenly noticed a barrage of fireballs flying towards them. It's a magic attack. Everyone be careful, Jian Ying and Lu Fan shouted in unison. The 2 humans and 2 dragons quickly ran to hide behind the tree trunk. Lu Fan peeked out from behind the tree, observing stealthily. When he saw a flock of flying dragons in the sky, he frowned and speculated, it seems the battle with the Berserk Bone Dragon made too much noise, attracting other monsters here. Xiao Fei switched to Soul Light form and attached to Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye, cover us. Jian Ying, let's head up the divine flying dragon tree. After settling on a strategy, the 2 humans and 2 dragons ran out from behind the tree and began to act. Xiao Ye immediately switched to its World Ender form. Following that, Xiao Fei switched to its Soul Light form and attached to Xiao Ye. The Soul Light form transformation unlocked new skills, including Soul Protection, Soul Impact. Jade Dragon Bloodline doubles all skill effects on the dragon race and those with a blood connection. Soul Protection increases all stats of the target enveloped by the Soul Light by 100% to 200%. Each time damage is taken, it absorbs all incoming damage, generating 1 to 2 layers of Aegis charge, and unleashes an Aegis burst upon accumulating 10 layers. The damage dealt is equal to the total damage absorbed over 10 instances. The total damage absorbed was 12. Xiao Ye raised its head and let out a long roar, its aura now many times stronger than before. All of its stats increased sharply. Strength went from 4,374 to 26,244. Agility rose from 3,567 to 10,700. Spirit increased from 3,991 to 5,986. Stamina went from 4,094 to 12,288. Qiaman exclaimed, Xiao Fei's buff on Xiao Ye is incredibly powerful. Lu Fan explained, yeah, Xiao Fei's traits are more effective on the dragon race. Glancing at the 2 dragon pets, he mentally calculated World Ender plus Soul Protection and Xiao Fei's bloodline trait brought Xiao Ye's strength to 26,000. I need to get to the divine tree quickly and use Dragon's Rally on Xiao Ye to push it over 30,000. At that moment, the first wave of magic attacks from the monster horde arrived, aimed directly at Xiao Ye's position. Lu Fan immediately commanded, no need to counterattack, Xiao Ye. Keep moving forward, just let Xiao Fei absorb the damage. So Xiao Ye maintained its flying speed, and the magic attacks that came near it seemed to hit a green barrier, creating ripples before being quickly absorbed. At the same time, a small green circle appeared above Xiao Fei's head, indicating the layers of Aegis charge, and the number was gradually increasing as each magic attack was absorbed. Once the wave of magic attacks was fully absorbed, the number reached 10. Seeing this, Lu Fan gave the order, Xiao Fei, unleash the Aegis burst. Hearing the command, Xiao Fei immediately released all the layers of Aegis charge, attacking the monster horde. Aegis burst unleashes the damage absorbed from the previous 10 instances, creating a massive counterattack. Watching the monsters fall one by one, Qiaman asked in amazement, Is this Xiao Fei's skill? Lu Fan replied, that's right. Soul Protection not only makes Xiao Fei immune to damage, but also allows it to accumulate that damage for a counterattack, and the effect is even doubled because it's a dragon. Hearing this, Qiaman felt a bit dejected, thinking to herself, I thought leveling up a dragon would just upgrade its abilities like my weapon. But this is clearly unlocking a whole new skill. Even if I use my trump card, the Karma Flame Scythe, I'd still lose to Lu Fan. Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind rushed in, forcing Qiaman and Lu Fan to stop. The boss is right ahead. We're almost there. Just as Lu Fan finished speaking, a huge Kandata monster appeared, blocking their path. Qiaman gasped, It's a Steelbone Flying Dragon, level 60. Steelbone Flying Dragon, Nightmare level boss difficulty. Ferocious Storm, the Steelbone Flying Dragon. Flaps its wings, creating a high-speed storm that deals damage and slows any target it hits. Steel Bone Pierce. The Steelbone Flying Dragon charges into a target with stamina. Lower than 10,000 points will be crushed. Steelbone armor reduces all incoming damage by 50% and significantly increases defense. At that moment, the Steelbone Flying Dragon shrieked, using Steelbone Pierce to charge towards Xiao Ye. Kiem An anxiously called out. It and the Berserk Bone Dragon are both drakes. Lu Fan, we have to help Xiao Ye. Don't worry, Kiem An. After reassuring Kiem An, Lu Fan calmly commanded, Xiao Fei, prepare to activate Soul Impact. Soul Impact, while in the Soul Light state, continuously channels Dragon Chi to charge energy, gaining 1 to 2 layers of Dragon Chi per second of charging. Unleashes all charged layers of Dragon Chi when attacking a target, with a maximum charge limit of 30 to 60 layers. As Xiao Fei was charging its Dragon Chi, Lu Fan used the skill Dragon's Rally on Xiao Ye, increasing all of its stats by 30%, then continued to command, Xiao Ye, it's all up to you now. And so, Xiao Ye took the initiative and charged towards the Steelbone Flying Dragon. The three dragons quickly collided. On our side, since Xiao Ye's current stamina was 13,911, far exceeding 10,000, the Steelbone Flying Dragon's Steelbone Pierce skill had absolutely no effect. On the enemy side, after a combined attack of a Claw Strike backed by over 34,117 points of strength from Xiao Ye and a Soul Impact with 8 layers of Dragon Chi from Xiao Fei, one of the Steelbone Flying Dragon's shoulders was completely severed. The Steelbone Flying Dragon roared in agony. Then, it turned its hateful gaze towards Lu Fan, the commander who had caused it to suffer such a heavy blow. Kiem An yelped in alarm. We're doomed! It's charging towards us! She quickly summoned her 2 weapons, her expression filled with determination. Even though I'm nothing in front of a dragon tamer, as a teammate, I have to do something. With this thought, Kiem An switched the attribute of her Karma Flame Scythe to Darkness, using the skill Evil Karma Outburst, with its power increased by 9.5%, attacking the Steelbone Flying Dragon. However, due to the effect of the Steelbone Armor skill, Kiem An's attack dealt no damage whatsoever to the Steelbone Flying Dragon. This caused her to cry out in disappointment. My attack has no effect on it, Lu Fan. Lu Fan turned to look at Kiem An and said with a smile, It's okay, I appreciate your desire to help your teammate. At that very moment, behind him, the Steelbone Flying Dragon's mouth opened wide, about to swallow him whole. Kiem An screamed in terror, Watch out! Only then did Lu Fan turn around, weapon in hand. Shouted, Xiao Fei, support me now. Following the command, Xiao Fei immediately left Xiao Ye and flew over to cling onto Lu Fan, the whole process not even taking a second. Then, Lu Fan slashed towards the wyvern's wide mouth, sending the crippled monster to meet its ancestors. The system announced that the Black Dragon had reached level 20 and acquired the new skill, Intimidation. Lu Fan spoke up. Job's done, so Xiao Ye has also reached level 20. Jianying had already reached level 25. She looked at the 2 bickering dragon pets and said, Xiao Fei is only level 15 and is already this strong, so a level 20 Xiao Ye should be able to one-shot a bone-crushing wyvern, right? I can't even imagine it. Lu Fan smiled in response. Xiao Ye doesn't even consider these bone-crushing wyverns a threat. Let's keep moving. Hearing that, Jianying suddenly let out a laugh, making Lu Fan ask suspiciously, What is it? I suddenly remembered something Tao Zi once said. With that, Jianying imitated the voice of Tao Xiaoman. With such a powerful dragon, even a chained-up puppy by your side could still dominate everything. Hearing this, Lu Fan burst out laughing. You know how to joke too? That doesn't sound like you, at all. Jianying explained. It's probably because I've been with you guys for a while now. I also feel like I'm not the same as before. It's clear you're much more talkative now, and that's a good thing. From the first time I met you, I thought your voice was very nice. Hearing Lu Fan say that, Jianying suddenly blushed and shyly asked, My voice is nice? Lu Fan smiled and replied, Yeah, of course. You're also really cute. Has no one ever told you these things before? Jianying's face turned even redder as she said, No, I don't talk to others much, and I don't have any friends. At all. Lu Fan smiled and said, Let's not talk about these sad things. Let's keep going. Okay. Replying softly, Jianying lowered her head and followed behind Lu Fan. Meanwhile, behind the 2 of them, Xiao Ye and Xiao Fei were still hissing at each other. Lu Fan shouted in annoyance, You 2, knock it off! At the same time, inside the nest at the top of the divine tree, large cocoons lay motionless, and in the center, a blue egg suddenly trembled slightly at this moment. Back to Lu Fan's group, they were now walking and chatting. Jianying happily boasted, After defeating the bone-crushing wyvern, I also reached level 25. Lu Fan asked curiously, "So you've unlocked a new weapon?" Jian Ying summoned her new weapon and introduced it. "Yeah, Manhwa, a weapon with the agility attribute, and its skill is pretty good too. Unfortunately, it's still only level 1, so it's not very powerful." Manhwa, quality, perfect. Weapon level 1. Class dependency. Swordmaster Heavenly Sword Dance Fall splits into 1,000 Wanhua blades, each with attack power equal to 10% of the original. After dealing damage, the area will revert to its original state, Lu Fan said with a smile. "That's how it is for now, but wait until it reaches level 25. It'll definitely be amazing." Hearing this, Jian Ying thought to herself, even if all my swords reach level 25, would their total damage even equal a single blow? From Xiao Ye, the pressure of partying with Lu Fan is the fear of being compared to him. Letting out a sigh, Jian Ying spoke up. "If anyone else said that, I would definitely believe them." Lu Fan laughed and asked, "Why don't you believe me when I say it? Once Wanhua levels up, with this sword alone, there won't be many people at the Longdu Academy who can fight you." Jian Ying didn't dwell on this issue any longer. She pointed towards the two little dragons ahead and said with a smile, "All right, let's hurry. Look, Xiao Ye is already far ahead." So, the group continued on their way, but after walking just a short distance, they discovered a spot with several corpses. Lu Fan said suspiciously, "The camp of the explorers who came here before." Jian Ying glanced at the condition of the bodies and speculated, "It looks like they've been dead for quite a while." Lu Fan and Jian Ying went over to examine the corpses. They were all combat classes and had died at different times. Could there be a monster ambushing people here? Thinking of this, Lu Fan put on a serious expression, drew his weapon, and cautiously scanned the surroundings. Warning, Jian Ying, there's a high chance this place is occupied by a monster. Stay alert. At that very moment, in the bushes above their heads, a monster was slowly crawling out along a tree trunk. "You mean, this is a trap?" Jian Ying asked as she moved towards Lu Fan. It was this very action that inadvertently caused the monster's pounce aimed at her to miss. Hearing the noise, both Jian Ying and Lu Fan quickly turned around and saw the monster's form, a bronze wyvern. Level 60. Nightmare level boss. Bronze-plated armor. Greatly increases the defense of an allied target. Defensive barrier. Reduces attack power by 100%. Increases defense power by 100%. That's not all. Another monster flew out from the sky, a level 65, three-headed elemental wyvern, a nightmare level boss. Triple cast magic. All three heads simultaneously release damaging elemental attacks of fire, ice, and lightning, dealing 300% area of effect damage. Elemental companion. As long as one head remains alive, the other heads can be restored even if they are destroyed. The revival time increases with each revival. Lu Fan frowned and muttered, "Two bosses at once?" Jian Ying also said worriedly, "They're a group that ambushes people in this area." At that moment, the three-headed elemental wyvern opened its mouths in unison, beginning to use its triple cast magic. Seeing this, Xiao Ye immediately flew up and attacked the middle head. It successfully interrupted that head from gathering an elemental orb of lightning, but failed to deal any damage to it. Seeing this, Jian Ying quickly said, "After being buffed with bronze-plated armor by the bronze wyvern, its defense has increased dramatically. Xiao Ye's damage is nothing to it. I have to deal with this bronze-flying dragon first." Lu Fan took out his weapon and said with a smile, "Just stay calm. I have a plan. You just need to take out your myriad flower sword and wait for it to level up." Huh? Before Jian Ying could understand, Lu Fan had already charged towards the bronze-flying dragon and issued a command. "Xiao Fei, switch to soul light form and attach to me, and at the same time, prepare to release a soul shock. Xiao Ye, get ready to shift into World Ender form. I'm counting on you over there." Xiao Fei immediately attached itself to Lu Fan, who had just arrived in front of the bronze-flying dragon, swinging his sword for a strike, but it couldn't break through its defense. On the other side, the other two heads of the three-headed elemental flying dragon had finished channeling their magic, and they immediately aimed their attacks at Xiao Ye. But Xiao Ye managed to dodge them. Lu Fan glanced at the icon above Xiao Fei's head, saw that it had only charged 4 stacks of dragon chi, and immediately shouted towards Xiao Ye, "Xiao Ye, use your new skill, Overwhelming Aura." Yip, the black dragon continuously released its overwhelming aura, inflicting fear, immobilization, and stun effects on all enemy targets in a large area. One could see Xiao Ye flying into the air, opening its mouth to roar. Below, the three-headed elemental flying dragon was hit with the negative effects, unable to act for a moment. Jian Ying covered her ears in pain, exclaiming, "Xiao Ye's aura, I can't believe a control skill could cause such powerful vibrations. My head, hang in there, Jian Ying, it's almost over." After a word of encouragement, Lu Fan noticed that Xiao Fei had charged 12 stacks of Dragon Chi, so he ordered it to use Soul Shock on the bronze flying dragon, while he himself charged up and landed a Dragon Fang strike, successfully killing the boss. Next, Lu Fan quickly shouted towards Xiao Ye, "The bronze armor is gone. Xiao Ye, attack!" Xiao Ye immediately flew down, pinning the three-headed elemental flying dragon and smashed the middle head with its paw. The powerful slam made the ground shake. Lu Fan quickly reached out to support the stumbling Jianying. "Be careful, Xiao Ye is getting too carried away again." Then he saw Xiao Fei fly over to join Xiao Ye in the fun, and quickly instructed it. "That was great teamwork just now, but you have to be obedient. Don't imitate Sister Xiao Ye and play so recklessly like this, okay?" Xiao Fei stood on one of the flying dragon's heads, happily waving at Lu Fan, its small head nodding continuously. Only now did Lu Fan have a moment to check his and his two dragon pets' levels. After the battle, he had reached level 28, Xiao Ye reached level 22, and Xiao Fei reached level 17. Having been silent until now, Jian Ying saw her myriad flower sword reach level 6, and herself reach level 27, which made her feel uneasy. I was no help at all again. Traveling with Lu Fan, my title as the genius of Yunbei seems so useless. Lu Fan suddenly patted Jian Ying's shoulder and said, "That three-headed dragon has to have all three heads defeated at once, to be finished. Let's just let Xiao Ye play a little longer. We can take this chance to explore the entire camp." Jian Ying replied, "Okay." Walking ahead, Lu Fan frowned at the system panel, lost in thought about something. When night fell, Jian Ying brought a plate of food out of the tent. "Lu Fan, this is the food Sister Han prepared. Let's eat a little first." But Jian Ying couldn't find a trace of Lu Fan anywhere. This made her feel a sense of loss, thinking to herself, "It seems Lu Fan has realized that I'm just a burden." Meanwhile, Lu Fan had followed the god-tier map provided by the system and went to the Divine Tree Peak alone. To prevent the system's secret from being revealed, Lu Fan could only apologize to Jian Ying in his heart. "I'm sorry, Jian Ying. This god-tier treasure map is my main purpose for coming to this flying dragon mausoleum." As Lu Fan approached the nest, the large cocoon suddenly cracked open, and a huge dragon emerged from within, roaring at him. Soul of the level 70 flying dragon king, a nightmare tier chieftain. Elemental dragon breath, breathes on its target, dealing random fire, ice, lightning, or wind damage. Soul attack. The flying dragon king, having lost its physical restraints, suddenly dashes forward, dealing piercing damage to the target. Dragon language unseal. Unlocks dragon language magic. Its elemental dragon breath will be replaced by dragon language magic. Forbidden spell, elemental flying dragon, soul attack, is replaced by the dragon language magic, Doomsday's Fall. Flying dragon bloodline. As the species closest to true dragons among all sub-dragons, the flying dragon king reduces all incoming damage by 50%. The final boss of a plus difficulty nightmare secret realm is level 70. Momentarily surprised, Lu Fan summoned Xiao Ye and Xiao Fei and said with a smile, "With such a huge level gap, we can't afford to be careless. We have to take this very seriously." The commotion here also caught the attention of Jian Ying. Down below, she looked up in surprise, then lowered her head sadly. "Having to save me time and time again like this. Lu Fan must be so sick of me that he decided to go on alone. Right? I can't hold him back anymore. The genius of Yunbei should have faced the gap between her and a dragon tamer sooner. Do I even have any thoughts of wanting to help my teammate anymore?" As Jian Ying was feeling insecure about her abilities, Lu Fan's previous words suddenly echoed in her mind. "That's how it is for now. But when it reaches level 25 and you use it, it will definitely be amazing. I've received your desire to help your teammate. It's okay. Thank you for helping me escape the White Bone Storm. And I gained a lot today, too." Thanks to his smile and those words, Jian Ying gradually regained her confidence. She clenched her fist, showing her determination, and said to herself, "Even if I'm not as strong as Lu Fan, I can still help relieve the pressure on him. So, that means right now I." At the same time, Lu Fan blocked a blow from the boss and was pushed back a distance. A level 70 was indeed tough, much more dangerous than the world-ending emperor from the exam I took before. Xiao Ye, prepare Molten Blaze. With that, Lu Fan used the skill Dragon's Rally on Xiao Ye. Receiving the command, Xiao Ye opened its mouth, began to gather fire elements, and flew close to the boss. It began to spew flames. Burned by the fire, the boss roared in pain, tilting its head back. But after the Molten Blaze skill ended, the boss didn't seek revenge on Xiao Ye but instead used a Soul Assault skill to dash behind Lu Fan, intending to sneak attack him. Lu Fan quickly increased the distance, shouting, "Xiao Fei, switch to eternal form!" Xiao Fei swiftly changed forms, flying to block in front of Lu Fan. The moment the Jade Dragon switched forms, the Eternal One unlocked a new skill, Pulse of Life, and unlocked another new skill, Eternal Protection. Lu Fan was about to command the next step, when a rain of swords suddenly fell from above, aimed straight at the boss, interrupting its skill and pinning it to the ground. Finding the swords familiar, Lu Fan exclaimed in surprise, "This is the Myriad Flower?" As if to confirm Lu Fan's suspicion, Jian Ying appeared not far from him, controlling the Myriad Flower Sword to use the skill Heavenly Sword Rain while saying, "I'll support you from the rear. Don't worry. I'll prioritize my own safety." Lu Fan smiled and said, "I know." Then, Lu Fan gave the order, "Xiao Fei, release. Pulse of Life." Pulse of Life erupted with a jade light and a jade, blessing for all allied targets in the area, increasing their effect stacks by 2 to 4 times. The Jade Blessing adds 3 to 12 stacks of Jade Dragon's aura to the target, increasing damage for the next 3 to 12 attacks. The Jade Light grants 3 to 12 stacks of Jade Blessing to the target, removing all debuff effects while increasing all stats by 30 to 60%. Each stack of the Blessing can block 1 to 2 instances of damage. Pulse of Life just gave me 2 types of Jade buffs at once, and the number of stacks was doubled, which will be doubled again thanks to the Bloodline link, he thought to himself. Lu Fan quickly commanded, "Xiao Ye, let's tear it apart together." Xiao Ye immediately charged forward, launching a series of attacks at the boss. Simultaneously, Lu Fan used dragon language magic, the Roar of the Blue Dragon King, to coordinate his attack with it. Suddenly, from within the sea of fire, a tall pillar of flames rose, and something escaped from it, emitting a shimmering light high above. Jian Ying asked doubtfully, "That is?" Lu Fan replied with a serious expression, "It's draconic magic unleashed. The boss is preparing to cast a dragon language spell. When the light disappeared, the boss reappeared. It used the draconic spell Doomsday Fall, descending like a meteor, rocketing down towards Lu Fan and the others. After unlocking the magic, Doomsday Fall requires the dragon to sacrifice its own blood at its highest point of flight to cause extreme damage upon landing, with the damage equal to 120% of the sacrificed health. The amount of dragon's blood sacrificed for the current Doomsday Fall is 100%. Lu Fan realized the boss intended to take them all down with it, so he quickly shouted, "Xiao Fei." A second later, a massive explosion erupted, with smoke and fire engulfing the entire peak of the divine tree. After everything quieted down, a faint, green light could be vaguely seen through the ash. As the dust gradually settled, a green protective dome appeared, and inside it were Lu Fan and his group. Eternal Protection creates a protective shield, sheltering all targets beneath the shield. The amount of damage the shield can absorb depends on the health and self-regeneration of the Eternal One. The Jade Dragon bloodline doubles all. Skill effects for the dragon race and those with a bloodline connection grants immunity to all debuffs and increases self-regeneration by 5,000%. As for the boss, after that suicide attack, it had become experience points for Lu Fan's party. Jian Ying leveled up to level 28, the Myriad Flower Sword leveled up to level 10, Xiao Ye leveled up to level 23, Lu Fan leveled up to level 29, and Xiao Fei leveled up to level 18. At this moment, Lu Fan asked with concern, "Jian Ying, are you okay?" Jian Ying smiled and replied, "Luckily, Xiao Fei saved us. I really thought I was a goner for a second there." Lu Fan agreed, patting Xiao Fei's head in praise. "Yeah, Xiao Fei's eternal protection saved us all, thanks to her super high self-regeneration." Seeing Lu Fan only praise Xiao Fei and not her, Xiao Ye was unhappy and let out a huff. Lu Fan quickly added, "Of course, we also won thanks to Xiao Ye's super high damage." A moment later, Jian Ying remarked with a sigh, "I always felt that battles for those in their 20s and 30s were just child's play, but just now, I experienced what it feels like to face death." Lu Fan nodded and said, "That's right, this is also the first time I fought a level 70 boss. I didn't expect we'd almost be taken down with it. It was truly an eye-opening experience." Then, Lu Fan scratched his head and stammered an explanation. "Jian Ying, I didn't mean to abandon you. Actually, I was looking for something, but I didn't expect to run into a boss." Jian Ying smiled back, "It's okay. You're not the type of person to abandon a teammate, because I remember what you once told me. Now, I'll return those words to you. You're very strong, but I'll never let you fight alone." After successfully clearing the SSS Plus rank Secret Realm, Lu Fan's party's reward was a treasure chest. Lu Fan opened the chest and saw 3 items inside: Soul Wing of the Flying Dragon, Legendary, level requirement, level 60, agility plus 356, strength plus 291, spirit plus 246, stamina plus 234. Soar High grants the user the ability to fly and increases flight speed. If the user has dragon language magic, they will receive Draconic Magic Unleashed, and after using it, they will receive A one-time substitute for high-level dragon language magic. Lu Fan thought to himself, a legendary grade item that grants flight and also unlocks dragon language magic. This means I can also cast Falling Doomsday. However, upon reflection, Lu Fan felt a bit of regret. This was true flight, not just gliding. No one could do that except for a few special classes. It's a shame I'm not a high enough level to use it. Epic Dragon Saddle. Pet equipment. Level requirement, level 30. Race requirement, Dragon Race, high-flying sub-dragon race. After equipping it, this pet can be used as a mount. In this state, all attributes of the rider and the pet will resonate with each other. Normal attacks will be imbued with draconic energy, dealing ranged damage. Lu Fan mused, a dragon pet that becomes a mount. As soon as Xiao Ye reaches level 30, I can become a dragon rider in the national trial. Dragon Calling Bone Flute, epic. A consumable item. Effect, upon use, it can summon the soul of the twin Wyvern King. The Wyvern King's level will be equal to the user's, with a total of 3 uses. Lu Fan thought to himself, this is amazing, but it's a shame that it has a limited number of uses. Just as Lu Fan stored the 3 items, he heard Sword Shadow call out, Lu Fan, are you done with the rewards? Quick, look at Xiao Fei. What's wrong with her? Lu Fan ran over and saw Xiao Fei casting the Spring of Life skill on her own. Spring of Life channels the essence of life to all friendly targets, helping to restore health continuously. Watching streams of green light flow into the divine tree, Sword Shadow asked in amazement, is she trying to heal this giant tree? Lu Fan speculated that Spring of Life could only be used on friendly targets. Could this Wyvern God Tree be a living ally? At that moment, several vines sprouted from the God Tree, rapidly extending towards Lu Fan. They intertwined with each other, growing up to his knees before forming a bud. When the bud opened, Lu Fan saw a seed inside, and it seemed to want him to take it. Lu Fan reached out to accept it, and inspected it. Seed of the Wyvern, a quest item. Ever since it was seized by the claws of the deep abyss devouring demon dragon, the Wyvern God Tree has been slowly losing its divine power. Now, a hero has appeared, who can save the withering divine tree. If this person can defeat the deep abyss devouring demon dragon and dip this seed in its blood as proof, they will surely be acknowledged by the Dragon of Life, the source of all creation and the master of the Wyvern God Tree. Sword Shadow asked curiously, did a hidden quest get triggered? Lu Fan replied, it seems Xiao Fei can communicate with the divine tree. This is the quest item. He pondered internally. According to the quest item's description, I have to defeat a dragon king called the Deep Abyss Devouring Demon Dragon. The Dragon King tier is far more terrifying than Nightmare difficulty, and will likely have a level in the triple digits. This is a quest without a time limit, so I can wait until I'm level 60 for my 3rd job advancement, or even level 90 for my 4th, before tackling it. Putting that aside for the moment, Lu Fan turned to praise Xiao Fei. Great job. If it wasn't for you, we never would have known about this hidden quest to heal the divine tree. Xiao Fei chirped happily. Oh, wait a minute. As he spoke, Lu Fan took out the dragon calling bone flute and asked, hey Xiao Fei, can you eat this? In response, 3 pairs of confused eyes stared at him. Lu Fan knew. They had misunderstood his intentions, and he quickly explained, I'm not just feeding her random junk. Xiao Fei has a skill called natural assimilation, which lets her absorb an item's properties by consuming it. If she can only consume equipment, then a consumable item like this probably won't work. Before Lu Fan could finish, Xiao Fei flew over, gave it a sniff, and then decisively sucked it into her mouth. After that, she began to chew and swallow with a look of pure enjoyment. Natural assimilation allows her to consume equipment and make its characteristic skill her own. Lu Fan exclaimed in shock. She actually ate it. Sword Shadow was equally stunned and hurriedly asked, what? A skill like that actually exists? You're not just playing around with an epic grade item, are you? Lu Fan didn't answer immediately. He patiently waited for Xiao Fei to finish digesting it before opening her character panel, and quickly noticed the change. Contract. Jade Dragon 1, Natural Assimilation, Dragon Calling Bone Flute. After use, can summon the soul of the twin Wyvern King. The level of the Wyvern King will be equal to the user's level. Lu Fan cheered. Excellent. Now Xiao Fei can summon 2 Wyvern Kings. The effect has turned into a permanent skill, so it's no longer limited by the number of uses. Xiao Fei tested her new skill. A few seconds later, 2 Wyvern Kings indeed appeared behind her, their levels matching Xiao Fei's, and they possessed all the skills of the original boss. Seeing this, Sword Shadow exclaimed, that boss from earlier has become a summon. Lu Fan laughed and said, yep, they've been scaled down a lot. It looks like Xiao Fei has her very own pet now. Sword Shadow thought in admiration, a dragon pet for a dragon pet? Lu Fan is getting more unbelievable by the day. Afterwards, Sword Shadow suggested, clearing a high-level dungeon like this is really exhausting. Let's head back. Sister Han is probably worried. You go back first. I'll be right behind you, Lu Fan said, opening the system map, and thought, I still have one very important thing to do. That night, at Villa Number 1 of the Dragon City Academy, Xiao Ye and Xiao Fei were curiously staring at a blue egg. Lu Fan then spoke seriously. We've been living together for so long. It's time we talked about this. Xiao Ye bullies Xiao Fei every day. Don't you want to have younger brothers or sisters? Are you just going to laze around? Xiao Fei lets Xiao Ye bully her every day. Don't you ever think about having a change of heart and beating someone else up to vent your frustration? See, now's your chance. Are you two even listening? I know you're anxious, but don't be. This is the new member of our family who's about to be born. In short, you all must get along peacefully. Starlight Dragon Egg, level unknown. Then, Lu Fan excitedly sat down, placed both hands on the Starlight Dragon Egg, and used his dragon taming art skill. The dragon taming art can tame draconic creatures. Time passed, but the Starlight Dragon Egg showed no reaction at all. That's strange. The dragon taming art has always worked before. A confused Lu Fan scratched his head and quickly pulled up the system panel to check. Black Dragon Contract 1, Legend Grade Level 23. Jade Dragon Contract 1, Legend Grade Level 18. Contract slot locked. Unlock condition, Dragon Tamer 2. I only have 2 dragon pet slots right now. I need to reach level 30 for the second job advancement. To unlock the third slot, he thought to himself. Lu Fan looked at his level of 29 and said with a bit of disappointment, "Looks like I'll have to go to the Electric Poison Forest to gain one more level. Well, time for bed. You won't get to meet the new member today." Xiao Ye and Xiao Fei didn't react, continuing to observe the Starlight Dragon Egg and chirping to each other. Xiao Fei asked, "What's this?" Xiao Ye replied, "Beats me." Lu Fan angrily shouted, "Go to bed." Early the next morning, Qin Qiu and Tao Xiaoman arrived at Villa Number 1 together. As soon as they reached the door, Qin Qiu knocked and called out, "Lu Fan, are you back? Wake up!" A moment later, the door opened. Lu Fan, with a sleepy expression, asked, "What's wrong?" Qin Qiu handed his tablet to Lu Fan and told him to check out this post. It's spreading all over the school. Taking the tablet, Lu Fan looked at Qin Qiu and asked, "Huh? You guys woke me up this early just for some gossip?" "This is a post related to your withdrawal from the freshman assessment match. Someone posted this on the school's forum yesterday, and it became the hottest topic overnight." Hearing Qin Qiu say that, Lu Fan finally shifted his gaze to the tablet. Top 1. Fengyun Pavilion responds to the number 1 issue. Withdrawing was just because he was afraid of losing. Fengyun Pavilion advances to the 2 versus 2 finals. The freshman assessment is undisputed, Xu Xing once posted. During the match between Lu Fan and Chen Tianji, Lu Fan's withdrawal from the assessment was because he was afraid of facing Jiang Fengyun and Xu Xing. Account A commented, "The post was initially anonymous, but later, it was dug up that he was the one who posted it." Account B commented, "Last time I heard that Lu Fan withdrew because he was injured by Chen Tianji. After all, Chen Tianji has won so many matches in a row, so he can't be weak." Account C commented, "According to the original arrangement, it was Lu Fan and Sword Shadow versus Jiang Fengyun and Xu Xing. Lu Fan probably got scared and just withdrew." Account D commented, "Unless those two fight it out, there's no way I'll accept the school's decision." Even though Lu Fan is number 1 in the school's eyes, Jiang Fengyun is the real number 1 from actual combat, proven by the assessment. Account E commented, "So he was just scared? If they let Lu Fan keep the number 1 spot, that's just a joke." Anyone who saw Jiang Fengyun's match yesterday would definitely agree that Lu Fan doesn't deserve to be number 1. After reading through it all, Lu Fan voiced his suspicion. Fengyun Pavilion. Qin Qiu explained. Initially, Fengyun Pavilion was a team formed by the 4 people ranked 3rd to 6th, but now it has attracted nearly 30 people and has grown into a new group with many powerful classes. The leaders are Jiang Fengyun and Xu Xing. Lu Fan covered his mouth, yawned, and asked with a nonchalant expression, "So I'm the number 1 appointed internally by the school, while this Jiang Fengyun guy is the publicly recognized number 1. Tao Xiaoman replied, "This morning, Jiang Fengyun responded to prove to the supporters of Fengyun Pavilion that he is the true number 1. Tomorrow morning, after the final match, he's going to come and clean out Villa number 1. Qin Qiu added, "Getting the number 1 spot allows you to participate in the selection for the national trials. He's definitely aiming for this." Hearing that, Lu Fan thought to himself, "So that's it. He wants both the fame and a spot in the national trials? Too bad he doesn't know I already secured all of that a long time ago." Seeing Lu Fan still slowly processing without any reaction, Qin Qiu said urgently, "This Jiang Fengyun guy really has no respect for anyone, taking advantage of you not being at school to spread lies and badmouth you." Tao Xiaoman, annoyed, glanced at Lu Fan and said, "I can't even be bothered to talk about it. We don't even know who he is, right? If he wants to come tomorrow, then let him come. I have to go tell Sword Shadow." At this point, Lu Fan smiled and said, "If Fengyun Pavilion wants to target me, then I'll give them the chance to do what they want." Tao Xiaoman asked, confused, "What do you mean?" Lu Fan held up the tablet and said, Let me borrow this for a bit. I'm going to reply to Fengyun Pavilion. I accept the challenge at Longdu Academy, in the arena area, VIP room. Xu Xing, who possessed the hidden combat class Forbidden Mage, was scrolling through information when he suddenly shot up and shouted, "Brother Jiang!" Lu Fan replied. In the arena, Jiang Fengyun, who possessed the hidden combat class Shadow Boxer, was fighting blindfolded with a black cloth and suddenly paused for half a beat. Then, facing two people charging at him, Jiang Fengyun decisively used a skill to create multiple clones that rushed forward, causing the other two to cry out in alarm. Wait, hold on, Brother Jiang. This skill, why are you suddenly fighting so seriously? We're just sparring. Jiang Fengyun paid them no mind, letting the clones quickly deal with the two of them. Once it was over, Jiang Fengyun took off the black blindfold and turned to look at Shu. Tin spoke up. You handle them. What did Lu Fan say? Shu Tin held out a tablet and answered. He's already posted on the forum. Here, take a look. Jiang Fengvan took it, looked, and laughed. He said, this Lu Fan guy is pretty arrogant, daring to challenge the entire Fengvan pavilion by himself. What a big mouth. Then, Jiang Fengvan tossed the tablet back to Shu Tin, telling her to reply to him. Tell him to meet us at the arena for a match after tomorrow's finals, Shu Ting asked in surprise. Brother Jiang, are we really going to fight Lu Fan? Jiang Fengvan replied, of course. Call everyone, from the Fengvan pavilion to come too. He wanted to challenge the entire Fengvan pavilion, right? If that's what he wants, that's what he'll get. I'm going to show him who the real number one is, the one who fought his way to the top, not the one appointed by the school. The next day, Qin Qiu checked Lu Fan's post. Lu Fan had replied to the Fengvan pavilion, accepting the challenge. If you want to prove you're number one, then you should face me head-on instead of using public opinion to slander me. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You trash from the Fengvan pavilion. However many of you there are. Just bring it on. Let's have a real showdown after the freshman assessment. In the comments section, the keyboard warriors were going wild again. Whoa, Lu Fan fired back. Let them fight. The Fengvan pavilion has replied. This is some juicy drama. Did they get under Lu Fan's skin? What was the reply? A duel tomorrow at the arena after the finals to see who's number one? Haha, the entire Fengvan pavilion is showing up. This is gonna be good. Seeing the comments, Qin Qiu exclaimed in surprise. Oh, Jiang Fengvan accepted the challenge. Tao Xiaoman asked, I heard Jiang Fengvan has a match today, in the semifinals. Do you want to go watch? Lu Fan replied. Honestly, I have no interest in Jiang Fengvan's abilities. We'd be better off going to the secret realm hall to level up. Han Ke brought food to the table, and upon hearing him, advised, Lu Fan, you shouldn't say that. Pride comes before a fall. There's nothing wrong with knowing your enemy. Tao Xiaoman chimed in, agreeing. She's right. You should make an appearance. You probably have more supporters than the Fengvan pavilion anyway, Qin Qiu said worriedly. But Lu Fan is super famous on the school forums right now, if he's spotted. Scouting Jiang Fengvan, it'll cause a stir, Han Ke said cheerfully. Then we'll just go in disguise. Lu Fan's face went blank. He had nothing to say. A while later, somewhere in the stands, Tao Xiaoman turned to Qin Qiu and asked, the next match is Jiang Fengvan's, right? Qin Qiu replied, yeah, I think so. A lot of people came to see the Fengvan pavilion. Sitting in the row ahead, Han Ke turned to Lu Fan, who was decked out in a hoodie, baseball cap, oversized sunglasses, and a face mask, and asked with a grin, so? What do you think of your auntie's disguise? Guaranteed you won't be spotted, huh? Lu Fan didn't say a word. The semi-final match of this year's freshman assessment is about to begin. Will the two teams please enter the arena? As the announcement rang out, Lu Fan suddenly got up from his seat. Han Ke asked in confusion, Lu Fan, where are you going? The match hasn't even started yet. This match isn't interesting at all. I'm going to take a walk. Just call me when you're done. After saying that, Lu Fan left. Meanwhile, in the seats ahead, Zhao Shengming glanced back, watching Lu Fan's retreating figure with a pensive look. He recalled his earlier conversation with the headmaster. Back then, Zhao Shengming had walked up to the door of a room, knocked, and called out, Headmaster, I was wondering if you're aware of the recent posts on the school forum about the conflict between Lu Fan and Jiang Fengvan. The door remained closed as the headmaster's voice echoed from inside. Ah, Zhao Shengming, just let Guhan handle these petty freshman fights. You don't need to bring them to my attention. Zhao Shengming frowned and said, given Lu Fan's power, I recommend the school intervene and put a stop to this fight. I'm concerned that if things proceed, he won't know how to hold back. After all, Chen Tianji is still in the infirmary recovering from his fight with Lu Fan. The headmaster replied, Vice Headmaster, your concern is misplaced. Instead of worrying about this, you should be more concerned that in 1 month, a special envoy from Longdu will arrive to determine if Lu Fan is eligible for the national trials. Zhao Shengming asked in shock. In 1 month? That's so soon, the headmaster said. The national trials were moved up, so the envoy's arrival was moved up too. How is Lu Fan's progress? Zhao Shengming reported, currently. Lu Fan is on the verge of his second job advancement. You can rest easy, headmaster. I've heard about the Longdu envoy. Even though Qian Xiong is an arrogant man, he won't cause any trouble when it comes to official business. Your intelligence is rather outdated, Vice Headmaster. The special envoy isn't Qian Xiong anymore. The current envoy from Longdu is Ruan Cheng Feng. The moment he heard that name, Zhao Shengming's expression instantly changed. He thought with a sense of dread, Ruan Cheng Feng. Brother Qin mentioned that name when he told me the story about Lu Fan and Jin Zhou. It seems the whole affair between Lu Fan and Jin Zhou cost Ruan Changfeng his job. That means Ruan Changfeng must hold a serious grudge against Lu Fan. The headmaster's voice continued. He once held a very high rank, and now, he's been repeatedly demoted to the position of a mere special envoy. How very interesting. Why have you gone silent? Zhao Shengming was startled back to reality, and he quickly bowed toward the door, saying, My apologies. Headmaster, if he's the envoy with the authority to evaluate candidates for the national trials, I fear Lu Fan is in for a very difficult time. Lu Fan is a candidate I personally approved. You should understand what you need to do, right? Zhao Shengming replied. I understand. I will find more resources to help him quickly reach his second job advancement to compensate for his level disadvantage. So, will you be watching the match between Lu Fan and Jiang Fenyun tomorrow, sir? A loud laugh from the principal came from inside the room. I'll watch. Of course, I have to watch. How could I miss something so interesting? Returning to the present, at the Longdu Academy's arena area, in a point-based room, suddenly, someone was sent flying out of the room, causing the surrounding people to start gossiping. How many people have been defeated already? A 100-point arena shouldn't be this intense, right? It must be a second job advancement user who lowered their points to farm others. This can't possibly be a level 29 arena. At this moment, the person who was just sent flying got back up and loudly warned everyone not to enter this room, that no one could win. Someone asked, Hey, who's the owner of this room? Do you know? The defeated person replied,